Running good, yo. Running good. Let's talk some hoops.
We got so much to talk about that's happened since the last time we seen y'all. 2K has released their covers, and there's 3 athletes, including a WNBA player and a legend and some guy who did some incredible things this year. But we'll get to that. The Thunder also signed an extension to one of their young superstars. We got to talk about this. And we watched a little bit of Summer League last night, right, Chill? Hey, one of us up here is now Lakers FC. We got to figure out who it is.
Mm-hmm.
And last but not least, the most important thing that we're doing today, John D, Marsh, Chill, we are going to talk about the top 10 players from last season. Essentially, what we're going to do, y'all, is rank out the best players from last year. Now, we obviously got to figure some things out before we even do that list. Right?
Yes, we got to figure out style of play. We got to figure out production. We got to figure out injuries. Does that stuff matter? We got to figure out how productive you were. Did you win? All of that stuff matters.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's kind of really based on, you know, what you want to weigh in and what you factor into who was the best players.
Mm-hmm.
I'm more so gonna go like a little bit of accolades, a little bit of, stats, but more so who was hooping the most. Who was hooping the most?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
just who was balling. Who was just balling? All right, let's talk about it. Who was balling? Even though y'all dudes, Mars, Ron, y'all talk to me about just good at as Mars would say, good at basketball, right? I can appreciate that, but when you're good at basketball, and it produces something. Like, you ain't just good. Like, you're good at passing, and those passes lead to buckets. You're good at defense, and those defense leads to transition points. You're good at scoring, and that scoring leads to winning. Because last I checked, the team with the most points at the end of the game wins 100% of the time. So I can't just talk about you as a basketball player. All right, what is that leading to? I think we should discuss that also.
Let's get into it. All right, so obviously we're going to start a list. We got to talk through and figure out the top 10 players. And the thing about it is a collective vote. So whoever gets the majority of the votes at every single position will get that ranking.
Can we get some house cleaning out the way real quick before
let's clean up as much as we need to.
Can we get some house cleaning? So I don't know if you guys noticed, but Oklahoma City said they want Chet to hang around for a little while longer. They like what they saw, and they want him to hang for a little bit. And I do like that. I like that for the strength of him just being one of the main pieces, and why I think he's the difference in why they got to where they got to, because they didn't have that element. And I know there's some people that's worried about health. I'm one of those people, but I'm looking at the glass being more. I'm looking at the glass being half full than more half empty. That hip injury, it was a broken bone, bones heal, and for guys his size and that young, I mean, I think that we have a little longer with Chet than we don't. So I'm comfortable with signing him to an extension. Now the problem is, Ron, is next season J-Dub is up. So we just paid SGA, we just paid Chet. Now we got to get J-Dub on the books too. Stuff is starting to get expensive fast. And don't forget, we already extended Alex Caruso too. So this thing could get expensive really fast.
I thought you thought he was made of glass, too.
I didn't say he was made of glass. I said I was worried that he might be.
Are you? So you're not worried anymore?
There's still something there, but like I said, I think that the glass is half full. He's still young. They won an NBA
broken
championship.
Glass is half full.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Cracked glass.
We glued it. It's broken, like you just said, Ron. But we glued it back together. We glued it back together, and we put water in it. There's no leaks. It's good, right? But now we got to take care of it, Ron. We can't just be leaving it on the counter because the kids will come by and knock it over. So we got to take care of it. So that's why we put guys around him to protect him, to make sure that he's able to go when it's necessary, and put him in position to stay healthy and be successful. So,
yeah, well, shout out to Chet Holmgren, 5 years, $250 million rookie contract extension. This now puts OKC. Well, OKC had the 6th cheapest roster last year, obviously with the youngest roster as well. They now have $535 million tied to 2 guys. With
Over
Shea
5
signing
years,
his
Mars.
extension,
Relax, okay? Over the next
and
5
Chet signing his
years.
extension.
It's a lot of money, man.
Not
That's
like
a lot
1
of
year.
money.
Not like 1 year. Just over the next 5 years.
NBA money is crazy.
Over 1 year, I think Shea gets what next year? 71?
71. These are installments,
Chet gets
Mars. We ain't
50?
got to come up with all the dough at once, just so you know.
It's a lot of money, man.
Crazy.
Damn, Ox, you gonna let me spread the payments out? Like I don't got to come up with the whole 500 because I ain't got it. I'm just gonna let you know, Ox. I don't got it right now.
There's still a lot of bread, but hey, I'm happy for.
I ain't the one paying it.
You win a ship, man. You get bread. That's how it works. Man.
Yes, you do.
You get your money.
Yeah. Anybody else got anything to say on Chet Holmgren? Okay.
I'm just not about Chet, but to you, Ron. I mean, superstar might be a stretch.
That's what they're hoping he becomes.
Yeah, he might though.
But he's not right now. Yeah, I agree.
I think it's well deserved. Chet Holmgren has been able to contribute to a number 1 seed in back-to-back seasons, be their best defender on number 1 seeds in back-to-back seasons. And what's crazy to me is he hasn't had a full 82 to really develop. He's only had 1. His first year, he was out the entire year. His third year, he missed a huge chunk of the year. I think once Chet really, I think there's some like deficiencies in his game. He hasn't been able to win off the dribble. He has a very slow jump shot, which allows defenses to really make easier contest. But defensively, I think he's great. I think he's one of, if not the best rim protector in the league. He's really good in dribble. He can play out in the perimeter. I'm not asking him to switch consistently, but I think he can do that as well. So to have that type of center, have that archetype of center is very, very, very valuable in this league. And we see where it's going with the Evan Mobleys, with the Victor Wembanyama's, with the Chet Holmgrens, with the Kaman Malawach. We know where this is going.
Mars, what do you classify as a
Kaman Malawach.
It's
You saw me sprinkle that in.
All right.
Mars, what do you classify as a superstar? Like when you see it, because I know what examples are. Mars, what do you think a superstar is?
I must keep it strictly on the court, so like away from like
just
the box office stuff. I don't. On the court, I'm looking at. I'm gonna be honest. I can't give you a concrete definition. You know a superstar when you see one.
Right.
Like I don't know, and Chet's not that. Like you, like
so just from face value,
you know when you see a superstar. I can't give you. This is what it is.
Who do you see and you're like, no, that's definitely a superstar?
Bron, Steph, KD, and Shea, Wemby, Tatum.
So you're talking about the it thing, that it thing.
Yeah, like those guys are superstars. Like you can see,
they're
superstars. Yeah, I don't know.
Keeping it strictly hooped on Mars. Is Steph still a superstar? Keeping it strictly hoop?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's.
I'm not mad.
There's something about like Steph existing on the court that just changes things. And it's like, I'm not saying that's going to be the case forever. Like, I don't know, but up to this point, I still think that's the case. But if you have Steph out there, he's going to warp the court in a way that you have a chance offensively. And I think that's superstar level impact. So yeah, I think Steph to this point is still a superstar. KD, Bron, I think those guys are still superstars. So,
I think Curry will be a superstar until he retires. He's always going to have that gravity toward him. But real talk, I wanted to ask you, if you had to tell me today, where do you think Chet is as a defender in the game today? Like he didn't just where he played this season. Where is Chet in terms of ranking as a defender this season?
This past season, off
the
of
24-25 season, they won the NBA championship. He missed 2/3 of the season still, but where do you think he is as a defender in the game today?
If I'm ranking him just in the game today, I mean, I guess I'll have him like top 2, top 3. You know, I definitely have Wemby over him.
You think he's better than Mobley?
I'm considering. Mobley is not the name I'm thinking of. Chill. I'm considering a min, but I'm gonna hold off on that.
Do you think as a defender he's better than?
He's not the best defender on his team.
You got Ludor, right?
I do got Lou Dort definitely, but I'm saying like,
chill. I said this season, J-Dub to me was the best defender on their team, so that's why I'm categorizing it.
I mean, yeah, based on games played, I would agree.
I wouldn't even think of J-Dub, but I see. So that's what I'm saying. Like, if
Caruso.
Well, listen though, because if Chet's the center power forward, right? Center power forward,
sure,
and the superstar is on the other squad is Jokic. And I can't put you on him to slow him down. I got to put Alex Caruso on him and have you play some help side defense. I'm like, oh, how are you? How can I consider you the best defender over here or a top 3 rim protect? Like that's if I got to put the 6'3" dude on the 7-foot superstar,
6'5", respect Caruso.
6'4". If I got to put the 6'4" defender on the 7-foot superstar because you can't guard him. You're not the best. You're not the best defender over here.
We saw that last year with Cat. Like Cat was guarding Jokic in post. I wouldn't say Cat was a better defender than Gobert.
I wouldn't say that neither.
Chet's using helps the help side protector because he's the best rim protector on the floor. You know, you don't want to take that away because Jokic can play on the perimeter. He can play at the elbow, and now the best rim protector isn't anywhere near the rim. So I think Chet not being on Jokic, which obviously there's a weight and size difference, so that obviously plays in as well. But another big factor of it is Chet's the best rim protector on the floor. So if Jokic pulls him out of the perimeter, the Thunder are kind of like an anomaly because they have multiple different rim protectors. But Chet's the best one. You don't want to take the best rim protector away from the rim.
Ron, Chill, and Ox. I want to ask. I'm curious about y'all's.
Hold that. Stay right there. Ox.
I hate that Roman thing.
Ox, when you
I was just going to ask about.
I'm glad you said you hate that Roman thing because the Lakers did that with Anthony Davis. Like when Anthony Davis
and it didn't work.
Right.
You hate the idea of it, or you hate that we praise the Romans as the best defenders?
A little bit of both.
Okay.
I hate the fact that my best defender can't guard the best player. I hate that.
I mean, but you
like
can.
How much do y'all consider like being able to guard your position as like that being a qualifier of you being, one of the best defenders in the game?
I think being able to guard in matchups is important. I think it's more important for the perimeter guys than it is for the bigs. But I think it's hard to say you're the best defender in the league and you physically aren't good guarding the ball. And I don't mean like guarding the ball in a switch 1 through 5. Yeah. But if we have to keep you away from the action all the time, it's hard to say you're the best defender in the league, in my opinion.
Miles, can I counter that with the action? Where is the action at the most? The action is at the rim. So if I'm not as good on the ball, but I am even better at the rim, wouldn't that supplement that?
Yeah, I think that's why I'm high on Chet. I think Chet can guard in action. I don't agree. I get what Ox is saying, but I'm not on his side of the equation. But I do also think that if we're in a position with maybe a Chet or whoever, where we don't want you guarding in the action, that does take away from your defensive value. But I'm on the belief that it's not that OKC don't want Chet guarding in the action. They just know he's more valuable doing the roaming thing. But if he was physically just bad, if he was bad guarding the ball, guarding the post, whatever, so they had to keep him away from it, then I would be like, that hurts him. But I don't think he's bad. I just think he's better elsewhere. So why not use him elsewhere? That's where I stand on it.
No, Mars,
so that's how you have the person. You have the personnel to keep Chet at the rim.
You know what I'm saying? What if, but John D, what if we can't scheme? Because it's sometimes I understand you got to come with a different with a scheme, right? But even last year or the year before, whenever we was talking about it, I'm like, the whole AD Roman thing isn't doing anything to slow Jokic down because Jokic can still see the floor.
Sure, it is, Ox. Yes, it is. They did the same thing.
It's not okay, but it's not.
It was reasonably effective.
It's not winning you the game. It's not. You're not winning based on that. You know what I'm saying? So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it can't win you the game. So that's what I'm saying. Just like you said it a minute ago. What's it all about?
But does it give you a better chance to win?
It did with Minnesota because that's what they had. That's what they had. Keep going. Go ahead. Because I felt like they did it with Minnesota. I as much as Rudy was covering Joker one-on-one, he was also a roamer too. where they would put Nas Reed on him. They would put Cat on him. And Rudy Gobert was roaming around the rim, which made things a lot more difficult for Joker when he was finding guys in the paint, because here comes the weak side. Here comes the weak side or the strong side help from Rudy Gobert to run you out of the paint, to run you away from the rim. So
yeah, but it's not like these dudes are playing free safety. Like they're not getting steals out of it. They're not stopping the pass. My thing with that, when we talk about AD, my whole thing was, that's cool, but you're supposed to be this top-notch defender. Why don't you, you know what I'm saying, buck up, test to chest, put your head in Jokic's forehead and slow him down. If you can't do that. So, or you know what I'm saying? I really think AD could guard Jokic a little better if he, if they let him. You know what I mean?
I think it comes down to the personnel on the team and Jokic just being the best player in the league. Like I think Jokic, like
we don't know if he's the best player in the league. We're gonna find that out today. Hold your horses, buddy.
Hold your horses.
Hold your horses.
Wrong episode.
He just wins that unanimously.
You don't get to just determine that, buddy.
Hey, Swiper, you might want to phone in, brother.
We'll get to that.
No pen, no Swiper.
Y'all see who up here. Y'all see who
he might not be number one.
Real talk. You had a question. You was talking about.
Well, I wanted to ask you, like, because I know Evan Mobley's your guy.
Yes.
So what do you think, like, number one, do you think Evan Mobley, like, guards his position better than Chet? And what are some things you think that Evan Mobley does better than Chet defensively?
Well, one of the things that I think, Mars just brought it up, I think you try to put Evan Mobley in the action, he can blow your action up, because I think he's the best switchable big in the game. He can, when we're talking about Bam, and we're talking about Anthony Davis, I personally think that Evan Mobley is the best switchable big in the game. We can have a conversation about him and Bam, no question about it. But I think he can blow up your action. I think that at the rim, I don't think he's as good at Chet, but I don't think that there's a huge gap. I do think that Evan Mobley is one of the better rim protectors in the game. He's one of the better transition defenders in the game. And I dig him on the glass too. A lot of you guys, like you get on my case about rebounding, but I think rebounding is the most important part of defense. And when a guy can stop plays with just being in front of you, and in addition to being in front of you, whether you get a shot off or not, he rebounds that and stops the play. I think that's huge when it comes to defense. And I think Evan Mobley is exceptional at that. He doesn't get pushed around as much as he did when he was younger, because I feel like he's gotten stronger. I feel like he's gotten a lot smarter. He doesn't foul nearly as much as he did. So I think he's the best defensive player in the game. That's just me. I'm in the minority up here, but I think Evan Mobley is the best defensive player in the game.
I think it comes to like Mobley's strength. Like when you look at Mobley and you look at Chet, like a lot of people wouldn't think there's a big difference. I think Mobley's strength gives him a better chance to guard in the post. Like Chill said, he's one of the best switchable bigs in the world. Can rim protect, can rebound, can switch, has a really long wingspan, can blow up actions. I would take Evan Mobley above Chet as of today. For me,
sure, absolutely.
Do y'all think a wing? Do y'all think a wing could still possibly be the best defender in the league?
I think Amen Thompson is going to be the best defender in the league.
Wemby exists.
Well, okay.
Yes, Mars.
Outside of Wemby.
No. Real talk. Stay right there, because when you say Wemby, Mars, is the rim protection and the shot blocking that much of a gap between what Amen Thompson does? Because when I think about Amen Thompson, I'm thinking about like what we talked about with Alex Caruso. I'm thinking about a dude just completely blowing your offense up. I'm thinking about it now. When you get to the rim, and I mean, I think that we can thwart some of that, because we can move away from Chet. We can avoid Chet. The difference with Amen Thompson is we can't really avoid that, especially if he's on your primary ball handler. He could completely.
Well, you can by mismatch hunting, so you can.
Now, let me ask you. Stay right there, Mars. You can by mismatch hunting, but we do have guys like we saw in 22 with the Dallas Mavericks trying to mismatch hunt and get Steph Curry in the action, and Andrew Wiggins going, "I'm not switching." Amen Thompson strikes me as that.
That comes down to schemes, but Ime switches.
And I think that Ime with switching, I think that as we go along, and Amen Thompson gets better and gets stronger, I think that those switches are going to be less than, especially when he recognizes the mismatch hunting, especially on the perimeter. that when he recognizes the mismatch hunting, they're going after, I don't know, Sengun or somebody like that. And you're trying to get Sengun on Ja. And Amen Thompson is not trying to hear that. I'm not switching. We can stay away from Wemby. I'm not going to say take Wemby out of the game, but I feel like it's more when I say take him out of the game, Mars, I mean, if we shoot the long ball more, like we saw what Charlotte did, we saw what Chicago did, where they're shooting between the both.
Then you're playing into our. If you're actively going away from the rim because you know you won't score there, that's good defense. That's Wemby winning. That's value right there.
It's 100%. But if I'm shooting the long ball and I feel like I got a better chance at shooting in the mid range, I got a better chance of shooting in the mid post, I got a better chance of shooting at the long ball line than I do at the rim, as opposed to a guy like Amen Thompson, who I'm not even letting you get in your action. You're getting ripped in the open floor. I'm getting open floor steals. I'm disrupting whatever action you're even starting. I just think that that's more valuable. I think Amen Thompson at some point is going to be the best defender in the league.
I also want to just say this too. Wemby does have some of those same concerns that Chet has, like right now, as far as the being able to kind of get moved around on interiorly. Yeah. Like I do see Wemby kind of get pushed around a little bit. I do see, obviously now we're talking about like the Jokic's and stuff like that, but like Jokic fares very well against Wemby. Now you could obviously say that's the best player, in the league.
Wemby's had some good matchups and.
He's returned the favor, but I mean, Jokic be getting off for the most part. Like, some rebounding concerns from time to time with Wemby. I think he has some of those same concerns like Chet. I don't think that Wemby's like this. I think sometimes we talk about Wemby where we project him to be, and not kind of like where he is right now. And I do think those are two different players. Yeah, Wemby.
Do you think Wemby's the best rim protector in the league? Chet.
Who?
Offensively, maybe with Chet. Defensively, I don't think so.
Mars, can we get to the bottom of what rim protecting is? I just want to make sure that the people are clear on what exactly you think rim protecting
Stopping the other team from scoring at the rim.
So it doesn't just mean shot blocking.
Oh, no.
Okay.
Is Wemby not the best rim protector in the league?
In my opinion, he is.
Yeah, that should go without saying. I think that should be.
What's the gap between him and Anthony Davis? What's the gap between him and Anthony Davis?
I'm extremely comfortable. I don't think Anthony Davis is second. So,
what's the gap between him and Rudy Gobert?
I'm comfortable with Wemby at this point.
It's smaller, but there's still a
smaller, but
gap.
I'm comfortable with Wemby. I think the top two rim protectors are probably Wemby and Chet. But I think Wemby will just be the most impactful defender in the league because of what he does at the rim. I don't think he's a switch big. I don't think he ever will be. But I think he is mobile enough to where that is an option. And as he gets more refined in drop coverage, then you just get to a point where it's like, he's going to be the best defender in the league. And in terms of like a man, I think a wing could be the best defender in the league. Maybe not a league with Wemby in it, but like in theory, I think it's possible. I don't know if a men's that wing though. I'm not completely sold that a men's better than Asar on defense. So like, I don't know if it's a men. It might be a men. It might not be a men. So there's a lot of great wings of J-Dub. Like there's some great wing defenders in the league.
And the best wing defender last year. And
who was that?
Dyson Daniels.
Oh, I was gonna say Tamani. I didn't actually know where he was going. But
shout out to the defensive player.
I think it's possible, but it's Wemby's
real quick.
But go ahead, John D.
We know how like we've seen Steph have like some of the greatest offensive gravity for like a 10-year stretch. We're about to see the same thing with Victor Wembanyama. Like we're gonna see guards pushing in transition. Oh, there go Wemby. Let me pull out. Let me try and get an action going real fast.
Defensive
we
gravity.
See like. Yes. So it's like Steph had a 10-year run where his offensive gravity was amazing. He was creating open shots for his team by just being on the floor. For the next 10 years or for however long Wemby is healthy, he's going to be taking away shots by just being on the floor. Him being on the block, him being at the free throw line, him being on the wing. He can recover with his wingspan extremely well. So it's going to take away shots by just, Wemby has the wingspan to contest his shot really well. Maybe I won't go up. Maybe I'll like try and put some finagle on it to make the shot easier for myself and it ends up going really bad, or maybe I'll just kick out to three for a less efficient shot instead of at the rim. So I think Wemby's going to have that defensive gravity that we all know Steph for the next 10 years.
I I'm gonna sound like an old head here, but I wish you could have seen Scottie Pippen. I do. I wish you could have seen Scottie Pippen in real time, like how much he blew up offenses. And that's what this kid Amin Thompson reminds me of when I watch him as a defender. Just how busy his hands are, how physical he is. When he beats guys to spots, now you're looking at the shot clock, and instead of it being at 15 or 14, it's at 7, and you're screaming for screens because you can't get away from this guy. That's what Scottie Pippen was doing, and that's what this kid Amin Thompson reminds me of. And he's not backing down from anybody on any level. Oh man,
I wonder, like,
incredible.
as the game like continues to progress and change and evolve, and the more that offenses gets more spread out and more spread out, the way that offenses are, starting to figure out how to neutralize great rim protection protectors with like countering with spacers or fives that can shoot and stuff like that. Like at a certain point, if it's so much space that we're playing in, I think the value of the wing who can contain the ball, like it starts to go up tremendously, especially if they also have rim protection value, like an Amin Thompson, like a J-Dub. So like in theory, I think like in 2012, it would have been, for me, this answer would be Wemby,
That's why you
hands
had
down.
Roy Hibbert in them, like because
It would be because he
Typical
can stay next to the rim basically the entirety of the time. But what if we do run into some teams that are able to, get him away from the basket? Then like, containing the ball matters. And the more we play in space, the more that matters. So
Now let me ask you this.
I think this is the closest rim protection and I guess on-ball defense has been in terms of value. So I think we are trending in that direction, but I think everything comes full circle. And I think we'll get to a point where there's so much space, which makes getting to the rim so much easier, that rim protection will become more valuable. Like, it will start appearing again. Like, so I think it all comes full circle. That's just how the circle of life goes. But you can go ahead, Joe.
No, I was just going to say that the fact that you have a guy like Wemby makes me as a defender on the perimeter even more aggressive because I got somebody to watch my back. I got somebody to clean up my mess when I get it wrong or when I get beat. And that perimeter player, don't get me wrong, he is now less aggressive because I got somebody behind me. But my rim protector, because I got a perimeter defender like Amin Thompson, he's even more aggressive because he knows that not a lot is going on in here because this guy is not going to let people get past him. And I think that resonates throughout the rest of the crew when you see that. So if I see Amin Thompson slowing down Ja, when I specifically remember the Houston game, and of course that was going on. You knew that was happening, Mars. You knew it was going on. But anyway,
what y'all thought Swiper was gonna let y'all get the top 10 off without him being in the building? Y'all trying to pull a fast one on Swiper.
No, we didn't.
Tried to swiper. That's crazy.
But like I said, I think that if you have a guy like Amin Thompson who's defending the way he does, Chet is a prime example. That's what we started with in the beginning. A rim protector like Chet makes my job less difficult, but it also, with a perimeter player like J-Dub, makes Chet's job a lot less difficult because it's not like J-Dub is going Ole and letting him go to the rim. No, when SGA or Lou Dort or any one of those guys get beat, they got ridiculous recovery time. So they're right on you. And then here comes Chet smacking it into the third row because you still worrying about this guy on your hip, or you still worrying about this guy literally right behind you, breathing down your neck, recovering on you. So I feel like Amin Thompson is that guy who, because he's so good on ball and even recovering, I think he makes that Houston defense so much better.
Yo, fellas, we're going to go ahead and transition because in light of, Chet getting paid, I want to take a walk down memory lane right quick.
Put that on your mind.
So first and foremost, let me go ahead and throw this on the screen. And what's good, Swiper? So we can see right now the highest paid athletes by sports. You see SGA is the highest paid athlete and I'm pretty sure this is just American sports. Well, it is just American sports. So you got SGA with 71.3 million. Shout out to SGA. He getting a payday right now. Then you got Shohei Ohtani, 70 million. Dak Prescott
Is
in the
that
NFL.
Dakota of Prescott making $60 million a year?
Hey man, get your money, man. Get
Hey,
your
hey, real talk. I
money.
need my
That's old
bread.
news. That's old news, though. That's old
I
news.
need my
What's
bread.
old news?
Real talk. Stop playing with me,
Oh
yo.
no!
I need my dough. Stop playing with me, yo.
Shout out Dak.
I need my
Yo,
bread,
real
yo.
talk. Dak might surprise y'all this year.
Come on,
No,
Ox.
He got that killer GP.
Come on, man.
Well,
He got
Dak
that killer chicken.
deserves to make $60 million a year relative to what he does in the league. So that's not even a
absolutely.
pushback. You know?
Does he?
Yeah, that's just the market. He's a clear top 10 regular season quarterback, and I actually don't blame a lot of the playoff struggles
That
for
is a
Cowboys
fact.
on him. They're
Yes,
just
he
not a
is.
good team.
In case you want to hear more about Dak Prescott, the Cowboys, and why he deserves to get paid as much as he
That
deserves to
Green Bay
get
game
paid,
was
on July 20th, the
W
press
host.
box is gonna drop, baby. Hey, so if
W
you want to
host.
know what's going on in the football space, if you want to know what's happening in the NFL, if you want to know, just like you come to the panel to get all the facts about the NBA, well, you need to go over to the press box starting July 20th. That is Sunday, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Pull up every single Sunday and every single Wednesday evening to get what you need to get on the press box.
I'm so looking forward to that. I'm definitely pulling up to the press box. Yes, I am.
Yeah, chill. You're gonna need to be there, please.
Yes, I'm definitely pulling up to the press box. I'm really looking forward because I hear Swiper talk football. Swiper knows football, and I am talk football. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm pulling up to the press box 100%. Yes.
But in terms of the MLS, we got Messi making $20 million. NHL, we got Leon making $14 million, and the WNBA, Jackie Young is making $252K. We don't got to get into that, but I was just setting a precedence for how much Shay's getting made. Now, with that being said, fellas, let me go ahead and share this because, as mentioned and as promised, we're going to take a walk down memory lane. All right, the highest paid players per season. Let's go back in time and let's see how we got to this 71 million from SGA.
Shouldn't be a lot of
Chill, you might remember these times. The 1980s or 1980, Moses Malone and Bill Walton were the highest paid players with 1 million per season. 81, Julius Erving, Moses Malone, Bill Walton, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, 1 million.
Mm-hmm.
1982, Dr. J, Moses Malone, Bill Walton, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and Otis Birdsong.
Yes, sir. Play for the Nets. Play for the Nets.
Shout out Otis. Both Otises. Moses Malone, 2.2 million, 83-84. You see it? Took a little spike in the salary. 2.5 million, 85-87. Magic Johnson. Chill. This was a big deal right now at this moment in time. 2.5.
$2.5 million was a lot of dough. Yes.
It still is.
Mm-hmm.
Very true. 3.5, Patrick Ewing, 88-91. And this is yearly average, by the way.
Let's just wait.
1992. The GOAT, Larry Bird.
He could have played one more year and made $10 million, and he left that door on the table and quit.
I don't think he needed. His body was saying no. He
Yes.
did what Dirk should have did. That Dirk later said he should have did, which is quit 1 year early.
Yeah, well, shout out to Larry Bird, 7.1 million in 1992. Dang. Took a dip after 1992, 93, and 94. David Robinson, 5.7 million. What year did David win his MVP?
95.
95. Okay. Next year in 95, Magic Johnson. Yeah, Magic, get your dough away from the game, baby. 14.7 million.
Which was crazy at the time.
Yeah. Hey, chill. What was going on at this moment in time when Magic getting 14.7?
When he came back, like we didn't really know exactly what he was going to look like, and that was a lot of money. $14.5 million. It's a lot of money today. It's the mid-level exception today, but that was a lot of money during that time. And Magic came back. It was for the show more than anything. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Michael's going to hit the 30s soon, huh?
Oh, yeah.
That was the year. That year right there, he hit the 30s.
It's about to go crazy.
1996, Patrick Ewing again? 18.7, the highest paid player in the NBA.
He had 30 and 96.
For the New York Knicks.
95, 96 season. That's when he was on the books for $30 million. That first season.
Mm-hmm. 97, 98. There we go. MJ with the hoop earrings. 31.6 million.
Yo, chill. What was the reason why his contract was so backloaded those last 2 years? He got $60 million in 6 and 7.
Who, Jordan?
Mm-hmm.
Well, there was 1 year deals. It wasn't a 3-year deal. He was.
How did he get that much of the cap at that time? Do you remember?
I don't remember exactly. I do remember that in 95, 96, that there was a conversation that if Jerry Krause didn't pay him, he was going to go play for the Knicks for $10 million less. It was a threat. I don't think he was going to do that, but that was he said he was going to go pay for. He said he was going to go play for the Knicks.
Yeah, they basically they exceeded the cap. They didn't have an actual limit on how much over. You just have to pay the penalty. Mm-hmm. So basically, the Bulls, in their agreement with Jordan, they went through just the roof with the cap in order to make that deal work, and they did it in back-to-back seasons. But that's still such an outlier. That's still a crazy outlier.
All right, back to it. Obviously, 97, 98, Jordan had 31.6 million each.
That was thank you money too, by the way, Ron.
And he deserved every bit.
Yeah, that was thank you money.
Jordan leaves the league, and in 1999, once again, there he is, Patrick Ewing, 18.5 million.
Ewing was over in 99 too, by the way.
Yeah, they got to the finals without him, but they got to the finals.
Yes.
In 2000, wow. Look who it is. The Diesel steps into the picture at 17.1 million. For the
He didn't make the most money and win a championship. That's crazy.
He ain't spend none of that bread neither, by the way.
Yeah, that was a crazy story when that came out.
He wasn't spending none of that bread. Mm-mm.
Shout out to Diesel.
Mm-hmm.
2001 through 2004, well-deserved. The big ticket with 23.8 million.
Now, remember, y'all, Kevin Garnett, and what was it, year 3, Chill?
Yes.
Was it year 3?
Year 4.
Year 4, signed the first $100 million deal.
I was on the lockout season.
Yeah, $100 million. And then right after that was Kobe. And remember, I think was KG 120? Is that what it was? Or was it? Do you remember what the deck number was, Chill? Mars?
KG?
Yeah, Kevin
125.
Garnett.
It was 125.
Yeah, his $100 million deal. Because Kobe signed, what was it, a 130 or something like that in 2004? Right after
that was when him, Kobe, and Tiger Woods was had the most sports. They was going crazy. I remember that.
I know when KG and Kobe
and A-Rod came through.
Right.
Yeah. That was a
hell of a time, y'all.
That was a time.
When KG and Kobe retired, they were 1 and 2 in career earnings. Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
2005, 2006. Hello, Shaquille O'Neal for the Miami
Heat.
In the picture. 23.9 million.
He went to Miami to get paid too, by the way, because they weren't going to pay him in Los Angeles off the strength that they thought that the young guy, which turned out to be true, they wanted to build around the young guy. They thought Shaq was aging. Shaq wasn't really aging well. And for another $100 million, Dr. Jerry Buss didn't see it being profitable, when in reality it would have been. But Pat Riley ended up signing him 4 years for $80 million. And I mean, it worked. It worked.
John D, imagine paying the young fella on your team and then letting the old guy walk.
Oh, man. All right, y'all. Next up, we have once again Kevin Garnett in 07. From 2007 to 2009, $23.1 million average per year, and well-deserved once again. 2010, damn, Kobe. 2010 through 2016. This is the longest run that we've had so far in this whole thing. Kobe Bryant from 2010 to 2016 led the league in average per year with $26.1 million.
Doesn't this just show y'all how much of a GOAT Tim Duncan really is? I'm saying for really being the best player of a decade. And
him and Dirk both did that at the end of their career.
Yeah, Dirk too, but Tim Duncan's better than Dirk, so that's why I used him.
I'm not about to be gaslit.
Yeah, Kobe took 225 years, or 50 mil in the last 2 years. I remember that was a huge story at the time. What was that? 2012 when he got those deals or whatever it was, and everybody thought he was
two for 50 after the Achilles tear.
Yeah, and everybody just said he wasn't playing at that level anymore, and that's just like thank you money, which is Kobe. So who cares?
Who else we were gonna pay at the time?
He deserved it. He deserved
Shout out to
that.
that good
every
old
dime,
thing,
every dime.
Every dime.
Should have gave him a little more for real.
I mean, he should have gave something back for that game 7 that he threw away. We'll talk about that a little bit later too.
You see, like, and then they get
talk
so
about that,
mad.
Yeah,
and we
I
say
know
very
ours.
good.
We don't have to do it today, but I do think that's the subject.
Sniper.
Like,
No, it's fine, no.
It's okay.
That's okay.
We got
This-
no.
hey,
I don't think
Just
it's okay to
spiking
throw
the punch
any
like
games.
that is crazy. The punch was
I mean,
so sweet. It was good. Like, we was
Spike.
enjoying it.
No, that's
Did you
very
just go over
relevant. It happened in the last few days. The clip's been going around. But somebody asked basically in 1995.
Yeah, hating on Kobe every offseason is not new, but
You would have to anyway. That's not hate to acknowledge something you did. By the way, if you take a qualifier in 1995, I think the dollar amount is about 36% more today. So add whatever $14 million worth at the time, that would be an extra like $5 million today added on. So it's about a $19 million deal, I believe, for a $14 million deal at that time. So
that's
a little bit more money.
Hey, I'm just curious though, real quick, Chill. If any of y'all know the answer, why do they always expose how much money these athletes are making? Like, I always felt it I always thought it was just kind of weird, like to tell
Like,
that to everybody.
You don't even know
those-
what kind of bread I'm making. You really don't.
Yeah. I just think it's weird.
It's a public like if you're a public company, your salaries are public, and then on top of that, because you got to remember, fans and the public are paying salaries, so it's like working for the government. You can look up all that stuff. Like, fans have a divided an invested interest in how much money is being allocated towards players and like the facilities and all that stuff.
Why do fans have an interest in
military?
Because we pay for it.
We don't own no stock. We might pay to watch the games. We don't
No,
own
but
no
you pay
stock.
for the
but you're
the
paying
stadium,
the money that's
the stadium, the merchandising.
Yeah,
all that stuff.
I also buy shit at Walmart. That don't mean I need to know how much the cashier makes.
We do know
Private
how
business.
much the CEO makes of
but it's also a private business.
Okay, I'm not arguing that we don't know. I'm saying, why do we know? That's all I'm asking.
I just explained it because it's a publicly invested company. So meaning that if you work for a team, you play for a team, and the team is then impartially paid for by the city, the state, and the local residents, all that money is available to be seen in terms of your cap sheet, the role, all this other stuff. The only people that aren't touched are people that exist outside of that framework, which is like the owners and all that stuff. So you don't know how much the owners are making.
Right, Swiper. I'm you know what I'm saying? I get what you're saying. I understand what both of you guys are saying, but I just always thought it was weird. Like just, that's all. I just always thought it was weird to be this guy signed this much, $10 million. Like, damn, man.
But I also too, another reason why, and I'm not gonna say it's important for us to know, but a lot of reasons probably why we do know is because when trades are made, the money got to match and all of that, and people want to know who gets signed to the minimum, and it's different levels for you to fill up your salary sheet. So, somebody got to be on the max. Then somebody got to be mid-level exception, and you got your rookie contracts and stuff. And then when the salary cap goes up, hey, I'm not saying we should know the number, but at the same time, it's like it makes sense.
I'm saying when you put it that way,
it's a puzzle they got to get put together in order for your
right. But Ron, we're not putting the puzzle together. The GMs instead of putting those puzzles together. Like it doesn't. I don't. You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying. It doesn't matter if I don't need to know that
if a trade goes through, we know the puzzle got put together.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. So the GM knows the details, but that's all right. No big deal. I'm just curious. And chill, they've always done that.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. See,
Like when we found out that Magic signed a 25-year deal.
Or remember Bill Russell and Will Chamberlain, chill with the $100,000 deal. Remember they wanted to outdo one another, and so Bill Russell made $100,001. Like that was a Red Auerbach is a jerk off. I swear, he's just so wild for that.
and then these dudes be getting robbed and shit. People running in their houses when they out of town. It's crazy.
All right, so from 2010 to 2016, it was Kobe. Have you guys noticed a blatant trend? Your GOAT has not got paid the most in the league yet, but we'll see if things change. Who knows?
Well, he took a
Ah,
significant pay cut.
there
Yeah,
he
he
is.
was-
2017, 30.9. LeBron James has finally entered the equation.
So
LeBron
I want to make sure that I'm understanding this correctly.
Yeah.
So it's 2017. So at this point, I've been in the league 14 years, and y'all dudes talking about, yo, he should take less bread. I've been taking less bread for years.
Yeah, LeBron didn't become the highest paid player in the league until
2017, right?
Did we not?
I don't even know 17
Yeah,
because
that's
I don't even know if it was 17 though.
So
That's
this is
what they said it was.
these graphics are inaccurate.
Yes.
No, I mean
Yeah,
it could
the
be
graphic said it
17.
was.
I'm trying to remember who was all getting paid at the time. I'm saying it is 17, but to Jill's point, could he took him, Wade, and Bosch when he went to Miami, he could have gotten the max, but he took 16 and a half $1 million in 2010 to play for the Miami Heat. So like he for years was taking
Right,
pay
and
cut.
then he got paid the
I
most.
mean, but hey, let's not do that.
It's a sacrifice to build a super
LeBron
team.
didn't sacrifice for the Miami Heat. The Miami Heat sacrificed for LeBron James.
Or both ways, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
But
that's
that's
true.
what it takes. That's what it takes to build a super team. Though.
Look, you want your legacy made? Then come on.
And also
That's
just
a fair
because
shades
he
of
wasn't
robbery.
just because he wasn't making the most in all these years up to this doesn't mean he wasn't making good money.
He was
or-
amongst the league leaders. Yes.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like he was still getting paid, just wasn't the most. You know what I mean? So,
They all took a little sliver off. It wasn't like it was a little sliver.
They
They didn't take
real
$5
talk,
million.
they-
You know what I'm
and they
saying?
were still
Like,
eating good.
Yeah,
It's funny,
he was
LeBron
just
had
fine.
1 year, and then all of a sudden Steph Curry selfishly took over. That's crazy.
Is that what it is?
Damn.
Woo, we thought Kobe had a run. Not like the chef, baby. From
Well, they got-
2018 to currently, Steph Curry has the most average per season at 44.6.
They got him on the cheap too, Ron. Don't leave that part out. That's very important. So they got him on the cheap
4
early.
year,
and then-
44.
Yes, sir. They ended up getting him on the cheap. That's why they were able to put that unit together the way that they put that together. So the dough that they had him making at that point from 18 to 25, I won't say it's back pay because I don't think it was nearly enough, but you ended up getting him on the cheap and you ended up having to pay later on. And did it work out? Yeah. We got 4 championships out of it. 100%.
Hey, real quick, real talk. I want to ask you real talk. Let me ask you this.
What's up?
Let's say the base salary is 30 M's, right? 30 M's. That's just the base salary to be an average regular squad. How much is a ring worth? You know what I'm saying? Like, how much less would you take off that 30? Like just
Off that 30 to win a ring.
30
It depends on what level of player I am. That's
you're
number one.
a $30 million. You're first, second, or
Okay.
third best player on your team. First or
Okay.
second best player on your team. So this ring means something to your legacy. If the base is 30 and 30 is a first round exit, how much is that ring worth? Like what's the
How
lowest
low
you
will
taking
you
off
go?
that?
The lowest
low
I'm
will
going
you go?
is like 24 million.
24? Okay. So
Yeah,
six.
He taking
A
all
ring,
of
a ring
it.
is worth $6 million.
He taking all of it.
Like
I
in
was-
A ring
2025.
is worth 20%.
That's it.
I said that's the most. That's what I'm saying. Really, I'm probably starting off the negotiation and still I'm going about 27, 28.
Wait a minute, you're saying in 2025
But
you'll,
see,
you'll
you know,
Well, I got
you
a
can't work
family
that
to
out.
feed,
I
bro.
give you another little cut.
Diesel, you can feed a family with
I was
20.
gonna say your family
20
hungry.
million.
But I'm
You got
saying, like,
27
come on, man. Like,
Hey,
anything
if
can
your
happen.
family hungry and you got 27 million, you a stingy nigga.
You're
But
the
what I'm
problem.
saying
No,
is,
you're
like, I can have
you're
that
the problem.
27. I'm gonna take the bread. You know what I'm saying? I could get hurt tomorrow.
Yeah, no
and
doubt.
then I'm really not winning the championship. So
No doubt.
I'm gonna take the bread every time. I'm gonna take that's the player I would be. I'll take the bread. I'm sorry.
All right, y'all. Well, here's the thing. In case you are in a family and you got a cousin that's making 27 million and you not touching nothing, I know just the place where you could eat at for the cheap. It's called Factor Meals. And well, since the summer's here, you get more sun, you get more light, and you'll have more time to do the things that make summer so special because Factor Meals allows you to get out the kitchen and get into life without having to worry about, cooking and all of that other stuff that you just don't really want to do. Factor has chef-crafted, dietitian-approved meals that are ready to heat and eat in just 2 minutes, taking the hassle out of eating well. Factor arrives fresh and ready to eat, perfect for any active and busy lifestyle over the summer and well beyond. They have 45 weekly menu options for you to choose from. Factor meals, well, they'll just keep you powered from sunup to sundown. So you can enjoy this summer by adding Factor into your life and getting the fuss and the hassle of eating out of your life. Me, Chill, Mars, Baby Swiper, we eat Factor meals every day, and you guys should quite frankly just do the same thing because it's your next best option, unless you want to be in the kitchen cooking every day, all day, for the whole summer. So here's how you get started. You go to factormeals.com/playerschoice50 off and use code PlayersChoice50 off to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first box. That's code PlayersChoice50 off at factormeals.com/PlayersChoice50 off to get 50% plus free shipping. Factormeals.com/PlayersChoice50 off. All right, fellas, let's go ahead and get into it. It's time to get
How
to our
much off,
top
Ron?
10.
How much off?
50.
50.
Yeah, say it with me. 50.
50. Yeah.
All right, y'all. Well, we do got to get to the top 10, but I almost forgot, Mars. It's the crunch time chats. So we're going to get into these super chats. Appreciate everybody that sent through super chats. And in case you don't know this segment, the last portion of every hour on Player's Choice, there's 3 hours. The last section of every hour, we will get into these crunch time chats, the super chats that you guys send through. And then right after this, we will start ranking the top 10 players from the 2024-25 NBA season. Before we do that, the people have spoken, starting with No Longer Gape. No Longer Gape said Mars was cooking low down last night. Mars really the Osiris of this basketball shit. Basketball talk, sorry. Chilltown needs to step his game up and everybody else too.
What did I miss?
Yeah,
We
what
were
else?
in
Who's
Lowe's
Osiris?
playback. I don't know.
Mars, you don't know who you are?
Mars, you know who? You ever watched the Matrix? You never seen the Matrix? Mars, have you seen anything? Do you do anything at all outside of this?
I watch basketball.
Okay, so I'm thinking about Morpheus in the Matrix. He's
The black guy.
The Osiris was the craft that the ship they were in the Matrix, right?
Yes.
Osiris is an Egyptian god. An Egyptian god.
Yeah, I'm trying to give you an example of Osiris in basketball terms. Like he's
Egyptian,
James.
not Greek. My bad. Egyptian.
Yeah,
My bad.
that's who he is.
He just
yeah. You're a big deal,
Does
Mars.
anybody know who Osiris is?
Yeah.
Osiris
Y'all
is
need to do some history.
Yeah,
I would
he's
tell y'all,
the
but
god
I'm
of
the host.
resurrection and afterlife. So
Afterlife. Okay, I thought it was the sun.
Swiper, you just looked at us.
So,
I know.
But see,
Absolutely.
Mars wouldn't be the Osiris because Mars is the guy who cooks up. So he wouldn't be resurrecting anybody. He would be
So
destroying.
why was he the Osiris last night? What happened?
Maybe Osiris.
We
Real
were
talk,
in
you answer, Mars won't
Lowe's
tell me.
playback last night, and we got we're talking about the KD versus Jokic like situation still about the offense, and then Mars remixed what I said, and then
The accent.
Oh, so he
the
stole
accent.
from you.
yeah,
The accent did his thing.
and then he got all the credit. You know, I'm used to it at this point. You know,
I told you your
used to
voice
it.
isn't majestic enough.
Hold
did
on,
the
no,
same
Mars,
thing
so
in
you,
the PCL. Got me another vote.
Mars, you cook low on his own playback?
He did
I
get
showed up. Yeah.
Damn,
Man.
how dare you, Mars? That's disrespectful. But shout out to getting a win on the road.
First time ever.
We got another super chat from Avery B. Avery B said, "Need my guy Ox to apologize for the re-slander. Go get the W. This year, 12.9 rebounds. Second is Asia with 8.7. Damn. Sixth in PR and shooting 80% from the stripe.
She's gonna make the All Pro
I'm
team.
not finna apologize for telling the truth. Why would I do that? Everything.
No.
Hold on. Everything I said when I said it was 100% facts. The day I said that, the next game she started balling. She turned up. If anything, y'all should be thanking me. I turned her ass up. You know what I'm saying? Can't nobody deny that when I said that she was playing like shit, and she's not no more. So what? I gotta apologize for her weak ass play? Hell nah. She was playing weak, and now she's not. That's all I said. I said she needs to play better. I said she needs to do whatever. She needs to do something. At the time, she was playing like a backup power forward. Now she's playing like an all-star power forward. Am I supposed to apologize? Like, am I supposed to apologize for that? That's like me. That's like my wife cooking and the chicken keep being raw. And I'm like, this is some raw ass chicken. I'm not eating this. And the next day she cook it right. I was supposed to be like, oh, I'm sorry that I didn't like your raw ass chicken. Hell nah. She cooking now. Like, that's what's up. I've never been an Angel Reese hater. In fact, I was the first Angel Reese supporter. Now I gotta apologize because I told the truth. No, I ain't going for that. Not going for that at all.
Yeah, so if Jalen Green comes back playing great next year and he's just as good as Kevin Durant, everybody else going to apologize to Hawks?
No, and they shouldn't. Well, no, actually, yes, they should because this is a future projection. I didn't say Angel Reese was never going to be good. I said right now she looks like she should be coming off the bench, and she did. Real talk. In my defense, she was playing terrible.
I'm not saying.
Go ahead.
Okay, but I just want to say this though, because you and Mars are trying to find this little slick outing.
I haven't said a word.
Whoa!
We remember.
I'm not trying to find out
what y'all were saying, and I remember.
I said she sucks. I know what I said.
I was trying to tell y'all at the time, she's not a bad basketball player. She was playing bad. Y'all wanted to label her a bad basketball player.
I said she sucks.
She had a bad stretch of games. The season had just started. That's all I was saying. At the time, I was like, look, she was an all-star last year, right? So that's why I remember I specifically asked y'all this question. Well, I was like, do you think she's a good basketball player? You said no. So that's different to me. That's different.
She was
from
not being a good basketball player.
Playing bad right now, because I do believe I'm with you. She was playing bad, but do I think the overall assumption of Angel Reese, even during that time, was that she was a bad basketball player? No. I think she had a bad stretch, and now she's picked it up.
Okay, so let me jump back in there.
I don't know. Why I go
if you first of all, let me just say this. I think anybody that watches this show knows that I go off of today. You know what I'm saying? I'm not. It switches fast for me. If you're playing bad right now, you're bad. You start playing good, you're good. That's what I go off. I'm not bringing up the past and you know what I'm saying. Like, she wasn't playing good, and that's what we were talking about. But if you go back and we talk about all the WNBA discussions I've had with y'all, I don't ever just say, oh no, she can't be good. She's not. I always thought she was talented. In fact, I was saying before that her rebounding ability, she's such a good rebounder and such a good athlete that she's gonna give herself a chance to work out all the kinks. Like, you have to play her. You know what I'm saying? I've always said these things about injuries. I've never once been an injuries hater. If I'm a hater for telling the truth at the time, then so be it. I'm not gonna sugarcoat nothing. If I think you playing weak, I'm gonna say it. And she was playing terrible. I think we all know.
She was bad for that stretch.
You have to do that, Ox. If she sucked, we can't say, well, she sucked because she's injured, which she wasn't. We can't say she sucked because of the system, because that wasn't the problem. She was whack.
And I don't, and also no, well, actually,
because of the system, but that wasn't the problem.
They tweak some things in the offensive set, and I think she's taking advantage of that. Right. That's all. But I don't think. And we all know that, especially in the WNBA right now, the Angel Reese conversation, Caitlin Clark conversation, all those, it's a little, you know what I'm saying? It's you got to be careful. I'm not going to be careful, you know what I'm saying? Because I don't have any biases. I don't have any favorites except for Asia, you know what I'm saying? But so it's just kind of like I'm not gonna bite my tongue just because I'm gonna piss some people.
We gonna talk about that turnover machine over there in Indiana, whether y'all like it or not. We're going to talk about their inefficient shot chucker over there in Indiana, whether y'all like it or not.
I tried to tell Ron.
The fact that she averages 6 turnovers per game, whether y'all like it or not.
Real talk.
Good right now, and don't nobody want to say it on camera. Don't nobody want to tweet about it, because then you get all the, it's a lot of
real talk. Real talk. See, now you sounded like Ox was 3 weeks ago. And now I'm going to stand on business the same way I stood on business for Angel. She gonna be all right. Wait.
But Ron, didn't I tell you this about
Kevin? Them passes gonna start getting through, and all of a sudden everything gonna look a little different. When she go on a stretch averaging,
one of those games she chucking, they gonna fall, and everybody gonna be like,
no, not one of those games. One of those stretches. When she goes on a 10-game stretch of averaging 27 and 11, want everybody to keep the same energy, just do it. Just do it. On top of that,
but just to be clear, so that you can see, I don't take no favorites between the two. I told Ron about this with Caitlin Clark last season. Even when we had the little back and forth in the thing. I don't have no favoritism to Caitlin Clark. If she playing weak, I think she's a turnover machine. I said that last year. And I still think she's a turnover machine. So this is, for me, this ain't about Caitlin versus Angel Reese. It's a million other players in the WNBA that we could talk about. And neither one of them is the best, but they're both great basketball players. But when you play sorry, I'm gonna say you playing sorry. I don't care who you are.
Yo, what's good, Swiper?
And I made a prediction that page going into the year, and people I thought it was even crazy that she was going to be a 25-5 rookie, and people were like, "No, there's no way, there's no way, there's no way." She's right there. She's knocking on the door. I mean, she put on the season.
Yeah,
Paige is on the year right now.
You be getting busy, boy.
She is at 18. 5.5 and 4, but she's doing this like on not a good team at all, like a very not good team. And I said immediately she'll be the best player on her team through the first few games. And Enrique's really good, but Enrique is a chucker and she doesn't do a lot else. Respect.
Enrique was supposed to be her Kelsey Mitchell, but she not holding up.
Paige is crazy.
I told you Enrique was a chucker 2 years ago.
25-5, Big Smoke, not 25-5. But Paige is crazy. She's an elite. She just is in control of everything, and I'll end it there.
Yeah, shout out to Paige, all-star starter. The Super Chat started with Angel Reese. So just in case you don't know, since that infamous day where Ox slandered Angel and me, Jordan, and Penn had to come to her defense, this is what she's done since then. She had a game of 18-17. Next game, 17-18. Next game, 24-16. Next game, 16-17. And just yesterday, she had 22-15. And there's assists sprinkled in there too. Steals, blocks, all of that good stuff. I just gave you the points and the rebounds. So shout out to
becoming a really good passer too.
Yeah.
Out of that 0.4 little situation they got going on, she's a skilled player. Like, because she can't make layups, people don't want to say that, but especially for a big. She's a skilled player. Can handle the ball, can pass, can hit free throws at a really good rate. Like, she's skilled.
And also another thing too, I guess she has become a very marketable athlete because, well, Angel now has a new signature shoe.
Well, she's one of the most popular athletes already before this, so she's that. I don't personally wear Reebok, so I'm very happy for her though. That's a great deal.
Hey, Ron, even when she was playing terrible, she still to buy you Barbie.
Ooh la la, that's such a nice shoe, right, Chet? Check out the shoe.
And I will say, you can make that streetwear wise. You can make that work. I can make that work. Streetwear, I can make it work.
Well, you wear
just don't like Reebok or what?
No, I have I don't have any Reeboks. I wear Jordan, Nike, Puma. I even have some Adidas in there. So, but mostly Jordan.
So, but what Jordans you be wearing? The why nots?
No, I don't wear those. Those are the teams.
Where's
I
the Tatums?
I don't wear the teams.
Definitely wears the Tatums.
But what's wrong with the why nots? They have some good why nots though. What's wrong with the Russ? Why are you laughing? Russ has some nice shoes. Oh, that's no more Russ slander or that me slander? Which one was that intended for? Both?
It was
maybe both at once.
No.
So when y'all say y'all don't
Team Jordans, I'm sorry. I have a feeling you have a pair of Team Jordans.
Team?
Wait, real talk. When you say like Team Jordans, that means you like no JPs, no
non-retro.
Wait, hold on. But what's wrong with that's real talk? What's wrong with the mellows? Especially our first mellows.
Do you have some?
The first one was
those are the Team Jordans. Chris Paul got some nice ones.
All right, now you're doing too much.
I mean, he does. I mean, he's not. I don't wear them, but
you wear the Blake Griffin.
Nah, Team Jordans is okay. Like to hoop in for sure. Those are good basketball shoes.
All right, y'all.
Catch you on the street with that boxing shoe on. Yeah, maybe a problem.
Angel is also making more ripples in the media. It wasn't just the shoes. It's not just her getting the rebounds. It's not just her playing in the All-Star game. Also, She will be featured on 2K26 along with Melo and SGA.
An actual
It's
cover.
been a crazy
Goodness,
couple
that's-
weeks for
that
Angel,
looks dope.
right? Crazy couple months for SGA, and
Melo,
been a
how
crazy
Melo,
life
how
for
did, how did
Melo.
Melo get here?
Melo got the
Well,
superstar edition.
you see, you get the
Okay.
Superstar Edition. It's always a throwback player. Shout out to Melo. Then you get the
gonna be
WNBA
a
edition.
next year.
Shout out to the Bayou Barbie.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get the NBA edition.
Oh, I thought his cover was really at the free throw line.
It's gonna be Ox. That's not the real cover. He
Hey,
really
you know
needs
what
to
I
get the
just
free
you know what I just discovered last night on playback? That you literally have to buy the game every year. Like they don't update the rosters.
You
That's
didn't
ridiculous.
actually don't play video games?
Swiper. That's extortion.
They've been extorting their fan base for a while now.
That is crazy.
They
Madden,
just find more ways to
NHL,
extort people.
FIFA, you got to buy them every year.
I'm gonna tell you like this: if I bought last year's game, Michael Porter Jr. will be on the Nuggets forever.
Yo, that's hilarious.
Shit, nigga, what?
All right, y'all. Appreciate you for that Angel Reese super chat. We got a couple more super chats we gonna get into for the Crunch Time chat segment. The next one is from Void's entry. Void said Swiper is by far the best panelist on the show, and y'all should really appreciate him more and give it 4 months. The press box will be better than Chill with Chill.
Okay, well, two things. Let me speak for
Yo.
this. Two things. I don't think it's a competition. I think Chills is great in its own right. I watch it.
100% competition.
It's great. Great. No, it's not. Thursday and Saturday are premium days. We will be Wednesday and we will be Sunday. They're not even the same subject material, and the NFL audience is bigger than the NBA audience. So we get a large. So even if we get a larger audience, it's really like you got to do it like per capita, and per capita theirs will still be better, by the way. And then on the other end of this, yeah, man, look, some of you did vote me panelist of the year, and I really appreciate that. And I will do the best I can to earn your vote again next season with righteous takes and trying to stay out of the mud as much as possible. So I do appreciate that.
Right on. Swiper, this is America. You know they ain't counting votes. They just elected you.
That's a fact. Some people that does happen to, but
Just like they did with Joe Biden.
Well, shout out to the
Actually,
panelists.
literally
Probably
the
the
most turnouts ever. Never mind.
All right, bro. I'm just playing.
It's funny how his brother was in Florida and flipped the election like that.
Ooh, they
Oh,
said the
2000
all the time.
And then they
That
had
was
the
back then.
recount. Oh man, that was tough. Joe, you were a grown man at that time, man. I can't believe
That was in
what life must
2000,
have
right?
been like.
2000 when Jed cheated in Florida.
No, I'm saying Chill was a actual like able to vote. I mean, I was a baby. So I mean, I thought that was crazy. Like, what do you mean we're doing a recount in his brother's the governor? Like,
Now, what that make me a
was
Simmons though?
Ox, I think it's interesting that our show was the standard on PC. Like after the panel, and
is.
it's our show.
They-
And I
what
think,
other shows are on PC right now?
I think that's dope.
I hope.
What other shows
You
are
have-
on PC?
Look, you have Chill with Chill,
Mhm.
and then obviously we have the press box on the way. And then we also have another show called Grill with Grill, but we don't got all of that just yet. And then we have From the Logo. Yeah.
When does From the
Yeah,
Logo
so
come on?
Mars.
It was on yesterday. It's on Tuesdays.
My fault.
What is
You
your
brought
hate
nonsense.
for that show?
He be hating.
Bro, I'm nonsense. It's my fault.
Yeah, well, shout out to From the Logo. In case you missed it yesterday, go back and watch the video. They talked about some good things. They talked about who won the trades, what's going to be next for Bradley Beal's buyout. Does Joel Embiid need to just retire? They talked about what Mars' sleeping medication is and all of that good stuff. So, yeah, y'all go check it out. What's up, Swipe?
I would say Friday or Monday we should start doing previews or ads for all the shows so that people know when they are. Because I didn't even know what From the Logo was on, and that way we can remind a new audience and all that kind of stuff. But again, I also have a hearing problem too, so I could have not heard. So I don't want to speak for Ron's W host, but maybe every week be like, you know what, this week catch us Thursday 4 p.m. You got Chill with Ox and Chill. Saturday 12 p.m. back at it, talking about everything you need to know from top to bottom in the NBA, like trailer promos.
Hey, Ox, you like them type of promos? Did that just get you invigorated? Remind you of 2 a.m.?
Basketball show, by the way.
Bro, what are you on, bro? Relax.
All right, never mind. All right, the next super chat is from MP13. MP13 said, taking contested putbacks and missing doesn't mean you were playing bad. It means you are a bad basketball player. The process was bad, therefore she's bad at basketball. She's improved the process.
She's dead as just playing a whole nother style because coaching matters, unfortunately. In the
Absolutely.
pros. But okay.
Tupac Westside said, good morning, Ox. 2K's been problematic for years. The VC greed, the servers, the gameplay, etc., etc., etc. The developers hear the criticism, but they just don't care because we keep buying the games and they have no competition.
How does that work with I'm not a bit.
In 2028.
It's all right. Hey, you see what it did to Matt. You see what college football did to Madden. Little fire
I
on
don't know
that.
what it did to Madden, but
Y'all remember when
Like,
EA had a good basketball game? Oh man.
Like NBA Live
Sports.
05. Like,
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
How does this work?
I mean, it's America. It's capitalism. So
So, to your point, because again, I'm not in the
just
I'm not
corner
in
the
the
market.
I'm not in the video game space, Ox, so I don't know how that works. So
Crazy,
if I
real talk.
own a PlayStation, right? If I own a PlayStation and I don't know, 2K25 comes out, that's different than 2K24. I got to buy a whole new one.
yes.
yeah,
It's
well,
a whole new
remember
game,
last
a whole
night
new game.
on Playback Chill. Remember, I was asking these questions. Remember, the chat was putting me up on all of this.
Right.
I did not know that the rosters didn't, upload or download or whatever you call it. You know what I'm saying, onto the new system. So I just think it's especially because aren't y'all connected to like the Wi-Fi to play people that live in different countries and shit. So
Yes.
if we could go, like, that's crazy. Like the internet knows who's on the roster. Just update me.
I think the rosters do.
Or-
update. I might be wrong though, but I think they do.
Okay, so I got
Once
some
the
bad
season is over,
information.
they don't update.
But you
For real?
can
So
download
if
the
I
rosters.
go on 24 right now, they won't have the current rosters.
Yeah, they
You
will.
used to be able to just download.
I
the
think
game.
they will.
But if
You have
go
the
FIFA like
users
2K17,
will
they're not-
make the roster.
Yeah, because the servers aren't up.
Yeah, the servers will make it.
Ah.
And Ox, first off, you are an L capitalist. It should be a free market then, shouldn't it be? So just EA Sports just dominating the platform, making a crappy game every year, and there's no competition. That sounds like
I thought
that doesn't
monopolies
sound like
were
capitalism
illegal.
to me.
I thought monopolies were illegal.
They are not. EA Sports has had this ridiculous agreement with the NFL, and they made a crap game for 10 years. Real talk, 10 years. We've got the same game.
I thought the Roosevelt administration made monopolies illegal. I guess I was
No,
wrong.
then they made it to a point, but then what happened is conglomerates, and all that stuff, and lobbyists were like, hey, well, we actually can, boom, 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 and then Starbucks. Anyway,
Yeah. We don't have to go down the
Well, I mean, you could go to Dutch Bros.
road.
don't like
Zenon Foz said F Ronnie and F Mike Wang. Shout out Flight. That's 2K Ronnie?
2K reference, yeah.
Who's Mike Wang?
Developer for 2K.
Okay. The next super chat I got is from Maradi Tanzambi. Maradi said, how can Chill go ahead and move you up here, big fella? How can Chill talk about producing, but then have John Stockton top 5 over guys who have more championships than him? He's a loser.
That's just, this is where the argument gets really tricky, because winning championships is not just about producing. I mean, you can produce and still lose. And John Stockton ran into a gauntlet when he was in the Western Conference, when he was trying to get to the championship. They were in the Western Conference championship 5 times in 7 years. And if I'm not mistaken, let's see, in 92, they ran into the Blazers. Going to the Blazers ended up in the finals. In 94, they ended up running into the NBA champion. In 95, they ran into the NBA champion. In 96, they ran into Seattle, who went to the NBA finals. In 97, they ran into the NBA champion. In 98, they ran into the NBA champion. So it's difficult. I think you need a lot of things to go your way when you're trying to win an NBA championship. But the fact that Stockton still was producing at a high level during that time, they just weren't good enough. I mean, I don't want to discredit him for that because he 100% was producing. He still was making the All-Pro team. He still, in 1995, I mean, John Stockton was considered the best point guard in the NBA. That was going on. That was a real conversation that he was the best league guard in the game. However, they just weren't better than Seattle. They weren't better than the Bulls. They weren't better than Houston at that time. That doesn't mean he wasn't producing.
Chill sounds like James Harden to me. As much love as y'all give James Harden, you need to go ahead and give John Stockton. Huh?
That's the same for you, right?
Nah, not really. But y'all though, y'all.
Do want to say
I don't
that.
give James Harden love. Well, if you're saying I can stop
Yeah,
him, I need to give James Harden
exactly. Yeah.
If you go back
Or
and
you
watch
give
that
Harden
series,
hate, give Stockton hate. One or the other.
you go back and watch the series with the Sonics and the Bulls. Sean Kemp had a great series, by the way. He was destroying Dennis Rodman and them. But,
Oh, you talking about the 96 finals?
yes.
Oh.
Yeah, Sean Kemp was balling.
Be careful. Be careful about the Dennis Rodman thing. Some these fans out here crazy.
Shout out
Shit,
Sean
he
Kemp.
crazy. My fault.
All right, y'all. The last super chat in the segment before we officially get into our top 10 players from the 2025 NBA season is from my man Trent. Trent said, "Press box, huh?"
Yeah, man. Shout out Bama and J-Rob. They laid the foundation for the show. I'm merely just contributing my abilities to panelist of the year to the show. So I'm very excited to join, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
It's going to be good football.
Swiper, you better shout out Trent too. Yeah,
Is
you
Trent
better shout
pulling
out
up?
Trent too.
Trent pulling up
I
too.
promise. Yeah, I promise he got smoke for you. I can guarantee you that.
Why? Do I know Trent?
You will.
Oh.
hey, what Bane say?
Is he a
You
Raiders
will.
fan or something?
You'll see.
Oh.
You will see. Shout out Trent.
Is there a
Hey, Trent,
PCL
you hit
for
me yesterday,
football?
too. I'm gonna hit you back, Trent.
What's the
Good,
PCL for football?
good question. Real talk.
Is there a PCL for football? Because I like to go over there and clean your boots over there on that one too. Swipe.
Clean your boots.
I like to go over there and clean your boots on that one too.
Look,
Just
I've already
over here.
I've already
Woo!
self-admitted. I am not a good in-season tournament debater, and I have acknowledged that. I'm an
In-season
80
tournament, no,
I'm an
brother, that's
82
the
game
playoffs.
sampler. I need
Those
82
are the
games to get my
playoffs.
game off. So shout out to y'all, man.
That's why you
And you
got
can
on
win all the
that.
regular season MVPs, quote unquote, panelists of the years you want to. Me, Finals MVP, baby.
You ran.
Well,
You did.
Are you saying?
whatever,
Swiper,
Mark. You're not here. You're not here. Shut
Shut
up.
Swiper, does your game get raised in the playoffs? Is what you're saying?
Yeah, I mean, but no. But to be fair, in real life, my regular seasons were
The opposite.
okay.
Yeah.
My playoffs is what got me into college playing because my playoffs were like.
So
and I
you
was
Jimmy
actually
Butler then. So you
And I was
bucket.
actually super clutch, mind you, like my whole life. I love
you
pressure.
bucket.
So
No, you're
none of it.
Jokic before 23, Swiper. That's all.
Jokic before 23.
You saw in the regular
Right.
season.
Maybe one day I win a PCL. I really truly don't know. I really don't know. Like
Hey,
don't know.
Swiper, let me ask you something.
Word on the
because
streets of the PCOs having voters fatigue. So
let
I'm
me
already-
ask you real quick,
Had to see.
though, Swiper, because I'm a super casual, right? And I ran something by Chill last night on playback. I like gunslinger quarterbacks. I like quarterbacks that's throwing the deep ball, right? And mind you, Swiper, I'm a super casual. You know what I'm saying? This is my take though. I always felt like you might as well throw it down there, right? Because if you got a good defense, if I throw an interception way down there, I basically just advance the ball. You know what I'm saying? So is that crazy?
No, quarterbacks have done this for decades. They literally at third
I
and
don't know, I'm
12.
tripping.
If they throw the ball, because you got to think if you punt the ball at the 20 and then you say it goes to the 30 and they field it or whatever, and then now they're out to the 45. But if you throw the ball from the 25 and then it's an interception, basically from the 18 on, you just flip the field completely. It just counts as a turnover on your end, but you
Right.
still have basically won the possession in the long term. So I actually think
Right.
that's a great strategy. Just most quarterbacks
Right.
care too much about their stats to do that.
See, I remember because I played football up to sophomore year, right? And I remember it was like if you in that situation on defense, do not intercept the ball. You know what I'm saying? Like just slap it down. And we used to be thirsty though, like
Mhm.
snatching that.
Yep. Hail Marys. That's
Yeah.
why people lose all the time.
all right, y'all. Well, let's go ahead and get into it. The top 10 players from this NBA season. This is how we're going to do things, fellas. It's up for you to determine who you believe was better, whether it's who scored more points, whether it was who just produced more in general, whether you give the person who won an MVP or have more playoff success the nod. It's up to you, or you might just use your eye test. But we are going to go 1 through 10 and figure out who really were the 10 best players from this season or in this season or most talented, however you want to do it. Chat, lock in. We're going
What's
to
the
need
criteria,
you guys'
Ron? What's the criteria when we're talking about these? Are we factoring in injuries? Are we factoring in availability?
Can we just doing player? Are we just doing player like when they're healthy?
We're
Yeah,
not
the only
doing who
person-
had.
Well, there has to be a limit to that.
Yes.
So do you think
Yeah, like,
Embiid should not be on the list then?
Yes, I think
I'm-
Embiid should not be
yeah,
on the list.
Okay.
I'm not.
Yeah,
I didn't
for
have.
this
I don't
I don't
have.
think
season,
Leonard
Embiid.
should be on the
This
list neither
season,
because he
yeah.
didn't
Wh-
play enough.
Wemby will be on the list for me, for sure.
I think it depends on the level you play at when you played. Like Embiid didn't play like a top 10 player this year in his 19 games, so he shouldn't even be considered.
But then to be fair, Chill, if you Leonard has 110 games played in the last 2 years, I think. So I think he should count. Like that's a lot of games. We saw Kawhi had 68 the year before, then had.
I don't think Kawhi would make my list regardless, but
Okay.
yeah, I,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
fine.
that's
I'm
what
fine.
I'm
I'm fine with Kawhi counting. I'm fine with us including Kawhi.
Just Embiid. I didn't rank at all.
Yeah, Embiid, nah.
He played 37 games this year. That's 2 months.
Yeah, I mean that's 105 games, 2 years though. That's still a lot.
Listen to what we're talking about, Swiper. He played 2 months of games, 37 games. That's it. The season starts in October.
Yeah, but I
And
saw him
goes
play in
to
the
regular
playoffs,
season,
He played like half the season.
almost half the
Yeah.
season.
But chill, maybe were his 36 games more impactful than anybody else's 70 games?
I think
The
that his
top 10
game,
guys probably not, but
Right. No. Okay.
All right, y'all. Well, we're gonna go around the room. Everybody's going to vote, and we're gonna see who was the number one player. Real talk.
what's
We're
the
gonna kick
order?
it off with
Oh,
you.
okay.
My number one player for this year was Giannis Antetokounmpo. I'm sticking with that. I believe he had a fantastic regular season. I think he carried on that play in the playoffs as well. Some may, bring up the fact that he got switch hunted by a guard, I guess. But yeah, my best player, Giannis.
You think he played the best last season?
You heard him, Swiper.
That's what I said, isn't it?
Okay.
Get him, Ron.
All right,
No, it's just no debate. I'm just asking. That's all.
Mhm.
Swiper. Who you got?
Yoke. Yeah, I think he played the best basketball. I think at this point his season's been underrated. Like since we've left it. Personally, that's just me though. That's me. I think since the playoffs, I think his season's become underrated.
Did
I
you
don't
see the
think that-
tweet that said Jokic was Wayne Gretzky because he's the best scorer? In,
Oh, Nate
also
Jones?
in the NBA?
Yeah.
Did you see that? Did you agree with that?
I remember I've said I think he's the best playmaker and scorer in the league, but I don't think he's Wayne Gretzky. Remember Wayne is leading. He was leading the NHL in both all time. So that's a
Call him
that's a
Wayne
lot.
Gretzky. Didn't
Huh?
you put him in that? Didn't you put him in that team?
He said
I
something.
said he was the Remember me and Real Talk got that argument. Like he was the. I think he's the best at his sport at the pinnacle is what I was referring to. But hockey, like there's no way to be both like lead points and assist like ever. Like Wayne's is it. There's like no one's in any sports doing that. In no sport, you know what I mean?
Yeah, Lionel Messi
But
quite
I
close, but I mean,
I don't know about the underrated
too,
thing.
yeah.
Like we know who Joker was this year. Like it's not. You keep saying
Well, we didn't even
underrated.
have him in a tier. I think even last week when we were doing the scoring tiers, I think people were hesitant to put him in tier 2, and I just think he's clearly like a tier 1 scorer in the league. I think
Is he
he's
like a
clearly-
tier 1 scorer in the league?
He
Or
is.
is
No, I
he
think
a
he
tier
is.
1
History
scorer?
or the league?
I don't-
No,
No.
just today, Ron. We're not doing
Yeah.
that. We're not doing
No,
that.
I do not. I
We
personally
didn't,
do
we
not
didn't, we
think.
didn't do a tier 1. We didn't do.
I know
in
we
those
were
tiers, it
doing
wasn't
the tiers ever, but
historical,
then remember we
yeah.
got to Yoke, and then I think
this season.
yeah,
so
I
there's
know.
5
Hold
scorers.
on, chill. I'm saying like we were doing the tiers, and I was saying I think at that point people were saying they didn't want to know if they wanted to put him in tier 2, but I'm saying that like the other people that were in the tier 2 were also in the league now currently, and I think there's no way to make an argument that Jokic is not a tier 1 scorer in the league today with SGA and Embiid and Luka, given that like the years we've had, even this last year. I've talked about this before. There's only one other player in NBA history that's ever averaged 28 more points a game on 60% from 2, 40% from 3, and 80% from the line. That's Kevin Durant in 2023 in 47 games. Like there's just he averaged 30 on like 63, 43, 80 modern splits. You know what I mean? Like that's just it's
So if
unheard
you
of.
stay right there, Swiper, today,
Mhm.
July of 2025, are there 5 guys in the game who are better scorers
No.
than Joker?
No, absolutely not.
So you just
I think you
so-
can make an argument for Luka. You can make an argument for SGA. You can make an argument for Embiid.
Kevin Durant is not a better scorer in today's game.
In 2025.
July of 2025, Kevin Durant is not a better scorer than Joker.
Giannis?
No, not Giannis either. I think Giannis. No,
Giannis is not a better scorer than.
No,
Can we get to the list instead of this?
Well, they're asking me questions about
I
my
just asked the
content.
question. That's all.
Yeah, but we already used half the show talking about stuff.
No problem. Sure, no problem. Swiper, you said
so. Don't debate the list. Yes,
no
I have.
This ain't debating the list. This is debating where Jokic ranks as a scorer in the league.
That's why he's where he is, Mars.
The public is asking.
Swiper said he has Jokic number one, and then he started talking about how we underrated Jokic's season. That's what he did. Like,
one of the main reasons why. Okay, are we going to finish the list?
I think Mars, you're doing too much though. Like, if people are asking for context behind why you have a player ranked,
we 100% are going to finish the list. But Mars, yes, we do. But anyway, Mars, the reason why he thinks Joker is the best player in the league is because of his ability to score. That's part of it. That's why I'm asking, do you think he's one of the 5 best scorers in the game? Why is that not valid?
I never said it's not valid. I said, can we finish the list? That's what I said.
All right, let's get to the list.
Yeah, I don't know if he's one of the top 5 scorers in the league.
I don't think he's a better scorer than KD. I don't.
He's not.
And I think he's awesome. I think Joker is awesome as a bucket getter. I don't think he's a better scorer than KD. I don't.
I have him as the second best.
Or Luka neither.
Or where that
second best scorer?
I don't know where this is coming from. This is insane.
I have him as a second. I don't think you can have him as a better scorer than Luka based off what we've seen this year and over the playoffs last year. I think Luka has just struggled to get by his defender, especially when you throw a stronger, more athletic defender on him like a Lou Dort or Jaylen Brown. He's just struggled way too much to get to his spots consistently, and then he relies on a lot of inconsistent shooting. I think Jokic has the ability to get to the post. He's a really good 3-point shooter, probably the best touch around the rim and the best touch from like paint, non-restricted and elbow range, to where I think Jokic is just the better scorer at this point.
All right. Well, John D, who you got as number 1 on your list?
I got Jokic as number 1. I think Jokic is the best player in the league.
Big Yoke. Okay, that's 2 for Jokic. Chilltown, talk to me. Who you rocking with?
The same thing that me and Real Talk had this conversation about. Real Talk, who was I talking about? If this keeps going and I see what I continue to see and I end up seeing what I thought I was going to see at the end of the season, he was going to move up the list. Well, we got a guy in the league who the last 3 years averaged 30 a game, first team All-Pro, and this season basically finished. I'm not going to say the trifecta, but had the best season. I think Joker is the better player, but I think SGA played the best this season. I do. I think SGA played the best this season. So I'm putting SGA at the top of the list.
So SGA is the number 1 player in the NBA.
I think SGA is at the top
for this season. For this season.
Yes, I think SGA is at the top of the list. 100%. I believe that.
Shout out SGA over Jokic, over Giannis, over everybody else. Mars, who you got?
Jokic.
Big Ox.
Oh, explain it? Oh, okay.
If you don't want to now. Big Ox.
Man, Ron, it's between SGA and Giannis, and it doesn't really matter because Jokic got 3 votes already. But I'm gonna go with Giannis.
Ron, you could tie it up with Giannis.
I could do that, huh?
Mars, don't put nothing in his ear, Mars. Stop.
I could do that, huh?
Don't do that.
But I have vouched since I got panel MVP. It has actually rolled over into my hosting abilities, and I vouched to stop doing nasty things unless it's to piss this nigga off. But aside from that, I actually have Jokic. So I'm staying consistent. I think Jokic should have won. Yeah, I think Jokic should have won MVP. I said that at the end of the year. Said that before SGA got his. Jokic scored damn near 30. Second in rebound, second in assist, or third in rebound, second in assist. You can't.
Mars, you think Joker had I know you think Joker's a better player than SGA. You think he had a better season than SGA did this season?
I think he played better this year.
That's what I'm talking about. You think he played better than him this season?
Yeah, I think he played better.
Okay. Real quick, Ron. I know it doesn't matter because it's already done, but I just want to change my vote to SGA though. We got to go through got to take into account the whole season. I'm gonna say SGA.
All right. Shout out to Kid SGA. All right, next up. First is Jokic. All right, we're going to go back around the room. Real talk is on you. Who is second?
I still got Giannis. So
Giannis until he's picked.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Swiper, Jokic is off the board. Who is next?
So had the second best season last year, right?
Number 2.
Yes.
SGA.
John D.
Okay, real quick. Are we going off who had the better season or who's the better player? Like
It's
this
up
is
for you.
where-
It's up for you
it's
to
your
determine.
No, it has to be one. It has to be one. I think
Real talk is saying Giannis played better than everyone. That's what real talk is saying. Swiper's doing who had the better season. I'm doing who played better this year. That's what I'm doing.
That's what I'm saying. We're
So
on.
I don't know. However you
If
determine.
that's
but
what
Marsh, we're on-
It's a
that's-
combination of all of them, but it's up for you to
No,
determine how much you
no,
weigh
it
each of them.
It can't
Well,
be.
mine is 100% who played better.
That's
0% the other things. That's what I'm doing.
That's what it should be. 100% who had the
Mine is
best
100% who played better.
It's a
0%
24-25
everything
ranking.
else.
100%.
Yeah, look at the
That's
title.
it.
Look at
That's
the
all I'm
title.
doing.
Best
You
players of
can't do who's the better
2025
overall.
So
based
I'm
on
doing
who played better.
my
in
1,
this
2,
last
3,
year.
4 will be Jokic played the best. My number 2 played the second best. My third played the third best.
Agreed.
That's what I'm doing.
Agreed.
That's it.
Yeah.
If not,
All right, well,
then
I'm
we'd
gonna,
be talking about Bron and KD already. You know what I'm saying? So and Steph, but we're not. Let's talk about just strictly 2025.
Where you at, John D? Where you at, brother?
I'm gonna go SGA. I'm gonna go SGA.
Wait a minute. You're gonna go SGA, but it looks like by the look on your face, you're not really sure.
Because it's like it's just hard for me to make because I don't think SGA is better than Giannis.
I don't
So I
either.
think
But it's about who had a better, who played better last season.
Exactly. That's why it's
Right.
like, you know, man, sure. SGA number 2.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Chill.
Same logic. I don't think SGA, just like Joker, I think Joker is a better player than SGA, but I think SGA played better this year. I think that Giannis is a better player than SGA. I think SGA played better this year, and Giannis was awesome. 30 and 10 on 60% for the third straight year. He was doing that. I mean, who else is doing that? That was pretty incredible. But for what SGA did this year with that crew, and for that crew to be as decimated as it was for times that they were decimated, and for SGA to keep them afloat as long as he did, just like Giannis did, but I just think SGA played better. I'm going to say SGA had a second.
Could somebody
SGA
tell me
two.
why SGA played better than Giannis last year?
So if Giannis, as awesome as Giannis was, again, SGA as a bucket getter, I'm not going to argue about Giannis, but SGA as a bucket getter, he was responsible. He was definitely responsible for a lot more of their buckets, I think, than Giannis was, because Giannis did have Damian Lillard there, who was also playing at an All-Pro level this season. Had he not gotten hurt at the end of the season,
J-Dub made the All-Pro team.
Yeah, but and so would Damian Lillard, and I think Damian Lillard is a better scorer than J-Dub. So he did have that with him, as opposed to as opposed to Giannis. I mean, as opposed to Giannis. I mean, as opposed to SGA. With that being said, he also had guys in and out of the lineup. He had Chet out of the lineup for 2/3 of the season. Not only did he have him out of the lineup for 2/3 of the season, he had Alex Caruso in and out of the lineup. So he had to compensate for a lot of this other stuff going on throughout the course of the season with his crew. Don't get me wrong. I know that Giannis lost Bobby Portis, so the rebounding part of it was there. Giannis was already the better rebounder on their team anyway. So in terms of interior defense, Brook Lopez was that. SGA, on the other hand, was responsible for them being for being their primary bucket getter. He was responsible for being their primary ball handler. He was responsible for defense. He wasn't their best defender, but he was one of their better defenders. And with him being one of their better defenders, he got hunted and he held his own. And with him being in the lineup, they won more when he was in the lineup than when he was out. And I think that's why I have SGA ahead of Giannis.
I think they were undefeated.
I think
5-1 with SGA, 2-1, whatever.
I think SGA like offensively is having like one of the more underrated floor raising seasons. When you have a guy that's like playing in isolation at the volume he is, pick and roll at the volume he is, can play passing lanes as well as they do. You can see when SGA isn't on the floor, they lean into their defense, creating their offense. While SGA is being such a pressure relief for them when he's on the floor, creating in the half court like he does, playing in the mid range the way he does, getting downhill and getting to the rim, eating up free throws. That level of consistency offensively for floor raising for like what OKC did, I just took that into account. That's why I had SGA at number 2.
All right, Mars.
Does SGA have more play finishing talent on his team than Giannis?
Does SGA have more player finishing?
Play
team?
finishing, yeah, I would say.
Especially in the
I would
regular
say so because you
season,
got
better.
Dub.
Scores.
I think Dub off the ball would probably be better than anybody on Milwaukee off the ball. Chet, Hardenstein, Caruso is a good play finisher as well. Isaiah Joe and Aaron Wiggins when they're knocking down shots. Same with Lou Dort when he's knocking down shots. I would say so.
I don't think that's a fair comparison, real talk, because Oklahoma City is the better team than Milwaukee, and yes, and I can appreciate that Giannis would have to do more because he doesn't have the, play finishing. He doesn't have the long ball shooting, but that would enhance my game too, though, because those guys that we talked about, some of them were out of the lineup for a lot of, and I had to compensate for that. So I did lose Alex Caruso for a while. I did lose Chet for a while, right? I did lose a Hartenstein for a while. So that guy around the bucket that's getting buckets, he wasn't there for a long time. Alex Caruso being out of the lineup. Now I got to play more defensively. He was out of the lineup. Chet, we had a gang rebound more. Like, so the stuff that was going on when those guys weren't there, I had to compensate for that. And I did.
All right, Mark,
who you reckon? Explanation.
Shay.
All right, Big Ox.
Staying consistent. I'm gonna go with Shay.
All right, SGA is taking the second spot in our rankings. Shout out to SGA, 2K26 cover athlete, Finals MVP, NBA champion, regular season MVP, scoring champ. He continues to just win, y'all. Next up, after Jokic being 1, SGA 2. Who is number 3, y'all? Real talk?
Giannis.
All right. Swiper?
Giannis.
Chill?
Giannis.
Bars?
Giannis.
Ox?
Are those indictment papers? Are they on
Here we go,
the
man.
DA's
Here we
desk
go.
yet, or have we taken them off?
No. Just move on.
No.
We got 7 more after this. And
Oh,
I feel like the
now
top 3
everyone-
are-
No, Swap.
no,
You
I feel
can't
like-
do that after you just
Hold
did
on,
that to
time
Mars.
out,
Hell
time
no.
out.
When
I
it's
feel
time
like
to defend Jokic as a scorer, let's talk about it.
I think I do. No, but hold on. The indictment
Swiper,
papers.
this will get factored into your panelist of the year next year.
I don't care. I really don't care.
Told you.
Whatever
Oh,
you
now
want.
you don't care.
But the idea,
As you were
that
saying,
like
as you were saying, Swiper,
we're talking about indictment papers on Giannis instead of like this is what he did last year toward the ranking.
Yes.
It's not relevant to what he did this last season. I'm saying that like I think the top 3 played the best. I don't know. Indictment papers is a narrative, not associated with how they play.
It's not a narrative.
What indictment papers? How does
indictment papers?
How are indictment papers?
I got you. It's the fact. It's simple as that. Now, with that being said, indictment papers don't mean you're guilty, Swappy. You still gotta go to court. This is America, due process and all that, right? What I'm saying is, I was saying this before the playoffs started. I need Giannis to prove something. Now, I know Dame got hurt. I understand that. That's all taken into context. But I had Giannis up into the playoffs as the best player in the NBA. You know what I mean? So I want Giannis carry that squad through the trenches. Like I know the Pacers went to the Eastern Conference Finals. To the finals. I understand that. I know they were a good basketball team. I just wanted Giannis to show a little bit more carryability. He hasn't been able to do that since KD's toe was on the line.
So you have Giannis at number 3?
Yeah, we do have Giannis at number 3. Yeah, but to answer your question, though, Chill, because we have more than enough time to finish this list. So I'm saying there's no reason for us to be having attitudes and rushing through basic conversation. Yes, Chill. I do think those indictment papers should be on the table. In fact, they should be going out now.
Indictment papers for what? That he's not a top 3 player.
He's a top 3 player for sure. But the carryability factor, and that's all. No big deal. It doesn't hurt his legacy, y'all, and it's not going to hurt anybody at all.
Because the same thing would be going on, Swiper, if this was Joker. If Joker would have gotten knocked out of the playoffs in the first round for the last 3 years, even if he would have been injured, and then there were other factors, we would start to have the conversation about Joker. No one would be questioning Joker as a no one would be questioning. No, I don't think any of us would be questioning Joker as a player. However, when we're talking about putting a championship level team together, on top of that, you being a championship level player and you're consistently losing early on in the playoffs, we have to start looking at you and why are you losing? What's going on? These are the
Because
indictment
he's
papers.
hurt or the team isn't good enough.
But
that's
these
the
are the
answer.
but these are the
Like, that's the answer.
That's why you get a lawyer and go to court.
Right, and that's
But
fair.
I think the
fair,
indictment
real talk.
papers.
That's why
I think the
these are
indictment papers are more
papers.
so reflective of the fact. I think Giannis just isn't able to carry defensively like he used to, and I think
that's what this is all about.
That's not an indictment. That's just facts.
That's
like
100%. That's
it's
like an
an
alibi.
indictment.
Hold on.
It's an indictment because it's a fact.
I don't think it's okay. Sure, you can use the word indictment. I think the issue is Giannis is not the defender he was in previous years. I don't think that's a bad thing though. I think he's getting older. He has to carry more offensive load now.
It's not
than
why
he does
they're
defensive.
not winning.
And
though.
I'm not even done.
Keep going.
I don't think that is. I think it's two things. I think Giannis can be better in some things, but I think overall, I think his team he's who's starting a point guard for them, KPJ right now, like Gary Trent Jr., Gary Harris, Pat Connaughton,
sure.
You know what I mean? Like Kyle Kuzma.
Now Swiper, if I can counter that, well, one of the main reasons why guys drop down in rankings is exactly what you just said. One of the main reasons why he's this way is because of Giannis's ability to defend. Well, one of the main reasons why Jabbar started dropping in the rankings, Jabbar was getting old. He wasn't as fast as he used to be. He didn't rebound like he did. Well, the same logic you're using with Giannis, that's why guys drop off. That's where the indictment comes in.
I think it's a mix of things though with Giannis though. I think it's two things, him personally, but the situation. But I also think if he was playing with OKC, he'd be a much better defender than SGA. And I think offensively he would still be really good as well. So I think it's context on that stuff.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
That's how basketball works. Nobody has the same team as another guy. So if that's the case, then we can't really talk about it if every time somebody's like, oh, well, he doesn't have this guy. You know what I'm saying? It's basketball. This is how it works. You know what I'm saying? But Swiper, to your point, the indictment papers was on the desk for Jokic too until 23. They was finna go out.
Well, they were already out.
So, all right. So why can't we do it for Giannis? It's not a big deal.
And then in
It's not
23,
gonna hurt
he ended up
anybody.
winning, and they got snatched off the table.
Exactly.
I'm not gonna. I want to ask Swiper a question, and then I promise I'm not even gonna respond, so we can finish the list or whatever. But do the Nuggets ever lose a series because of Jokic and what he's doing? Is there anything? Is there any time?
That's a good one, Pastor.
You said because Giannis isn't like carrying defensively.
Defensively, yep.
You added that in the pot. Is there anything ever where Jokic
has lost him a series?
Very important caveat. Real talk.
Lost him a series. I think in 21 was his worst series, but I think the team was decimated. Obviously, I don't think they were beating that Suns team. I think that if he plays better in games 3 and 4, shoots better in games 3 and 4, they win. They go up 3-4, more than likely. So I mean, you could put that on him, but I don't think he's the reason why they lost any series directly. I think he's been clearly the best player in all the series he's played in. But I think in 22 he was outmatched, and they lost to the Warriors 4-1. And then versus the Wolves, he was by far the best player on the team. Murray obviously was hurt.
But you just brought up like Giannis this year had I
think defensively 30? He's not the same player. That's all I said.
But you added that like in the pot of them not. That's why they're not winning, or that's why.
No, I think they need. No. My argument was more so about I think because he's not as good as he was defensively, then they need a better personnel around him to shore up things. That's my whole argument, and they're not doing that. They're trying to with Miles Turner, but I just don't think.
Gotcha.
All right, Chuck. See, ain't no Giannis. Your dog gonna get a hold of you. But all right, y'all. Number 4. So at 1, we got Jokic. At 2, we got SGA. At 3, we got Giannis. Top 10 players of the 2024-25 season. At 4, real talk. Who do you have?
At 4 for the 2024-2025 season.
You can say it.
I have Jason Tatum.
Yes, you can say it.
I have Jason Tatum.
Yes, you can say it.
Mr. Tatum.
I think Jason Tatum had a really good year. I think he had a really good year. I think this is probably his best scoring season of his career. The way he was able to be more aggressive, playing in the mid range, getting downhill. There was games against Cleveland where he attacked Evan Mobley and Jared Allen, which a lot of times where it's just sidestep 3-pointer. I'm not really going to attack you consistently. No, he said, Jared Allen, come here. I'm going to attack you. Evan Mobley, come here. I'm going to attack you. This is his best playmaking season by far, in my opinion. Jason Tatum was great, and obviously what he brings on defense with the switchability and the versatility. Jason Tatum was fantastic this year. He was great.
Right, I don't think this was his best scoring season, but everything else you said, I agree with.
Who do you have, John?
Oh, I got Tatum.
Okay. Mars?
Jason Tatum.
Shout out JT.
Mhm.
Chilltown.
Yes, Jason Tatum. Mhm.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Big Ox.
got
Absolutely.
You have AD?
Yeah, I got AD.
John, I told you if what I saw was going on early in the playoffs, if that would have continued and they would have won, this conversation would have got a lot more interesting, way more interesting. If I would have seen what I was seeing throughout the rest of the playoffs, it would have got a lot more
Hey.
interesting.
I'll be in attendance. I'll be there. I'll watch.
Mhm.
Am I gonna get in that? Hell no.
Mhm.
But hey, you know,
All right. Well, Swiper isn't here, but Jason Tatum has already won the majority vote. So JT, well, Swiper, who you got?
For 4?
Yeah.
How y'all just how many games did Wemby play last year? Did you count?
Wemby
You can count. You can count him
Wemby
if you
counts.
want.
Yeah, I'll take Wemby.
at 4. Wemby at 4.
Nah.
Can you substantiate that, please? Why is Wemby the 4th best season this season? What did Wemby do in 55 games to
I
make
think
him?
Wemby was playing like a very good offensive player, and he's the best defender in the sport.
You thought he was the best defender in the sport?
Yeah.
Interesting.
The Spurs were an elite. The Spurs were an elite team when he played.
That's what I was about to ask you. If he doesn't have the issue that he has, and he ends up playing the whole season, are they a playoff team?
Well, I mean that's contingent on like I mean I don't know. I don't know.
Well,
think they will.
because this is what you're telling me. You're telling me that we got a guy who is elite on offense. Not only is he elite on offense, he's the best defensive player in the game. How many games did
I didn't say elite, but really good offensive season.
So he had a really good offensive season.
Mm-hmm.
And okay, so Joker, what is Joker on offense, Ron?
What do you
In
mean?
your estimation, what is Joker on offense?
Like tiers?
A, B, C, D, F.
Oh,
What is Joker
A+.
on offense? Okay, A+. How about Giannis? What is he on offense?
Giannis is an A+ too.
How about SGA? What is he on offense?
SJ's an A+ too.
Okay, so now we got these 3 guys. What about Jason Tatum on offense? Where is he? In your estimation?
A-.
Okay, A-. So Swiper, you're telling me that all of these guys, I got A's, and then I got one guy who's really good. That sounds like a B+. That's what that sounds like to me. So if he's a B, how does in terms of offense? So does him defensively just clear everybody else?
Chill.
And
Wemby averaged 24, 11, 4, 1, and 3.8 blocks last year.
That doesn't sound like a good offensive player.
And
That
what?
That doesn't sound like a good offensive player. That doesn't.
Wemby, do you think Wemby's a better? Well, I'm gonna ask you this. Do you think he's a better 3-point shooter than Tatum?
No, I don't. No, I don't think that. I think Jason Tatum is better.
So a more accurate. Go ahead.
I think Jason Tatum is better at the long ball line. I think he's better in catch and shoot. I think he's better in transition, catch and shoot. I do think that he's better off the dribble, even though he's not as good as I would like him to be. I think he's off the dribble. I think
Wemby
overall
took
he's a better
8.9 threes per game last year, shot at a higher percentage than Tatum did.
And it's interesting you mentioned that because when if you're doing that, then we got to start doing that with a bunch of other things too. In
like
terms
what?
of scoring, for example. If I average more points than you, I'm a better scorer than you.
No.
So why not?
I was saying I said 3-point shooter. I think Wemby's a better 3-point shooter.
I think we got to like factor in like how many off the dribble shots Tatum's taking. I know Wemby takes a lot, but it's like Tatum takes a lot of off the dribble threes. I'm not saying
12 threes a game, something like that. I think he shoots something like 12.
I think it's like between like 9 and 10, maybe 9 and 10. One of those.
What did Tatum do to you, Swat?
Nothing. I'm just having a basic conversation.
Yeah, that's what we know. We just talking.
I think
better
Tatum,
3-point shooter.
I think this last season, I think Wemby was a better 3-point shooter. But if you're putting in count difficulty, then
he shot 10 threes a game.
I think,
I think
out of the pick and roll,
really
pull up
good
3-point shooting, out of isolation, off the dribble. Like I think Wemby has shown to take off the dribble 3-point shots and catch and shoot threes. I still don't think he's to the level of Tatum though. I think Tatum is just like. I think Tatum's versatility from 3, whether it's off the catch, out of pick and roll, off the dribble, out of isolation, I think his like variance of threes is much harder than what Wemby's taking because in the end of the day, a lot of Wemby threes are not as contested as much as Tatum's are because their main goal is stopping him from getting to the rim. Where it's like Tatum is like, if Tatum catches fire, what are we really going to throw at him? Because he's going to take those threes regardless. So I don't think Wemby's to the level of Tatum just yet as a three-point shooter.
I mean, Wemby, if I'm like even just looking at like a lot of his like his shooting stuff, I mean, he's still like the pull-up shooting, like even just pull-up and transition shooting. Like, I mean, he's just a different type of dude. But you know, sure, you can give it to Tatum. Like, I'm not trying to like make a crazy argument, but I think that Wemby was just had an elite season last year, and so I would probably put him at 4 based on what he was doing.
I mean, Tatum won out the spot anyway. So.
Yeah. All right, y'all. I'm actually going to run a poll right now, chat, and I'm going to ask you guys who had the better season, Wemby or Jason Tatum? In the meantime, y'all know what time it is. We are at the bottom of the hour, which means we are going to get into our crunch time chat segment where you guys' super chats will steer the direction of the show for the next 15 minutes. So let's go ahead and get into it. Y'all make sure you get over to the poll and let me know if Wemby was better than Tatum or if Tatum was better than Wemby. All right, y'all. The first super chat that I got for you is from FlexUp. FlexUp said OKC needs to prioritize keeping Shea, Chet, J-Dub, Dort, Caruso, and they'll be okay.
They want to do that. 100% they want to do that. Will the CBA allow them to do that is the question. And I think that's where the problem is. I don't think the CBA is going to allow them to do that. Remember, SGA just signed his deal $284. Chet just signed his deal $250. J-Dub is up next year. They extended Alex Caruso at what, $90 million, I think, if I'm not mistaken. I think at $90 million. That little bit of money that we think that Wiggins ends up with, that $48 million, I mean, that money is money that's on the books. So I think Lou Dort comes off the books soon too, if I'm not mistaken. So they would love to keep these guys. I don't think that's the question of wanting to keep these guys. I don't think that the CBA is going to allow it though. And it sucks too, because these owners, man, this sucks.
Be True 23 said, did Wemby and AD play so much better than Tatum that it just usurps what Tatum did, considering Tatum played 30 more games than Wemby and 22 more games than AD? I think that has to be taken into account.
Availability does matter.
No, I think Wemby, I mean, we're just doing level of play. I think it's close, but I say I would probably have taken Wemby given the trajectory that he was on through those games. But Tatum was clearly like having one of his best seasons that he's had.
All right. King B said, how do you feel about Steph and Jimmy running it back if Steph doesn't get hurt? Could have been a Western Conference Finals appearance. Also, is getting 34 possible for the Dubs? Yeah.
Oh, no.
34 Kenrich Williams? Is that who?
No, it's 34 in Milwaukee. These fucking Warriors fans. I'm sorry, Mars, this shit gets my blood pressure up. These spoiled, rotten Warriors fans that, yes, we're going to get Giannis. Give me a break. Because you had KD and you had Curry and you had Clay and you had Dre. Let's get Giannis over here too. No, them days are over for you guys. Sick of Warriors.
Respectfully, LeBron James fan, by the way, but we'll keep it pushing.
I think the Warriors have a chance. What's up? That's it. I think the Warriors have a chance. Not of Giannis, but with their roster of competing.
Yes, they do. That part I could get with. We're adding Jimmy Butler. Remember, before they add buckets, are they a playoff team?
No.
I don't think they're making the playoffs, John. I don't.
Yeah, they would have.
I don't think they're making the playoffs.
They would have been in the plan for sure.
Maybe they can get through the play-in and lose to OKC, but that was the best.
What they like 11th, if I'm not mistaken? Were they even a play-in team at that point? I think they were in 11th place. It
was also congested, so like they could have got in, but
yeah, they were just a few games out.
Yeah, it was all it took was a little run, so it was possible. It's just they weren't very good.
Their fall off was crazy because if you remember at the start of the season, they were like one of the best teams in the league.
I remember after the first couple games, they played Portland, the Jazz, and like the Pelicans or something. Yeah, and it was like, the Warriors, they're blowing teams out. Oh my god!
And Buddy Hield was playing out of his mind.
Yeah, and I had to tell everyone about
Mars
the Buddy Hield tackle.
Mars won.
But that Buddy Hield tackle came back around in Game 7 against the Rockets. So I mean, shit, it paid off.
Shout out, Buddy.
Mars warned us. He told us because I remember watching Buddy Hield like, yo, he should have been on the Warriors. Like, why isn't it? And Mars was like, chill, relax, do not buy into this. This is a bad investment, and I'll be damned. That milk went sour real quick.
Nappin Trey said, real talk and a panel. At what point do you make the decision that someone is not only playing bad, but has become a bad player? And are there any examples?
Terry Rozier. Just watch Terry Rozier.
Is there any
I
examples
mean,
like of superstar players or star players or very good all-star level players? But while they're thinking about that, go ahead, real talk.
no, I just think for me, it's not really like a certain amount of games, I guess, per se. It's just like the amount of data for me, like that you're able to collect. If majority of it is good, and then you have a stretch of, some bad, and then I'm also considering like age and injury history and all of that. It's a rabbit hole. But let's say a player is healthy and they're youthful or in their prime or whatever. I'm not going to take a bad stretch of games if I've already determined that this is a good player to switch my entire position to they're a bad player because they had a bad stretch of games. Like, I'm not doing that personally.
That looked like that was what was happening with Klay Thompson at one point.
EB Sports Talk said SGA averaging 30 for 3 straight years and just swept every award. The bias has to stop.
What bias?
Thinking Jokic is better.
Well, I don't think the bias is going to stop, EB. Beto became a YouTube member. Shout out to Beto. And Exclusive Excellent sent through a members chat and said Giannis averaged 30, 12, and 6. He was the better player.
I won't argue that point that he was the better player. I'm not going to argue. I still think.
Well, how are you arguing? Well, I don't. If you think Giannis played better,
no, I said he's the better player. I think he's a better player than SGA. That part I won't argue. No.
John was good. You got something?
There was a super chat. Somebody asked me about Nate Amen. I just wanted to if we had a time for one more.
Yeah, we do. Big Fella Rule said, John D, how do you feel about Nate Amen?
This is my guy in the draft. This is my guy in the draft right now. I really like Nate Amen. He stands at about 6'8", 6'9". He has a really solid handle. He can get to the rim and he plays through contact really well. And he shows a lot of off-ball shooting chops. I haven't really seen much of him. I've seen All-American. I've watched some clips. And he's looked really good. I think he's going to Tennessee. I think he's a name that's going to rise. I think he's a name that's going to rise in the draft process this year. So I'm going to be watching him very closely. He just seems like one of those players that if he's not going to be a star, he doesn't have to have the team. Like, let's say if he goes to a bad team like the Nets, who are trying to bring a guy in that they can really build around. He doesn't necessarily have to have the team built around him. He can be dropped in and be somebody that can attack advantages, play off the ball, shoot really well, get to the free throw line. He's a really good free throw shooter and he has defensive potential. So the only things I would say is like maybe the ball handle doesn't really get to where it needs to be just because I don't really want like guys that are 6'9", 6'8" dribbling the ball as much. But the 3-point shooting and the slashing are really, really intriguing to me.
Where is it? What school does he go to again? So I'm clear.
He's going to be going to Tennessee.
So he's in high school. So he was in high school.
Yeah, he's in high school. He's about to head to Tennessee.
Just by the way,
everyone in next year's draft was in high school this year.
Yeah, mostly. Like you got the labyrinth felines.
Give me a break. That's how the draft works. If you're a one and done, the year before you were drafted, that means you was in high school.
Who's good, Swipe?
By the way, just pull some numbers from Synergy. Apparently, with Tatum and Wemby jump shooting, Tatum was 83rd out of 108 with at least 400 attempts.
Yep.
And
Wemby, surprisingly, I'm surprised, was 84th in jump shooting last year, both with a 49.3 effective field goal percentage, which is
so not a gap at all.
Well, no, I just think Wemby's just like I said. I might be a little too early, so I'm admitting that maybe I am too early, but I think Wemby is just he's on track for some insane.
It's okay, Swiper. You and Penn have set the record straight. That you guys are early on Penn and that everybody up here just is
early on.
Well,
Wemby,
I'm with you guys. Yeah. My bad. Early on Wemby and everybody up here, they're just.
Well, I don't think that's it.
You know?
I don't think that's it. Go ahead. What were you gonna say, Chill?
I was just thinking about what Wemby was doing as a jump shooter because Ox, he had a little bit of satire about Wemby being a two guard in a big man body, because he shot the jump shot. Yeah, because he shot the jump shot the way he did, but. I mean, yeah, I can appreciate Wemby shooting jump shots like he did, but I just thought Jason Tatum was more effective this season as a jump shooter, a lot more effective as a jump shooter, and it led to more wins.
A nonchalant nigga sent through a super chat and said, y'all haven't said one positive thing about Giannis's season yet.
That is not true.
Shaking
We
my
just
head.
talked about him being 30 and 12 for the third straight year on 60%. Chamberlain didn't do that. I can't say that enough. I don't know what y'all want us to do when we talk about these dudes. I do know that you guys are fans of these guys. I'm sorry if I'm getting animated about it, but this shit drives me crazy. Like when we talk about these guys, if we don't talk about your guy as the best guy, we ain't talking about him. Giannis is fucking awesome, and he's been awesome for the last couple of years. But the fact that Giannis and the Milwaukee Bucks have won the NBA championship, that is now the standard. Period. We already know how awesome Giannis is as a bucket getter. We all know that Giannis is a glass cleaner. We also know that Giannis has been an elite defender. That's not the question. The question is where he is now. Giannis has made first team All-Pro 7 times in the last 9 years. We know who Giannis is. Winning is now what the thing is with Giannis, more than anything. That's why he didn't sign the extension before they traded for Damian Lillard. That's it.
He has to
Avery
be in
B.
the position to win. Go ahead. Go ahead.
He does. He does, Ron. And I know we got to keep moving. He does have to be. And Milwaukee is trying to do that. And there's some unfortunate things that happened. Dame got hurt. They traded for Kuz, and it didn't work like I thought it was going to work, right?
Mm-hmm.
They traded Middleton. Okay, so now are we in a position this season with signing Miles Turner, moving KP to now the starting? Did the Milwaukee Bucks get better this season?
Chill. If they got better, they didn't get good enough.
But
Okay.
Ron, the thing about Giannis is, in real talk, maybe I just think Giannis is that good to where I feel like Giannis wakes up every day in the position to win. You know what I'm saying? So maybe, obviously, yeah,
That's like the LeBron treatment.
He wakes up good enough to get into the playoffs, but he don't wake up good enough to just
win a championship is different. Now, when I say win, I don't mean you have to win the championship. I'm just saying be competitive, be a contender. Giannis is good enough to where I think he wakes up every day in the position to be a competitor in the NBA.
Avery B said, I don't know how the best in the history of the game, Angel Reese, at one thing, talking about rebounding, isn't a starter in the league or sucks. We have seen one-dimensional guys make the Hall of Fame before.
Fact. Yeah.
Shout out Angel, the GOAT rebounder.
Yep.
Morpheus. Speaking of the Matrix and Osiris and all of that good stuff, Morpheus sent through a members chat and said, how far are SGA and Jokic carrying that Bucks team? ? Carryability is not a valid indictment on Giannis, in my opinion.
Yes, it is.
Do you think
if you're in the
do
jury, he'll beat the Chargers then, man.
you think the Bucks would have been better with Jokic and not Giannis?
Against the Pacers? No.
No,
They
just over the course of the season and then into the playoffs.
No.
Wouldn't be no defense played on that team.
I mean, if y'all complain about non-spacers in Denver, wait till you get a load of Kyle Kuzma.
So we take Giannis
don't
out the lineup. I want to make sure I'm following you guys. So we take Giannis out the lineup and we put Joker in the lineup with Brook Lopez, with Damian Lillard. And they're not.
Dame and Jokic would work better than Giannis and
It definitely would. It definitely would.
That's what I'm trying to make sure I'm understanding, John D.
Yeah,
What
on
a
offense, it would
fail.
work more.
Yeah,
on defense, it'll work.
On offense.
Yeah, I know
On
defense
offense.
is 17 times worse.
Right.
Yeah,
On defense, it's worse. I'm not going to argue
offensively,
that point. But on offense, I think that they would just be so much better. Way better.
And
And
I think
we
their
get-
starting lineup would be like Dame, KPJ, or Dame, Gary Trent, Torian Prince, Kyle Kuzma, and Jokic. I don't think they would play. I mean, they may play Brook Lopez and Jokic together at times, but I don't think that would be like the full starting lineup.
So they lose in round one. Yay.
Yeah, they would still lose to Indiana.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think it changes any result of their season.
If Dame is healthy with Joker, and Brook Lopez as their rim protector, they still lose to Indiana.
You're playing Jokic and Brook on the court at the same
There is no
time.
possible way you can play Indiana with Dame Jokic and Brook Lopez on the court. You'll give
No
up
way in
180
hell.
points. That's
I
just
mean,
no
Brook
way.
Lopez is Al
That's just not
Horford.
happening. With Kyle Kuzma, yeah, okay. They might get swept. Like that,
Yeah.
they might be worse. I'm like, that team sucks.
I do like that offense a little bit though.
I do. I
think
love it.
Jokic does
I
make
love
guys'
that
life
offense.
easier. But just because I make guys' life easier doesn't take away from the pressure that Giannis puts on defense and what he provides too. Just because you guys don't think Giannis and Dame or Giannis and these other guys are a good fit doesn't mean that they're still not, a good offense, if you will. But all right, y'all. The last super chat that we're gonna get into before we get back to this list is from the Baller Shot Caller 1999, asking, is the CBA exposing the good front offices and the bad ones?
I think so. I think passivity gets you killed. I think over aggression, Bucks gets you killed. I think passivity, Calvin Booth gets you killed.
What is the over aggression of the Milwaukee Bucks?
Dame, Drew throwing just random stuff at it, and then now cut Dame, $23 million a year spread out for 5 years. Sign Miles Turner. I think that's like a little bit of over aggression on their part.
Well, not only that, Swiper, but now I think it puts more pressure on coaching staffs too. Now, coach got to coach. You know what I'm saying? You can't just roll out 6 superstars. Now, coach got to figure out how to make guys that are unplayable playable. You know what I'm saying? So it's good for basketball.
All right, fellas, we are at number 4, or we're actually at number 5. At number 4 was Jason Tatum. At 3 was Giannis. At 2 was SGA. And at the top of the list, we had Jokic. Real talk, I'm coming back to you. Number 5, who you rocking with?
I got Anthony Davis. That's why I have number 5 for this year.
Mm-hmm.
Good job, Nico.
Luca.
Why
Good
Luka
job,
over Anthony Davis, Moss?
Oh man.
Why
I
Luka
wasn't
over
thinking about
Anthony
Anthony Davis. I was thinking between Luca and Wemby. I just went with Luca, but I could go either way. But yeah, Luca.
John D. Take that hat off, John. Take that Laker do-rag off.
To be completely honest, for me it was I have between Luka and KD. I think I'm actually gonna go KD. I'm gonna go KD.
You think KD had a better season than Bron?
Yes. Yeah, I think KD had a better season than Bron.
Bron.
And again, this goes into the Kevin Durant not making
Bron
the
was
playoffs.
hooping wrong. You're not tripping. You're not tripping.
Yeah, like what?
Bron.
Yes, Bron.
No, this is not me
last
trying to
year?
discredit Bron.
Yes.
This is not. Here he go with the.
Hey
with
man, they were losing his minutes.
Exactly. I think Kevin Durant throughout all 82 was a very good scorer. Like again, 27 points per game on 64%
Good
true shooting.
defender.
And he was the Suns' best defender in my opinion, or at least top 2, top 3. Like he was a positive defender
He was
throughout
top
the
one.
season.
He was top one.
He was one of the best scorers in the league throughout the entire season. I just think we sometimes, like, once again, LeBron had a great season, but sometimes we ignore how low the floor was for LeBron during the regular season and how high the ceiling was. But I'm saying, like, we've seen multiple floors throughout the season.
For 2 weeks around Christmas, he was celebrating with.
But there was multiple
Bronny.
times throughout the season where he just was not able to get to the rim consistently. He was not the best shooter, and he wasn't the best on defense. KD was a better scorer and defender than LeBron this season. It's not saying LeBron is bad or LeBron is not still a top 10 to 11 player in the league. I just think Kevin Durant has been more consistent throughout the year, and that's why I have him above guys like Luka, Steph, and Bron. I think Kevin Durant gave it to you throughout the entire season. He gave you a floor as a scorer. He gave you a floor as a defender, and he's still a solid playmaker. He's not to the level of Bron, but I still think he's a solid playmaker. When you have somebody that can play in the in-between game, play at the elbow, play at the post, be hyper efficient, can be a help side rim protector, and blow up actions throughout the course of the season, that's really effective and that's really valuable. So I had him at 5.
I'm sorry, John, for the KD pushback. I just hate how he disappears at times, you know.
When?
Nice.
Oh, that.
Nice.
But chill, who you got?
I got Anthony Davis. He was on his way to playing 90% of the games before he got hurt. Right before the Luka trade, he had only missed 4 games. They were disconnected defensively, and I don't think that was because of Anthony Davis. I do think that Anthony Davis was still good. I still think he was elite as a defender. I just don't think that they were on the same page. As a bucket getter, I think that he was fantastic. In addition to that, the Lakers were treading water. because they were treading water, it wasn't because of Anthony Davis. I just think that he, as a connecting passer, he as a box player last season, he as a bucket getter, his finish, his touch around the rim was still elite. He still was a damn good mid-range jump shooter. I think he was playing at a top 5 level last year. I couldn't disagree more with KD or Luka. Luka had missed up until he got traded. He had missed. He was on pace to miss half the season before he got traded.
All right, Swiper.
Wemby. I feel like we're misremembering where we were last year. Wemby was going to make first team All NBA going away, I think, last year. And
AD played one more game than Luka.
yeah, he played 51 games.
And you telling me about available? Okay.
Who's
I
that
just
for?
think
He's
AD
on track to play
played better
9% of
than
the
Luka
games.
last year.
That's
honestly.
fine.
Before he got hurt in Dallas.
Before Luka got hurt, he was
Before
on
he
track.
Before he got hurt.
Obviously, everyone's on track to play before they get hurt. That's not even-
man. But
that's not a statement of anything.
Almost half the season is over, though, Mars. What are you talking
When
about?
someone says AD's on track to play 9% of the games before he gets hurt,
100%.
and then I take the initiative, how many games did AD actually play? And he played one more game than Luka, and you're criticizing Luka for availability. What sense does that make?
It makes more sense because he played half the season. That's why.
But so did Luka.
So how much of the season did Anthony Davis play?
Well, Mars,
He
isn't
got
it,
traded.
Mars? To
He
your
got
point,
hurt when
Mars.
he got traded. That's
But
what
Mars,
happened.
to your point, isn't everybody on track to play 100% of their games until they get
That's
hurt?
my point. The statement of AD was on track to play this many games before he got hurt is true of every single player who's ever missed the game. Joel Embiid, when he came back from his injury, he was on track to play every game until he missed the next one. What kind of statement is that? Zion, before he got hurt, was on track to play every game. And then he got hurt. Oh, he wasn't on track
When did
anymore.
he get hurt?
That means
When did
nothing.
when did he get hurt, Mars?
You tell me, when did AD get
Okay,
hurt?
so Anthony Davis got hurt right after the Luka trade.
Mm.
Half the season was already over.
It was
He
February.
January the 30th was when it happened. actually.
January 30th?
Yeah, he got hurt and then he got traded
But
and
he
then
was
got hurt again.
Once again, so before he got hurt, he was on track to playing 90% and
But
got
Luka
traded.
played,
He was
they
already-
played the same amount of games, though, Chill. So why
But
would that make a difference?
Okay, this is what the difference is that Luka got hurt early and it affected not only Dallas.
Oh,
but
you're saying because AD was already playing, then got hurt.
he was already playing at that level. Luka,
I guess
So
I
was
see
Luka,
what you're
though.
saying.
when Luka was when Luka got to the Lakers and he was
Before
rolling.
Luka got hurt, he was
Yeah,
on
he
track
was
to play
balling.
100% of the games.
Give me a break with this, man.
He's played the first 13 games of the season, then got hurt. He was on track.
Yep.
He was on track.
And then
Then he
Anthony
just- he got
Davis,
hurt.
but Anthony Davis played more.
One more.
No,
One more
he
game.
played more games before he
But,
got
but
hurt.
we're doing the totality of the year. I'm confused. Why
Yeah,
would
but
why
during
is
the
that?
season, and you're telling me before they both got AD got hurt for the first time after Luka. But the question is the season. So if I played from October to January and then missed the rest of the year, and meanwhile the other player plays from October to November, misses some time, and then comes back in February, we played the same amount of games. What point does it mean that someone else got hurt later? You played the same amount of games as me. We played the same amount of games.
They ended up missing the playoffs because Anthony Davis got hurt. That's what point. That's the point. Right
That
there.
hurts his case even more.
No, it
The
doesn't.
Lakers,
And
the
here's
Lakers
why.
moved to the 3
No,
seed
it
with
doesn't.
Luka, though.
And-
So Luka plays to close the season. The Lakers shoot up the standings
Right.
because he's available and playing. AD is hurt. Dallas missed the playoffs, and you're saying that helps AD's case?
The reason why it helps his case because he was on a different team, Mars. He got traded. So he gets a-
The team that he was on was better. They made
The
the
team that he
same
was on-
team was they just got Najee Marshall and
Yep.
Klay Thompson. They
Yep.
were just made the finals. That team was a
100%.
better team than that Lakers team. He goes to the Lakers
I'm
team.
not gonna let
Hold
y'all
on.
get that point off, though.
Overtakes for
disingenuous.
the best player on the team, which was Anthony Davis. Luka gets there. They shoot from where they were to the 3 seed with Luka. So Luka helped them to become a top 4 seed in the Western Conference.
Disingenuous. How
It
y'all
is
are
disingenuous.
discussing them.
Yeah,
but
it is.
how
because
y'all
it
are
wasn't like
discussing
Luka
them
was
on the
just
Lakers
balling
is
when he got
disingenuous.
there. He wasn't. And don't sit there and tell me, you two guys, don't sit there and tell me like
Balling.
Luka
He was
just
playing
lights
well
out.
though. Still, he wasn't making his 2-pointer. We had conversation about this for
This
a long
conversation
time.
is about
Luka
He was
was
making his
Luka
jump.
was
That's
not
what
great
Mars
when he
come back.
and
It's
y'all
not about
Marvel
great,
guys.
but
Marvel
I'm
was
comparing
bad.
the season.
No.
The-
What
the-
Mars is
Luka,
comparing
wait, hold
is
on.
the
Are y'all
availability.
saying
That's
that
what
Luka
Mars is
didn't
comparing. No,
to
I'm not
help the
saying that.
Lakers.
No,
move to the
nobody,
three seed?
nobody is
I'm not-
saying.
I'm
But
not arguing
first
that.
off, because we've said this about the Western Conference over and over again, how the Western Conference was all jumble piled up. So using the shout up to the 3 seed when we were probably only a few games out of it to begin with is disingenuous, in my opinion. Also, using the fact that we weren't there in the beginning half of the season, knowing what JJ Redick was doing, trying to have switch everything defensive schemes when that's not our defensive personnel. JJ got better as the season went along. So that's where the wins and the improvement of the team came from. It wasn't just because we swapped out AD and
But
Luka.
Luka helped
Because
that.
mind you, if you remember, there were a stretch of games even before that trade deadline. We had started playing very good basketball, and we had started getting like those best defense in the league for these stretch of games when AD was still on the team, because
That was
again,
going on.
JJ had adjusted what he was doing.
No,
And then
I
AD
very
just
went
saying that
down,
they
and
were
then some of
better
it
with
still
Luka
stayed
was
around.
like, no, that's
The
not
reason
it.
I brought up the Lakers going up the standings was because Chill brought up the Dallas Mavericks missing the playoffs because AD went down. That's the only reason I brought up the fact that the Lakers went up the standings. That doesn't even mean anything to me. My issue started with the idea of AD was due to play 90% of the games, and then come to find out he played just as many games as Luka. That's an insane context, man. But if we are just looking at what they both did this season, we have to evaluate them based on how they played. If you think AD played better than
I
Luka,
think he did.
that's fine.
That's
That's
I
fine.
think- I think he
Telling
did.
me it's because of availability is insane.
I think
That's
he
my
played-
disagreement.
Okay,
Fair.
100%, and I get that, and that's fair. I think that with AD, and I'm not going to harp on this, but I think AD, before he got traded, because AD's issue was his availability in the past, but he was on pace to play 90% of the games, and he was playing really well. Luka at that point, before the trade, had missed a lot of time. With him missing a lot of time, he wasn't as good, I don't think, and I think that that was because of availability. That's all I'm saying when it comes to Anthony Davis.
Well, you walk by Wemby here, but Wemby was a like minus 1,000 favorite to win DPOY by this point before he got the blood clot stuff.
Sure.
And then, like I said, offensively, like his numbers and AD's numbers are the exact same: 24, 11, and 3, like the exact same. Why do you put AD above Victor Wembanyama in this list?
If it's the same, why are you so definitive that Wemby's over AD?
Because I think he was a better defensive player by like a good bit last season.
Was he a better defensive player or a better rim protector?
Better defensive
Both.
player.
Both. He was a better defensive player because of the rim protection. Well, in large part because of the rim protection.
Because I think Anthony Davis was better on the ball last season than Wemby was. I think he was better as a post defender than Wemby was last season. I think Wemby was a better rim protector, and I do think that there was a gap. I'm not going to argue that point, but I think that Anthony Davis was better than what Wemby was. And that's a tough question to answer. Fuck. Because I could say the same thing. If I'm going to do that, Swipe, I could say the same thing. We were having this conversation about Cat. I could say the same thing about him. Because Cat and Wemby, we were having a conversation about these guys at one point, both being first-team All-Pro guys. That was going on. So to answer your question about Anthony Davis, I just think that Anthony Davis on the defensive side of the ball, even though Wemby's rim protection was better, and I'm not going to argue that point, I just think Anthony Davis in the post and on the ball, plus the ways that he was scoring, I think that they were better than what Wemby was doing.
All right, Swiper, you got Wemby still? All right, Big Ox, who you got?
AD.
All right, Anthony Davis is 5th on our list of best players or players having the best season in 2025.
Mm-hmm.
If John D is going to bring up the lows for LeBron, which is fair, like, and I know Swiper probably wants to do it with AD as well. Wemby was not like this elite player for the entirety of the games that he played. That is not true.
Absolutely.
He struggled.
no.
And
The offense,
he struggled.
The offense was very inconsistent. Well, was inconsistent.
Yeah, I think the problem was when he
aggression
got
is
the ball at the elbow, he just put the ball on the floor way too much. Like that led to a lot of turnovers because he wasn't able to attack the mismatches to the level that you would want an Evan Mobley to do. And I think that just comes
teams
with,
figured out the wing thing too. Just don't put a
Mm-hmm.
big
Yeah,
put a wing on
exactly.
him.
They put like Dylan Brooks on him. I know in the first game, Clay was guarding him multiple times, and they were just swarming the ball the second he put it on the floor. And then towards later, before he got hurt, he started just like, okay, I'm gonna take it, swing through. Maybe not even that at times. I'm just gonna take it, keep it high, and shoot from there. And then again, that's still a really good counter. But again, like how many times do you really want Wemby just taking contested elbow shots instead of getting all the way downhill to the rim? That's why I would think that's a lot of the reason why the 3-point volume went up. But as a roller, as a lob threat, I think he got a lot better. But the offense was inconsistent. And that's why I said, like, in the playoffs, I don't think he would have been that effective as a scorer because he
would have been on his 3-point variance. You're like,
exactly.
Yeah, if the 3 ball was going in, we would have been very much praising Wemby, but it would have been
That's why I went with Luka over Wemby. I also think missing the playoffs not having anything to go off of can help you when it comes to these types of conversations.
Absolutely.
Because you can theorize, he would have done this in the playoffs, and there's no evidence to prove it. So it's when you don't see Wemby struggle in the playoffs, you can just say, if he would have done his regular season stuff in the playoffs, what are we talking about? It's like, based on the flaws I've seen in the regular season, I'm with John D. I don't think the offense would have been seamless. God forbid he was the 8th seed and went against OKC.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It would have been conversations.
He would have been. Wemby's not better than this.
Wemby had a 6-point.
It would have been bad. So
Wemby had a 6-point game versus OKC this year, in 27 minutes. So he's strong.
And I can also use Mars's theory to expand on that. When the way that Anthony Davis first looked when he got to Dallas, had he not gotten hurt, what were they looking at? Yeah. What if we keep that thing going? We having a way different conversation about Anthony Davis.
Facts. I mean,
it was the first half.
AD was playing fantastic basketball.
He was awesome. He was 100% awesome.
No, AD was really good. I mean, we're talking about the top 10 guys in the league. AD was really good last
year.
Yeah. He just wouldn't be my fifth spot. He just wouldn't be my 5th spot or my 6th spot or my 7th spot. But he was really good.
All right, well, shout out AD. And also chat. Y'all need to tighten up. We see what y'all doing right now. And y'all just can raise y'all level of play right now. This is disgusting. We're talking about bronze lows. We don't got time to talk about the chat's lows right now, but y'all step your game up. All right, Anthony Davis is 5th. Jokic, SGA, Giannis, Tatum. Now Anthony Davis. 6th, real talk. Who are you rocking with?
You can say it, yo. It's cool.
I got LeBron, but I know I'm gonna lose out on this vote. The basketball I was watching LeBron play, when we initially, it was when AD went down and it was him and Austin running the team. LeBron was hooping out of his mind and he was defending well, and he pretty much defended well for the entirety of the season after we got Luke and his offensive responsibility kind of dropped. I think he had a phenomenal season this year.
Then they win like 8 straight games at one point, and they ended up shooting up the standings. And like we having conversations about James being first team All Pro.
Yeah, we had them conversations. He was in the conversation.
Yeah, he was in the MVP conversation for the show.
Yeah. What, LeBron was better than Anthony Edwards to you?
I'm having a hard time ranking Ant because I do think that Ant stresses defenses more than a lot of players right now, even though I may think the other player is better than him. So as far as impact on the game, I think Ant is very, very, very high. But better player? No.
Better player who played better this season.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
Okay.
No.
Y'all remember when we did our first teams, and that was a big conversation between Brian and Ant?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, Mars, who you got?
Ox had Braun, I remember. I don't know if I want to stick with Luka. It's between Luka, Wemby, and KD. I know Swiper's going with Wemby, so maybe I just team up with Swiper. But I know John D's going with KD. I'll go with Wemby.
I wish Wemby didn't get a blood clot, so he just would have had a first team All NBA.
I'll go with Wemby. Yeah, I'll go with Wemby.
Would have just been a perfect top 5.
Chilltown.
Luka.
Who you got?
Luka.
The time.
I would have known he
See?
would have done that.
Swiper.
Wimb.
Ox.
Bron.
So John D's the tiebreaker, right?
Hey, John D has left the building.
Who was that in the back?
Oh, damn. Ah, damn. John D did leave the building. Damn. So Ron, you the tiebreaker. Wemby.
There ain't no tiebreaker. LeBron got 2.
So did Wemby.
Who got background?
Yeah, who was that?
Yeah, who got the background TV on?
So only when they install the shingle line.
That ain't me.
That's me, but I will break the tie and y'all. The king remains the king, y'all.
Ron's so nasty, yo.
The king remains the king.
Ron can be so nasty.
I think AD and Bron 5 and 6 is bad, but
especially considering.
But Morris,
Considering what?
I do think during Wemby's limited amount of time, he did play better than Bron, but Bron played more.
okay.
Like this
If
one's
that's- if
actually
that-
valid.
That's
to
how
say
you're
that.
separating it. That's fine. Yeah. I'm fine with it. How many games did Bron play? 7. Yeah, I'm fine with that. If you want to say like,
I was gonna say, hopefully not one
Yeah.
more.
yeah, if
I
you want to say
traded my
Bron
ass
provided
kicked
more
up here.
value in terms of cumulative, I'm fine with that.
Man, it's crazy. Wemby, me a top 4 player by year 2. I didn't think I had Braun there in 2004. That's crazy.
It was a different league, Swiper. It was a much different
You're trying to
league.
raise.
And year
I
2?
also don't have Wemby there. I just want to make top 4
so-
player.
Well, I thought Wemby was he was either low. I feel like for you, lowest he would have been 5 though. if
Okay,
he
it's
was
top
played the whole year.
top 4
Well,
player
I
and
think
having a
Wemby
top
was
4
going to make the
season.
All NBA first team, but I don't think that means he's the 5th best player in the league.
Yeah,
I think
that's
he
what
had
I'm saying.
I think he had a top 5 season last year.
Okay,
You don't
it's
think he had
Regular
top 5?
season, yeah,
Okay,
That's,
sure.
that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
yeah, I'm
Okay.
fine with that. Yeah,
that's what we.
We're not including playoffs, obviously, for honestly for any of these. I don't think.
if you were in the playoffs, I'm including what you did in the playoffs.
I mean, let me,
That was part of the
hush.
season.
I know. Let me hush.
Hush.
All right, we're moving on to 7. We're gonna go around the room again. Real talk. We starting with you once again. Who do you have at 7 after LeBron?
I'm getting tired of this goddamn criticism of the list shit. Hey, let me see y'all list then.
There is not.
This was
There is
so
not.
we can- we can nitpick it to hell.
Yeah, there is not.
So we can
It's
nitpick
not.
it to hell. Let me see your list. I
Real
wanna
talk,
see
the-
your-
the chat-
That's
the
what
chat
happens.
don't-
We're always wrong, but then they don't actually say their lists.
Exactly. What's your list? If we always so wrong,
Right.
what is your list? Put
Well-
your list in the comments after the episode over. Yeah.
Oh, you gonna start
Let's see your
critiquing
list.
everyone?
I will be reading every single one and telling you why they're wrong. And I hope every
Get a job.
panelist over here do it as well. Now,
Well, real talk.
I
The,
will
pro-
read
the,
the
pro-
comments.
the, pro-
Number
the
one.
problem, real quick, real talk is that the chat doesn't understand that when you have 6 or 7 people trying to make a list, it can't come out like the way you expect it to. We all have different things we value and different
Exactly.
shit. So I think that's the beauty of Player's Choice list. I think it's kind of dope personally, but people are just uncomfortable with certain.
Yeah,
things,
you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna read the comments and I'm gonna group 6 lists together and make a cumulative list of those 6 and say that's you guys' list. And once you guys start getting annoyed that I'm grouping you with a bunch of people, I'm gonna take Duke's list, I'm gonna group it in with Mo's list, and all of a sudden, when you start having your name attached to a list, you're gonna start realizing, oh damn, that's crazy. Yeah, that's what we gotta go through. I don't agree with everything on the list. Ox don't agree with everything on the list. Real Talk don't agree with everything on the list, but our name's gonna be attached to the list. So
And I'm
yeah, I'm gonna
fine
do the
with
same
I
to
stopped
you
agreeing
guys.
at 4, so
Yeah, and I'm fine.
I
With
stopped
okay.
agreeing at 5. Yeah, I stopped agreeing at 5. So
we're on 7. Give me I'll say KD right here.
do you just not
who did you say at 7?
Kevin
KD.
Durant?
I got KD.
Ron, can I
All
see
right.
that list again? One more time, Ron.
Wemby didn't make the list yet, Mars.
Neither
Yeah, I
did
know,
Luka.
but I don't think Wemby's gonna get 3 votes. There's a
Neither
chance
did Luka.
KD does.
Do you think? Never mind.
Well, I told you my 5th spot was between Luka, Wemby, and KD. So as long as they make it in at some point, I'm gonna be cool. I'm trying to get them all on the list, so I have to think strategically.
I feel that.
Mhm.
So KD.
All right, chill. Who you rocking with?
Luka.
All right, 1 for Luka, 2 for KD. Swiper, who you got?
The first team All NBA player that's not on the list, Victor Wembanyama of Paris, France.
You mean the first team
Volley,
All-NBA
volley,
player
volley.
who did not make first team All NBA?
Ox is on you.
Yeah, the blood clot,
Okay.
like a life change.
Got you.
Chat, this might come down to y'all, depending on Ox.
Mhm.
Was KD not like a first team all NBA caliber player until
Not
like
all
He
Wemby.
played. He played.
He
He
did.
played.
He was
close
great. He was
to that
good. He
level,
was really
but
good.
I think Wemby
Yeah.
would have made it ahead of.
Yeah, KD was better than Braun for me. For
but
sure.
that's because like their team went to shit.
no,
Yeah.
but no.
But I also
think
think Wemby was playing at being the best defender in the league and playing at that defensive level holds a lot of weight. When you're playing at Wemby's level, that holds a lot of weight, in my opinion.
We used
Hey,
to say
real
everybody
talk.
was better than AD when he was.
I don't got Wemby as high as y'all do.
don't
But
either.
I used to
shooting
be
guard.
very high on AD when I think he was playing like the best defender in the league.
we're at 7. All right.
Seven,
You,
yeah,
yes,
we're at
you.
seven.
Because
you
my
were.
because
It
my
wasn't.
because my number 8 is obvious. Number 7 is Kevin Durant.
That's why I picked strategically. Yeah.
Number 7 is Kevin Durant.
Swiper, I'm
All
with
right.
you now. I'm seeing eye to eye with you now.
About time.
Kevin Durant is. Let me go ahead and put this on the screen so y'all can see it. Kevin Durant is right behind Braun. How fitting.
We can't
All right.
negotiate KD moving up.
Well, let's get to the 10 first. Then we'll
Okay,
see
that
how
makes
it
sense.
goes
That makes sense.
then.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
Well, Ron,
Yes.
given the playoffs included, since we're doing that, is Hallie going to make this at any point for you?
If
Hell
someone brings
no.
him up. If
Top
someone brings
10.
him up.
No. How is that
Yeah.
possible?
Why? Are you including? The
I
playoffs?
go Wemby next. I go Wemby next. I go Wemby.
I'm
Swiper,
saying,
because
I'm saying
you're
Wemby for
you're the
8.
only one, Swiper, that ranks the playoffs as 99% of the season.
I didn't, because if I did,
well, Wemby made it, Ron, because me, Real Talk, and Swiper have Wemby just to save time. Wemby made it at 8.
Well, let's get
Well,
everybody.
you don't know what Chill, Ox, and me are gonna do yet.
Oh, now you're involved. Well,
You
You
Chill's
never
gonna
know.
say
You never know.
Luka.
Real talk.
Chill
Real talk
got
might
Luka.
split this vote.
No, I
Chill
don't.
got Luka.
No, I got Wemby.
Now-
Oh,
now that- now
okay,
that
now
I'm-
you don't have Luka. Okay,
now
my
that
fault,
I'm
my fault,
thinking
Chill.
about
Luka
it.
should not be on this list, y'all. Let's be real.
I'm not super high on Luka this
Yeah,
year.
now
at
that I-
all.
now that I
I'm
think
not.
about it.
I'm not as high,
you
but
shouldn't be
Luka-
top 10.
No,
I feel like
It's so
we're
like
doing
10th.
Do you
I
think?
feel
wait,
like we're
Luka-
doing. I feel like we're doing a thing where someone underperforms their
Yeah,
lofty
Luka.
standards,
Wait,
so
Luka
we
was
hold
clearly
them
better than
further
LeBron
down.
last year, though.
Like
wanna-
Luka,
that's
like Luka
true.
falling
Really?
below his
I
standards.
want to
for
say
playing
this.
better
He was,
than most
I
he was
people.
better than
I don't-
LeBron last year.
I don't think
Nah,
Luka was
that's more-
clearly better
more-
than LeBron.
LeBron
Mars,
was a
we can-
primary
that can
offensive
happen,
player,
Mars.
and he was a better offensive player than
I
that guy.
think
think-
Luka had a bad Luka year.
Right.
I think Luka still
Right.
played better than the names I'm hearing right now.
Okay.
Did Luka
That's
play
where
better
the
than-
Which
disagreement
name?
is.
Which
Like,
names? 'Cause I sincerely
LeBron
don't think
James. I
Luka
think
was-
Luka played
Yeah, I
better
don't-
than Braun.
I think
I don't
Luka
think,
played.
like-
I mean, I think Braun played better
I
than Luka this year.
No,
Yeah,
we're
like, we
doing this.
disagree. Like, I'm
Luka
fine with
was
it.
the best
I'm
player
fine
on the
with it. We
floor in the
disagree.
playoffs, bro. What are
All right,
we
let's vote.
doing?
Let's vote. Let's vote. Wait, Chill. Who you got? You the one. You the one that we know who they got.
So real talk. You got Wemby.
Yeah, I got Wemby.
Mars
Oh,
stated
shit.
you got
I got
Wemby.
Wemby, yeah.
Swiper, you stated that you had Wemby this whole time. Ox, who you got?
I think it's time we get real and we talk about 2019 and 6. I mean, 2014 and 6. I think it's about time we talk about 2014 and 6. I think it's about that time. I was just waiting for number 8 to get there. Let's talk about dominance. Let's talk about leading in triple doubles.
So basically, just don't ask
double
you
doubles.
until,
No,
next
no,
episode.
Ron. Ask
when
me
we do
because I'm gonna keep
15
it
through
real.
25 or 10 through
That's
25.
fine if that's how you feel, but I'm still gonna speak my piece, and we're gonna talk about dominance. That's my pick.
All right.
Next.
Well, I guess we just pencil in Wemby then.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead. Who you got, Chill?
Are we at number 8?
Yeah.
Donovan Mitchell.
What?
Donovan Mitchell.
Man, get Chill with Chill out of here. Oh my God, Chill with Chill is cooked. I'm sorry, y'all.
Wait,
We into the league and you niggas talk about Sabonis and Donovan Mitchell? Can
what
we get
number?
real?
What number are we on?
Please. God
Hey,
damn, we
Wemby
on
made it,
8.
right?
Wait, Anthony
trying to have
Edwards.
a good
Mars,
list.
has Anthony Edwards been named?
No.
We're trying to have
He
a
was
good
next.
list.
He was actually next for me.
Ron, I'm sorry that we know ball, and we're not just gonna
I
go
got-
off what
so
ESPN
Wem- so
tells us.
Wemby's
to go
at
off.
8. So
Read the
Wemby's
chat.
at 8.
I haven't even
So
read
Wemby's
the
at
chat
eight.
yet.
Yeah,
No,
Wemby's
wait,
at
hold on,
I know
because
y'all
go
get smoked right now in the
to
chat.
I
the
don't
go
give
to
a
the panel,
damn what the
please.
chat is doing.
Go to the
Oh,
panel,
my
please. Ron, Chill. Who
Wemby's
played
at
better?
8.
Come
Yeah,
on.
Chill. Who played better, Victor Wembanyama or Donovan Mitchell last year?
For the time that Donovan
No,
Mitchell
no,
played, Donovan Mitchell played better.
I don't even think Donovan Mitchell played better than Evan Mobley.
No,
Like,
it's no way that you're
I
having
need
this
to
much of
see
an
what you
emotional
guys are
reaction to
seeing.
Donovan Mitchell.
Well, DeMontis is just insane. I think
Yeah, I
DeMontis
don't
was
get
so
it.
insane that
we're just a year
we're
old.
not
Fine.
even
I know.
reacting to that.
That's fine if y'all feel that way. Y'all know I don't care. I'm saying I got
of
DeMontis.
course.
Well, that's why we don't debate with you about it. Like we know Chill cares about this, and so we're having a
No, I
conversation.
care
with him.
about it,
but not enough to actually change your opinion.
I actually watched DeMontis Sabonis play basketball.
too.
So we can move on. Right?
I said, remember, I've been defending his defense this year.
We're on 9.
I don't got
his
time
defense this year. I'm on your side.
Who do you have at 9? Real talk.
You guys mentioned Donovan Mitchell and Sabonis. We haven't talked about Steph yet. We haven't talked about
Jalen
Carl
Brunson.
Anthony Towns.
We'll get to that.
You just talking about
Getting to them.
We'll get to
getting
that 9. We have 25 minutes.
We're at 9. Okay.
Yeah,
real talk. Who do you have
We
at
haven't
9?
even talked
I
about
got
Cade
Ant.
Cunningham yet.
For a reason. Real talk. Who do you
What?
have?
got
Bro,
Ant.
see, that's
I got
the shit.
Ant at
Okay,
9.
you got Ant.
26-9. 26-9.
All right, Real Talk has
DeMarcus
An.
didn't
Real
even
Talk
make
has
the
An.
playoffs.
I have Steph.
Oh yeah,
The
and we
Kings
ain't talking
didn't make the
about Ant yet.
playoffs. De'Aaron sold us. Bro, stop with this shit. You just
ain't talking about
hold on.
Do I have Steph?
Because you just had such
Do
a
you,
crazy
Mars?
emotional reaction to Donovan Mitchell, and then you said Cade Cunningham.
Do you, Mars?
Cade Cunningham played better than
Come
Sabonis.
on, bro. That's see. You're not
Cade-
even listening. You're not even listening. You just want to react.
Steph wasn't better than
What I
Brunson
just
this
said.
year,
What I just
so-
said
Wasn't
was
better
I'm
than
not
Donovan
doing that.
Mitchell.
I'm
you
not
had
doing that.
you had such an emotional reaction
He
to
wasn't better than
Donovan
Donovan
Mitchell,
Mitchell
and
neither.
then you gonna say
Steph
we ain't
and
talking about
Luka.
Cade Cunningham.
Yeah, and what were the other
Hold
4
on,
names
what?
I said before that? I said Steph. I
What?
said
You
Cat.
said Cade Cunningham,
I said
and you over here crying.
Cade was top.
I got Ant too. I got Ant too.
Cade was number 3.
I'm gonna go with
Cade
Ant.
was number 3 in the league in assists.
Nigga, get out of here with
Or
that
number
shit.
4 in the league in assists, and he was top 7 in scoring. What?
Oh my god, you niggas, man, y'all fucking pissed.
What?
I got Ant.
And he
So me
balled
and Real
out in
Talk
the
have
playoffs.
Ant.
Like Cade Cunningham's better than Donovan Mitchell.
He might not be, but he in that tier.
So how come you had such an emotional reaction to Donovan Mitchell?
What about the other 4 names I
No
mentioned?
reason, bro. For
What
no
about
reason.
the other 4 names I mentioned?
Oh, bro, that's
What about the other
terrible.
4 names I mentioned? Nothing.
Terrible.
Crickets.
Terrible. Because
Mars.
they deserve to be talked about.
Mhm.
And so
And we
does
will talk
DeMontis.
about this.
And
We
so
keep
does
Cade
DeMontis.
Cunningham out.
Jalen
Okay.
Brunson
Cade
over
Cunningham
Steph
out,
Curry.
though, like, it's
All right.
crazy.
Me
Yeah,
and Real
Yes,
Talk.
2014 and 6 deserve to be talked about. Yes.
All right,
they
we'll
does.
see. Hey, we'll see when he comes on the list. All right, you
I'm
and
Me
gonna
Real
see
Talk.
when
and
he
me
come on
and
the
me and
list.
Real
I'ma
Talk
keep
have
on
Anthony
going.
Edwards. Me and Real Talk have Anthony
That's where I
Edwards.
was
All right.
between Anthony
Anthony
Edwards and
Edwards.
Donovan Mitchell. At Eddie, and I said Donovan Mitchell.
I mean, this list got Anthony Edwards should be, he's here, but he should be higher on this list because there's somebody up here that's occupying a spot.
That James thing is fucking with you, isn't it, Swiper?
It's like I got a something stuck in my side. I'm trying to pull it out. I feel uncomfortable. It's like a real talk. Like, your shirt's too tight. You can't move around.
That's you
Trying to
that buy
adjust
them tight shirts. I don't.
This is
All right,
actually
chill. Who you?
large,
Chill. Who you got?
extra large.
I had Donovan. Well, wait a minute. So who did we have? Did we settle on
this-
somebody?
This is what it's
So
looking
we
like right
settled.
now.
So we settled on Wemby.
Yeah. Well, we
Okay,
didn't
so we
settle on
settled
Wemby. Wemby got
Okay,
the
so
vote.
Wemby is the guy. All right. So it was between Donovan Mitchell and Anthony Edwards at this point. And
What about
No.
it was between Donovan Mitchell, Anthony Edwards, and KD. Cat had an awesome season.
KD's made it already, so
Yeah, KD's already off the list. So who had the better season between Donovan Mitchell and Anthony Edwards? The shot creation.
who was a better
I think
offensive
we would-
player? Just to start.
Donovan Mitchell is a better.
Oh, no. Who was a better offensive player last year? Is what I'm asking.
Donovan Mitchell was a better offensive player.
So he was a worse shooter than a volume shooter. Like they're both volume shooters. One of them was a better volume shooter than the other, and
Right.
one's a better driver.
Is he a better driver? Are you sure about that?
Yeah, I think that's pretty.
Okay, and I think Donovan Mitchell's pretty awesome
Did
too.
we watch the playoffs
Again,
though? You know what I mean? Like Anthony Edwards was.
I watched Donovan
Hey,
Mitchell
real talk.
against
What
the
was Ant
Indiana.
doing to the Lakers?
If I'm not mistaken, can we have some recollection
I don't
that
recall.
Donovan Mitchell was averaging 40 a game almost against Indiana?
Who?
And then it went down to 34.
D. Mitchell.
Yeah. So okay, I'm sorry, Moss. In the
Everybody, they didn't.
31.
Everybody ate versus Indiana.
And I can very well.
Not as much as
Yeah,
you missed.
Shane
Wait.
is not-
Swiper is the one who talks about the playoffs. Can we not sit here and say that Is it not fair to say that Julius Randle might have been the best player in that Warriors series? Can we not say that Julius Randle
fair.
wasn't the best player in that Lakers series? Can we not say
No,
that?
not in the Lakers series. In the Warriors series, yes. Lakers
The Warriors series,
no.
yes. The Lakers series.
Okay,
no.
so and I don't think in any of those playoff series, Donovan Mitchell wasn't the best player. I don't think in any of them. I think Donovan Mitchell was the best player in all of those.
Well,
We
to
had
be
that
fair,
stretch
the other players
we-
were hurt on the roster that
we-
were
we-
with him. You know,
Yeah, that's part of it. But and availability matters. He was there. The fact that you're not there, that's a problem. So
yeah,
with
Evan
that-
Mobley and Garland, yeah.
yeah, that's a big deal. I'm not going to argue that point. But the point that I am going to argue is that I was there, and while I was there in the playoffs, while I was there in the regular
But
season,
he wasn't better than Anthony Edwards, though.
Even though I had that stinker, when we went out on the West Coast road trip. Up until that point, I think he was awesome.
I think Ant's still gonna make it at 9, right? Because he's got 3 votes.
I don't know.
Yeah, I got
Chill,
Donovan. I got
who you
Donovan Mitchell. I got Donovan
All
Mitchell
right.
at 9.
All right, Swiper, who you got?
Can I see the list again? I'm sorry. Wemby's at 8. That who was?
Yeah, Wemby's at 8.
Yeah,
Wemby's at 8.
yeah.
All right, let me look at my personal list.
KD's at
Yeah, so I have Anthony Edwards right here.
Yeah, so Ant
All
did
right.
make it. Okay.
How did James get on this list, yo?
Real talk.
By balling.
Well,
That's how
I
he
think
got on
I
the
think
list.
LeBron in the top 10 is valid. I just think LeBron at 6 was a bit of a reach.
That's where I was at. Like, I'm not saying that he's not a top 10. Like, how did he get there?
I think if we just move 5 and 6 down, I actually think the list is quite reasonable. But
AD should be 4.
I wish I saw
Alright,
the
so you
80
got-
you guys saw this year.
I got dominance. I got 2014 and 6.
All right. Anthony Edwards is number 9.
Mm-hmm.
Would Cade be here if we just were doing all no injuries included?
Cade does not go ahead of Cade.
No, injuries included. I'm saying like we took the players that didn't make
Yo,
the All NBA cut.
I'm sorry. Cade had a better season than Donovan Mitchell. Now y'all can say
I
better
don't think
player
Donovan
to say-
Mitchell should be
to
on the
say-
list.
No.
so
I'm not talking about where they should be at. We'll get to where we'll find out where they should be at. What I'm saying is, if we're just talking about season,
Yes.
Cade Cunningham scored at a better clip, assisted at a way better clip, and he on top of that, he had more, like, if you put a percentage to what he did for his
Carryability.
team, more carryability for his team. He dragged that damn team into the playoffs. A team that was trash last
Respect
year.
Tobias Harris. All right. Hold on,
It
wait.
was more carryability than Donovan Mitchell.
What
but
about Jalen?
yeah.
Jalen Brunson?
Way
though?
more.
We think Jalen
Jalen
Brunson.
Brunson's not even better than J-Dub, so no.
Who-
Yeah.
Who said that?
Ball knowers, man. At 10, I got Steph.
All right.
Man,
Steph
this
at
is
10 for
tough.
Mars.
Jalen Brunson, chill. You don't. I mean, Steph. I'm good with Steph too, but like
Was Jalen Brunson better than Cat this year?
Yes.
towards the end of the year, Cat was better through like January. and
That's
then
what
once-
I thought. I thought
then-
that like around February, I think that there was a separation between him and
Penn
Jalen
said
Brunson.
what? J Dub is better than Jalen Brunson.
And Scottie Barnes better than Jalen Brunson, too.
we don't
Yeah.
care. We're not. Come on,
Mhm.
bro. No offense. No, I'm not trying to do that. I got
Brunson.
Luca at 10. By the way,
Luke is not going to be on the list. Oh, my God.
Again, we're not talking about the top. Oh my God, this is. We're talking about top 10 players, and we're talking about the seasons that they had. That we're not talking about them as players. Luka would be much higher on this list if we were just talking about players.
Yeah, I think it's wrong regardless that Luke is not on the list. That's what I'm saying. If it was just players, period,
I'm
Luke would
making
be in
my
the
own
top
list,
5.
chat.
But yeah, I think it would just be
my list.
wrong that Luke
Yeah.
is. I'm seeing LeBron at 6 and Luke is at 11. Like, that just doesn't make sense to me.
And how was LeBron
AD
at all
at
better
5
than
and
Luka
Luka's
this
at
season?
12.
Like I just
Like, okay.
I'm so confused by that. Like even through December, and then when Luka got on the Lakers, he was the best player on the Lakers, but he's the second best player on his team on the list.
you say
Yeah, I'm gonna
What-
pick
what
Luka
I-
because I feel like if Luka's not on the list, that's more egregious. So I'm gonna go with Luka.
I'm picking.
But
Luka.
what I've kind of like learned
No, I'm
about
gonna go
Luka
with Steph
though.
because if Luka doesn't make the list, we can just say
you can
we ain't playing
explain
enough games. We
No,
didn't
whoa, whoa, whoa,
include
whoa,
him.
whoa, whoa, whoa.
We can have the cop out of we didn't include him. Whereas if he's at
Mars.
10, it looks unforgivable. I'm going with Steph. I got Steph.
Mars,
I got
we
Steph.
can explain Steph because he's older. That's how we can explain. We can't explain Luka.
Or he just played
Nah,
better.
he only played 50 games. Steph played 20 more games. So Luka just didn't count because you have to play more than 50 games to be on the list. That's how Anthony Davis managed to make it because he played 51. But if you didn't play more than 50, the same way the Nuggets haven't beaten a team that's won more than 50 wins in the playoffs, same thing. That's the same. That's the caveat we have to
Little
apply.
Nuggets
You had to play.
I like
But then how did Wemby make the list?
That's a fact.
Well, Every inch over 7 foot counts as a game played. So because Wemby's 7'4", we're gonna add that to the games he played, and we're gonna be like, well, technically, there you go. So that's how we're gonna do it. So I got Steph. That's what it is. I got
Chill.
Steph.
Who you got?
Luka.
So now you want to take Luka and not Donovan Mitchell?
Yeah. Even though I'm having a difficult time with the first team.
Who do you think played better last year?
Between Luka and Donovan Mitchell?
Sure, this isn't even a discussion, dog.
What?
Because
why isn't it a discussion, Ron?
How did Donovan Mitchell play better than Evan Mobley?
Okay. How did he play better
Or
than
Darius Garland?
Yes, how did he play better than, in your opinion,
I don't know,
the
this
best
nigga gonna
defender
make
in the
top
league?
20, chill.
How did Donovan Mitchell play better than the best defender in the league with the offense that Evan Mobley provided? How did he play better than him, in your opinion?
Because a lot of that offense that he got was created from Donovan Mitchell. That's number one. Number two,
actually Darius Garland.
I don't agree with that statement.
I do. Well, I think
Well,
a
obviously,
lot
Real
of,
talk,
said
did
it.
you
I
watch
hope you
Darius this
agree
year?
with yourself.
a lot of that offense that was generated for Evan Mobley was because of
I'm
Donovan
with you.
Mitchell.
Like
I
D
think
Mitch
that-
is the best player on that team.
I think D Mitch is better than Mobley.
Yeah, I'm
I don't think
trying
he
to
played better than Mobley last
I
year.
was trying to explain
But
to Mars what
carry
to
on.
give Mars the acceptable answer that he's looking for. Again, I think a lot of Evan Mobley's offense was created because of Donovan Mitchell. I think he was their best playmaker. I do think that he was their best scorer on the perimeter as a defender. I do think that he gave them more value than you guys give him credit for. I think he was their best scorer in the clutch. I think he was their best overall player in terms of playing. I'm not just talking about skill set. I'm talking about overall playing, getting downhill, getting to the rim, creating shots for other people. His pull-up jump shot, not just his pull-up jump shot, his finish, his ability to finish at the rim, him getting guys involved in the game like he did last year. He had that stretch during that Western Conference road trip where he was bad, and they suffered because of that. Evan Mobley couldn't do anything about that. Donovan Mitchell sucked, they sucked. So when he was good, they were good. So when I think about who was playing the best on that team, it was Donovan Mitchell, which would explain why he was first team All-Pro.
But
Well,
Darius,
he was first team All-Pro because he's known as the best player on the team.
Darius
so they have to
Garland
give him
was the
credit.
best offensive
I think
player
Darius
of that team
Garland
last
was
year,
clearly
though.
their best playmaker and clearly their best clutch scorer. So I disagree with those two statements. Evan Mobley being the best defender on the team, that goes without saying. We all agree with that. You think he's the best defender in the league, which I think should hold more value. Now, in terms of his offense was predicated on Donovan Mitchell, I think part of that is true because as a big, you are going to play off your guards. So that part, sure, part of it. I also think the biggest difference and why I disagree with how much you're attributing to Donovan Mitchell is because of Evan Mobley's ability to push the break off rebounds, attack mismatches, all of that growth that he showed this year was huge. And then I look at his double big partnership with Jarrett Allen, the playmaking, the passing that he's providing in a high-low action, all of that was extremely valuable. So when I'm looking at the Cavs, in my opinion, this season, I want to make it clear, I think Donovan Mitchell is the Cavs' best player. But this season, I think Evan Mobley was their most impactful player from beginning to end. When I factor in the defensive end, the offensive growth, how much he unlocked for them offensively, allowing guys like Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland to get off the ball more because of how much he improved as an on-ball decision maker, ball handler, scorer, all of those things, really expanded the offense, allowed guys to play off the ball, all of that stuff. And then I think Darius Garland's offensive contributions are being drastically understated. He was easily the best playmaker on the team. I don't know how you can come to the conclusion that Donovan Mitchell was
No,
the best playmaker. I don't understand
chill.
how that conclusion
Chill.
can
Did you
be
not hear me
attained.
all year? Their offense was contingent on Darius Garland. Like
First
every
of all,
lineup with Darius Garland was the best offensive lineup that they had.
Was it
Like,
every one of them.
what
is it? Was it as consistent as Donovan Mitchell? Number one.
Yes,
Number
yes. Darius Garland was damn near a 50, 40, 90 player last year.
Yes, he was. At that point, I'm not going to
I
argue.
wouldn't define Donovan Mitchell this season as consistent.
Well, it's crazy that you say that too, because when I said that I thought that Evan Mobley was going to make the All-Pro team, you guys jumped on me like I was crazy.
Yeah, I didn't anticipate the growth offensively.
But
It's
this
not my
is in the
fault.
middle of the season when I said this, when Donovan Mitchell was still doing work.
Yeah,
When
you said they
Donovan
was going to
Mitchell
have three
balling.
All-Pros. That's what you said. You said they was
No,
going to
I
have
said
three.
they were going to have. I said that they were.
You said Garland, Mitchell, and Mobley.
All-Stars. I didn't say All-Pros. I didn't say All-Pros.
You said
No, I
4
didn't.
All-Stars
I
because
said
you included
4
Jarrett
All-Stars,
Allen.
100%.
Yeah, and you said 3 All-Pros.
I don't remember saying that these 3 guys were going to be All-Pros. I don't think I said that. But I did say.
Maybe
Mobley
you
was
didn't.
gonna
I
be an
don't want to
All-Pro.
quote you because I'm not.
Well,
I'm
but with that being said, Donovan Mitchell, with the fact that he said earlier this year, not earlier this year, he just said not too long ago, Evan Mobley, you need to ask for the basketball more. So with that growth that you're talking about, Donovan Mitchell still was the one getting the ball out in transition. Donovan Mitchell still was the one feeding these guys the basketball. Donovan Mitchell still was the one creating offense, just like Darius Garland was creating offense for Donovan Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell was creating offense for him too. I don't think he was clearly their best playmaker because, again, when you talk about playmaking, I talk about getting to the rim, kicking out the ball to other guys. I talk about getting to the rim, finishing around the rim. I talk about on defense, being in the passing lanes and getting steals, not just getting steals, being a disruptor. I think about on both sides of the basketball. I think Darius Garland was a good playmaker. I think Donovan Mitchell was their best.
No, but I'm saying literally, there's no way to argue that for me when one was clearly the main operator of an elite of the best offense in the league. He was the best offensive player on the best offense. He was the best passer, best playmaker. And to Marge's point, he was more efficient. He averaged 21 a game last year, whatever it was. Like he was at least a top 3 clutch player of the year last year. The dude was, again, a 50, 40, 90 player. He was the one that was making the engine go with their offense. He was good in ISO. He was good in pick and roll. He was good in getting to the rim. He was a good driver. He had a great floater. He was good in the midi last year.
We're not doing this.
No, there's no not doing this. I'm saying all
season long, I was saying Mobley was playing better than everyone.
I said this.
I want to make it abundantly clear because we had this debate all season long. Swiper was saying Garland was the Cavs' best player, and I was saying Evan Mobley had been their best player. We haven't switched up. All year long, I've been saying
Evan Mobley was too.
Yeah, all year long, I've been saying Evan Mobley has been the Cavs' best player.
You came around later on, Mars. It wasn't.
Well, yeah, I thought Mitchell was their best player going into the year. But during the year, I said Evan Mobley's been their best player. That's what I've been saying.
We're just talking about playing better. And there was a time throughout the course of the season that you weren't sure. I never wavered.
It wasn't about Donovan Mitchell. It was going to be about Darius Garland. I think Donovan Mitchell is closer to that third best player this season.
Been the D-Mitch people. And yeah.
Absolutely, yeah.
Swiper has been saying the Darius Garland stuff all year. Mars has been talking about Evan Mobley. My only pushback to what y'all are saying is like, okay, so what do you want? Like, what do you want Donovan Mitchell to do?
I don't get it.
You want him to impede on the progress Darius Garland is making as a player.
I have no problem with Donovan Mitchell being. I have no problem with Donovan Mitchell being the second. What do you mean? What do I want him to do? If the Cavs are at their best and Donovan Mitchell's playing the second best on the team, why would I care? You guys want him to be the best player on the team so bad.
No,
if they're best player on the team is. If they're best, if they're the NBA, if they're a 64-win team, and I think Mobley's playing the best on the team, I don't care if Donovan Mitchell. If they do the same thing next year,
on the team.
I think he is the best player on the team. Yes, and I think that's because of his skill set and how that translates to the playoffs. And alongside Evan Mobley being hurt in the playoffs, I never got to see him fully maximized. Sure, but this season they were the best offense in the NBA. They were a 64-win team. And I think Evan Mobley was their best player during the regular season.
Offense in the game, by the way.
I don't care that Donovan Mitchell wasn't. It doesn't make any difference to me. If they win 64 games and Jarrett Allen is their best player during the regular season, I would say Jarrett Allen was their best player. It's not what do I want Donovan Mitchell to do. But I don't care if he's not the best player on the team.
And to your point, Mars, I don't want Donovan Mitchell to be the best player on the team. I don't want Luka to be the best player on the team. But that's the way it is. I think Donovan Mitchell is the best player on the team.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
And that's where I am with that. With that being said, to your point, the best offense in the league, the best pick and dive offense in the league. That did enhance Mobley's game because how much better.
I think that's more because of Garland than Mitchell. I think Garland's a better pick and roll player than Donovan Mitchell, in my opinion. Garland was a more consistent offensive player than Donovan Mitchell, in my opinion, this season. That's where the disconnect is. I think Donovan Mitchell's skill set is why he's a better player than Garland and Mobley. But this season, the way the Cavs played, what I watched from beginning to end, I think Mobley was their most consistent, impactful, best performer during the season. I don't think that's a bad thing about Donovan Mitchell. I think he had it's crazy. I think he had one of his worst years of his prime, in my opinion. But the Cavs were at their best, and that doesn't mean that, you need Donovan Mitchell to play worse for the Cavs to be maximized. I'm not making that statement. I think if Donovan Mitchell has a year that he's more capable of having, where he's a better three-point shooter, where he makes better decisions with the ball in his hands, the Cavs will get even better. But this season, I think they were great, and I think we have to attribute that to Donovan Mitchell because, hey, Donovan Mitchell... I just don't think that's what the case was this year. I don't think they were the best team in the league because of Donovan Mitchell, but I don't think it matters that they weren't the best team in the league because of Donovan Mitchell.
So you think he was like the third reason why they were as good as they were?
No, I think because I think Garland was a very, very clear negative on defense. I think Mobley was their best player this season. Donovan Mitchell was their second best player. Garland was their third best player. So that's where I stand on it.
Right.
But I'm fine with Donovan Mitchell being 1, Garland being 2, Mobley being 3, and switch whatever you want. My issue is I don't know how Donovan Mitchell can be a top 10 player, and I can't. And Mobley's name isn't even being brought up. Like, I refuse to believe the gap was that large this
They
season.
both shouldn't be here.
Yeah, I
That's
don't
what
have
I'm
to-
saying. Neither one of them are top 10.
This is a party that they were not.
Mitchell and
invited to.
Mobley are closer to each other than they both are to the top 10. That's the
broken to the
that's the
party.
statement I'm making.
Where is Evan Mobley? Because this is so again, this is what we're gonna do in the future now. What we're gonna do in the future is when we got two guys who, in your estimation, are close, right? Are
Yes,
close
Mitchell and Mobley are close to me.
So
yes.
Mitch and Mobley are close in terms of players. So in the future, we're gonna do the same thing when we have guys who are playing at the level. Because you don't think that these guys with Evan Mobley are playing at that level. You think he's close to Donovan Mitchell as an overall player.
Yes.
Okay, so with that being said, in the future, when Luka is playing at the same level as, I don't know, James, for example, those two guys are going to be, or in the future, if Tyrese Halliburton is playing at the same level as Nembhard, these two guys are going to be talked about in the same realm. Are we doing that?
On this list, yeah. If the list is
Okay,
who played better this season, if Halliburton and Nembhard play at the same
when I
level,
think about a guy,
yes.
Because when I think about a guy being a first-team All-NBA performer, which is the first time that's ever happened in his career, that's never happened.
He
And
never
it
would have
didn't-
made it if
and
I
it-
was
and-
voting.
and it didn't happen. And it didn't happen just because he was on the best team in the Eastern
It
Conference.
did happen. It happened
I
in
think
large
that's
part because he was
entirely
on the
the
number
reason.
one seed in the Eastern
I think that's
Conference.
entirely
Yes,
the
he
reason
did.
why that happened.
So
Chill.
why didn't
They-
it happen? Why didn't it happen 4 years ago in 2021
In
when
the
they had
Western
best record
Conference?
in the Western Conference, which was
They
Because
did
the
only
Devin Booker-
64 games.
Stop,
They did only
Swiper.
64
He
games.
didn't let-
Devin
he
Booker
didn't-
did. That's the Devin Booker year. Is that
Stop,
Devin Booker
Swiper.
year?
He
For
didn't
context?
just make. He did not only just make first team All NBA. He didn't make any of the All League teams.
Is that the Devin
None of
Booker
them.
year? Someone confirm that for me.
None of them.
I don't know
In
who was all
2021.
NBA. Yeah, I'll check.
The year that Rudy Gobert was the defensive player of the year. He didn't make any of the All-Pro teams. This is their best scorer, their second best distributor, and their third best rebounder. He didn't make any of them. None of them.
Who made first team All League?
So the idea that he's making
That was
first team
Stephen Luca. So he
Yeah,
obviously
so he
wasn't
wasn't.
gonna make it.
Wait a minute.
Obviously.
Whoa, Mars. Hold on. Wait a minute.
And
Mark, is this the same Steph Curry that was averaging 32 points a game?
Yeah, it was Steph and Luca. So he obviously had no chance of first team. Second team was Chris Paul, first year in Phoenix, and Dame. He obviously wasn't making second.
And wait, Chris Paul finished fourth in MVP voting that year, mind you.
I believe so. Yeah.
And
then
Dame averaged 30
third team, this is where he had the chance. It was Kyrie in Brooklyn, but this is Kyrie 50, 40, 90, 27 points per game, Kyrie. But so he obviously wasn't going to make it above Kyrie, let's be honest. But then Bradley Beal was the 30-point per game guy who made the third team. Maybe he had a case over Bradley Beal. Cool. But that wasn't a 64-win team. That was the number one seed. But the Cavs were a 64-win team, best offense in NBA history.
In his own
It's
conference
very
with
different.
Steph
It's
and
not just
Luka.
one seed versus one seed.
Wait a
It's not
minute.
the
Chill.
same
You think
thing.
he should have made it over Steph or Luka that year? Chill. No, chill. Steph was an 8 seed that year.
Swiper,
You
wanna
think
put
he
me on
should
the
have made it
grill?
over?
Stop, Swiper.
No,
Stop,
I'm asking.
Swiper.
I'm asking.
No,
You
no,
think
no,
he should have
no,
made it
no,
over
no.
Steph that year?
This
That's
is
not what he was saying. He was saying
but I'm
because
saying-
he was.
No,
He
no,
was
no,
saying
right here.
Donovan Mitchell
Right
didn't
here.
make it
He was
theory.
using
That's
the
what he
one
said.
seed. He
I
wasn't
know,
saying
I
he was
know.
No, I
saying-
was using how good the Cavs
Exactly.
were.
I'm
They're
agreeing.
not
I'm
just the one
agreeing, but I'm
seed.
saying, but like, just because
That
you're
was
the number one
minimizing how
seed,
much better they were.
why would that be? That season, there was no one for him to make it over. This year, I think if Victor Wembanyama was healthy this year, he wouldn't have made it. If Embiid was healthy, he wouldn't have made it.
Anthony Edwards.
He wouldn't have happened.
Anthony Edwards
You
was
said what?
healthy. Anthony Edwards was healthy. So he basically made it about the
I
four.
think Anthony
Okay,
Edwards should have
I got
made
it. Okay,
I
all right.
had him.
I got it, guys. I got it. Donovan Mitchell, he did it by default. I got it. Okay, Ron, we can move on. I got it. I'm good.
He did it because his
I got
team was a
I got
64-win
it.
team.
I got it.
Yes.
As
I'm
of
taking
right now,
I'm taking Donovan Mitchell. I'm taking Donovan Mitchell off it. He shouldn't be on this. I'm good. My fault. I apologize.
This is the list,
Good
yo.
work, guys.
So now we have to get back into it. I'm gonna need. We've done some talking. Maybe people are rearranging what they got going on. Mars
Who's not
got
on the list?
Steph.
Jalen
Real
Brunson?
talk. As of right now, Jalen Brunson's not there. Luka's still not there. Steph isn't there, and Donovan Mitchell isn't there. Apparently,
I got
Well, he's factually
I got Luka.
all right. Chill.
Bad
Are you
pick,
sticking
Luka.
with Donovan Mitchell?
No, I'm not sticking with Donovan Mitchell.
Chill. You can stick with your guns. Ox
No,
can
I'm
stick with his
not.
guns.
No, I'm not. Because I gotta listen to you dudes jump on me about a dude who's planning. Swipe, this ain't funny. It really ain't. This shit is not funny because I got to listen to you dudes talk to me about when guys perform on great teams and they're the best player on great teams, that enhances whatever it is that they do in terms of accolades. And I got a guy like Donovan Mitchell who now did the same thing, but because he did the same thing, because this guy got hurt, all of it is by default. That's bullshit. But
I don't
you know
think
what?
SGA should have won MVP, and he had the
But
best
you know
record in the
what?
league.
Y'all got it.
No,
Y'all
we're-
got
we're
it.
dis-
No,
we're
no,
disagreeing.
Steve. No,
We're-
this is what I was talking about
we're-
yesterday, G.
We're,
You can't let
we're
these dudes knock you
disagreeing
off
with the
your pivot.
assertion that
Y'all
he's the
got
best player on
Y'all
the
got it.
team.
I'm straight.
You can't
Y'all
let
got
these
it.
dudes knock you
You
off
can't
your
just
pivot.
throw that out there when that's
I
not
still
what the
think that.
disagreement is.
I still
That's not what the
think that.
disagreement is. Yeah, but that's
We're
not what
talking-
that's not what me and Swiper are saying.
the
Though. You can't say
disagreement
you
is-
guys are saying this when that's not what we're saying.
What are you
If
saying?
if we thought Donovan Mitchell was the best player on the Cavs this year, you'd have a leg to stand on. We are disagreeing with that statement. We are disagreeing with the statement Donovan Mitchell was the Cavs' best player this season. That's the statement we're disagreeing with. The first team All NBA stuff, we're saying he made it because the Cavs were a 64-win team, so they had to credit someone, and they're crediting Donovan Mitchell, who's known as the best player on the team. But we are saying not only did Donovan Mitchell not deserve to be first team All NBA based on his performance,
He's in the same
Donovan
room.
Mitchell wasn't the best player on the Cavs this
Yeah,
season.
But I've been
He's in the
saying this
same-
since
he's in the-
February,
he's in
though,
the-
Chill.
he's
That
in the-
I
he's in
thought
the
Garland
same-
was
right,
better.
Like,
right.
this isn't a new
he's
revelation.
in the same
We've been
season.
arguing it for 4 months.
So where is Evan Mobley as a player in the NBA today?
He's a top 20 player. I don't know
So that's
where.
what
He's
Donovan
in the
Mitchell
top
is.
20
So
somewhere.
let's say anywhere
Yeah,
between
Donovan
like
Mitchell's
what?
a top 20 player.
So
And they
Donovan
both might
Mitchell-
not make 20.
So
I disagree with that.
So Donovan Mitchell is like 17 and Mobley is like 19. Is that fair?
Well, I don't know. I don't know. They might be in the top 15. I don't have a list, but they're in the top. I know for certain they're both in the top 20. I know that for certain. Maybe that's 19 and 20. Maybe that's 15 and 17. Maybe that's 13 and 17. I don't know where they stand. I know they're both in the top 20.
So
We'll
be
see
clear,
soon.
a guy-
We're getting back to this on Friday, so we will see soon.
Yeah. So I just very
still
quickly.
think- I
just
think Donovan, I'm standing on it. I think Donovan Mitchell is a top 10 player in the game. I think he played at a top 10 level this season that just passed. But clearly he got it by default. So y'all got it. Y'all got it.
Yes.
So who are you going with then?
Has Luka been already picked?
No.
I said Luka. No, you can say
Luka
Luka.
it is. Luka it is. Fine. It's
Swiper?
Luka.
Swapper, you've been campaigning for Luka this whole time. You might as well.
Oh, I already have him on my list. I have Jalen Brunson's also off this list too. Real talk. So I feel torn. Can I put both of them next to each other?
Yeah,
No,
we
that's not how that
can't we
works.
can't split a vote.
So you
Swiper,
guys are like Steph
unless
at
you
like
can convince
12?
Chill
Wow.
to take.
Well, Steph too. I mean, they're all. But I'm saying they're all Mars. I have 3 players that are on this
Steph
list.
was
a lot of
better than
top 10
LeBron to
players.
y'all.
Yes. There's a lot of top 10 players in the league.
Mhm.
All right, who's the one that's highest that it's not on my list? I'm going with Jalen Brunson. I'll put Jalen Brunson on there.
I think that's a good pick as well.
My dog. Shout out JB.
Now I gotta go with Jada.
Chat, y'all win.
Who you?
Y'all got it.
You still got your bonus?
Y'all got it.
As much as I want to go with my GOAT Kawhi, I'm gonna stick with dominance.
All right.
I forgot
So,
about Kawhi.
Kawhi played 47 games this year too, right? I was right, right? So,
37.
No, he played
37.
37. My bad.
plus, I mean, we're adding playoffs in here too. You could, throw a little playoff.
Swipe. If you would have played
Sprinkles
47,
on
he'd be on this list.
He had an argument.
He's that much better than Luka.
This is where we are when dudes is barely playing half the season. They still top 10 players. Yo, y'all dudes is gonna give me a stroke.
You
on
put
that.
I didn't say
Didn't you
Kawhi.
put AD
Chill.
at 5?
I didn't say Kawhi. Chill. I
You
didn't
put
say Kawhi.
AD at 5.
Y'all dudes
You
gonna do
don't
that.
get to do that today.
Yes, I do.
You
get
put
to do that
Anthony
because
Davis
he
at
played
5.
Way more than Kawhi
You
Leonard.
put
You don't have
Anthony
Kawhi on the
Davis
list.
at
Kawhi's
5.
not on the list.
You do
Kawhi's
not
not on
get
the
to
list.
do that
100%
today.
do that. Yes, I do.
No,
Kawhi's
you
not on
do
the
not,
list.
sir.
Because Kawhi
You
Leonard
do
has
not get to do
Kawhi
that.
is not
You
on the
put
list.
Anthony Davis at 5. You don't get to do that. You don't get to do that today.
I will do it.
Unfortunately, you
Anthony
cannot
Davis.
do that today.
Yes, I do.
Because
Anthony
not
Davis
only
is
did you
on
say
the
Anthony Davis is top 10, you said he's top 5. So you do not get to say guys barely playing half the season can be top 10 when guys barely playing more than half the season can be top 5 in your mind. You don't get to do that today. I'm sorry. We're not letting that one slide. If you're going to let AD be top 5, you can't complain that guys playing half the season being top 10. You can't do that. You can't do that.
And I
You
am
can't
doing
do
it.
that.
Yeah,
No,
I
you
am
don't.
doing it.
Why then you're being a hypocrite.
Wait.
Then
To
you're
be
being a
fair,
hypocrite.
to be
Then you're
fair,
being a
wait,
hypocrite.
stop,
Then you're
wait.
being a
To be
hypocrite.
fair, no, it's not. To me, there is a big difference. There is a difference. It's a gap.
A
between
14
playing
game difference. There's a 14
51
game difference.
games in 38
Yeah, there's a
games.
14
But nobody's
game
putting
difference.
Kawhi on the list.
There's
I thought he
also a
played
gap
47.
between being 5th and being 10th. Is there not?
I think we're arguing for no reason, Mark. I think we're arguing for no reason. There's nobody
Nobody's
put
putting
Nobody's putting Kawhi on the
I don't
list.
think it's a big gap.
Nope.
But
Nobody put Kawhi on the
And
list.
Kawhi ain't even make it.
That's
And he
what
still
I'm saying.
complained about it. But
I
AD
think-
did make it.
All I did was ask how many games did he play. That's literally all I said. That's all I said.
So look, I think y'all are caught up in the trying to cook Chill thing, and I think Chill.
No, I'm caught up on the hypocrisy. That's what I'm caught.
Right, and that's cool. Whatever. That's cool. I could dig it. What I'm saying though is that I didn't put Kawhi on the list. I merely just said his name to show some love. That's my GOAT. I would have put him on the list if he would have played. if he would have played anything more than 45 games, I would have been saying Kawhi since 5. He didn't. I'm not saying his name. I just wanted to show him some love.
Well, if you factor in the playoffs, 44 games.
Well,
Right,
not a
but
playoff.
I'm not. But I'm not
Factored in a
going to do
little bit,
that.
but it's
What
still-
I am going to do is stand on my nuts and pick dominance for number 10. I'm picking 2014 and 6. That's what I'm picking.
And also, I do want to shout out 26, 9, and 6.
I'm not the only one up here that say wow shit.
And dragging
I'm
his team to the
one always up
playoffs.
there with
Oh, you talking about Cade?
So,
Yeah,
let's
Cade.
go.
I would take Luka over Cade at 10. Brunson and Steph, I consider it. Cade would probably get 11 for me. I'm not going to. That season,
Yeah, I'm not
he
as
did,
high on Cade. I'm not as high on Cade as you.
I think we're really over. And a lot of it is, you could say a lot of it is numbers. Cool, whatever. 26 and 9 and 6 is incredible. And I'm the best player on the 5th seed. Clearly.
6 seed.
6 seed, okay, 6 seed, clearly. And I pushed the Knicks to 6 games. And a lot of people say, oh, the turnovers.
Yeah,
he was
it could have been
balling.
7 if they ain't called out. Called that foul.
Hey, he was balling. And then chill. I mean, and this isn't a straight at you or anything, but I'm just saying, like,
Yes, it is.
bringing up
Yes,
Donovan
it is.
Mitchell. We
Yes,
bringing up Donovan Mitchell.
Yes, it is.
Cool. This is all I'm gonna say. Darius Garland, Evan Mobley, Jared Allen, Malik Beasley, Tobias Harris, Jalen Durant.
Run those stats one time.
But see, this is what I'm saying about Donovan
What do you
Mitchell.
have?
Like, it's like
20,
we're penalizing
26,
him because
9,
his other
and 6.
teammates
I'm
are
not
doing
penalizing
other
Donovan
things.
Mitchell.
Like,
Yeah,
come on,
that's
y'all.
Ron. I just want to make that clear.
Come on,
Ron
y'all.
is doing that. Ron is
Well,
doing that.
Yeah, don't put me in that.
I just think
I'm
it
strictly
was
saying
a-
I don't think Donovan Mitchell played as a top 10 player this year.
I don't
that's
either.
what I'm saying.
I've been on Darius Garland for months.
But
so I
I'm
feel like I
not
should
saying
be-
Donovan Mitchell didn't because he has all this help. I just don't think Donovan Mitchell played.
No,
as
I'm not using that to penalize Donovan Mitchell. I'm using that to boost up Cade Cunningham.
You're doing both.
I guess.
simultaneously.
26, 9, and 6 is cool, but I think
It's
2014 and
ridiculous.
6 is pretty ridiculous too. Especially when a lot of
I agree. And I dove on you when you first mentioned Dominant Sabonis. I did, but those were incredible numbers.
DeMontis was
Yeah,
better on defense this year too.
He had a hell of a season.
Agreed.
A hell of a season. If Foxy don't sell us the way he did, we go to the playoffs.
Chill.
So
What
who
are you
came? So
upset
wait. So
about?
who came 10th? Was it Luka? Did Luka come 10th?
Yeah, here's the
I
list.
think so.
Probably so.
See, and this is my issue. This is why I tried to get Steph on the list because having Luka at 10
Boy,
is
DeMontis
worse
is
than
good.
not having Luka on the list because that means Luka was eligible to be in the top 5, and we just kept him down here. It's
Don't
like
know KD
I'd rather
ain't
have
on
someone
the
I'd rather someone leave Bill Russell off their top 10 than put him at 10. You get what I'm saying?
Well, no,
I
Mark,
do- I
maybe
do-
maybe
I get what
missing
you're saying,
missing the
but I'm
games.
just-
Missing those games dropped him from top 5 to top 10, mate.
Well,
Then I
Mark
see who's at number 5.
But and his
that's
level
my
of
issue.
play.
I can't tolerate
I hear
AD
you.
at
I hear
5
you.
and Luka at 10. Like that's not
No,
computers.
But see, my
Luka
thing is, I
wasn't-
think Anthony
Luka
Davis
was
is better
not
than Luka.
good. Luka was not like all that great last year. He wasn't. Luka was
I
not
don't
all
think
that
so
great
either.
last year, bro.
Luka was not all that great for Luka standards. I agree.
No, just
That's just not fair, man.
I-
swear, that's just so not
I watch
fair.
a lot of
Just because
Luka. I
you-
probably
just
watch
because
more
you
Luka over
weren't
here than a
awesome.
lot of people.
Just because you weren't awesome
Go
for
ahead,
your
Jim.
standards and somebody played great does not still mean you better. That doesn't mean that. And that's what
I
we're
don't know
doing
which
with
player you're
Luka.
talking about. I don't know what
Luka!
you're talking about. What?
Just
Wait,
because
what?
you didn't play up to your standards and somebody was awesome does not mean that you're still better than them that year. That's not the way that works.
But what
Because
I'm saying is,
because what we're doing
Luka's
with Luka-
standard is so high.
Right,
Him
and that's
falling
the
below
problem.
his standard is still higher than someone else
No,
playing
no,
above their
that's not
standard.
works because what you're telling me
Luke,
is
if
that-
I tell you,
Wait a
if
minute,
I tell you,
wait,
if Luka Doncic, if Jalen Green was Luka Doncic, if Jalen Green did the exact same thing Luka did this year, you would put him in the top 10 easy.
We're not talking about
You
Jalen
would.
Green. The reason why we're not talking about Jalen Green, because Jalen
You're
Green
missing
is
my
not at
point.
the level. We're not.
You're missing my point. You're
Yes,
missing
no,
my
I'm not missing your point.
Okay,
Because
what was my point? What was my
Your
point?
point is that I would put
Let him
Jalen
get
Green,
his
who
point
I'm
off.
high on. I would put Jalen Green, who I'm high on, if he had the same season as Luka, next to Luka. No, I'm not. You know why? Because Jalen Green is not at the level of a top 10 player like the rest of these guys. So, if
But then
Luka,
that's not the point of the list. The point was who played the best this year.
well,
That's the point of the list.
And the point of the list is who played the best this year. Who are these guys? They're top 10 guys. Jalen Green is not in that conversation.
Yeah, and that's why my point is, if Jalen Green, if you swap Luka Doncic's jersey for Jalen Green, you would say he played like a top 10 guy.
No, if you take Luka and you drop him in terms of his performance and in terms of his level of play, if you take him and you drop him, what you're trying to tell me, what I'm interpreting this as, that the rest of the top 10 players in the league, if they played up to a standard, which is where Luka got dropped to, you still ain't better than him. That's not true.
That's not what I'm saying is the standard that Luka dropped to is still higher than those guys. That's what I'm saying. Let me make it this clear. If Jokic next year has a down year for Jokic standards,
Sure.
I'll do box score numbers because that's the simplest way to do it. Yeah, I'll do box score. The game goes beyond the box score, but I have to make it. I have to illustrate it. So Jokic this year averaged 30, 13, and 10. If Jokic next year averages 26, 12, and 8, he's still playing like a top 5 player in the league. It doesn't change because he fell below his standards. His standard was just so high that him dropping is still better than Kevin Durant, for example. It's still better than him. But because Kevin Durant might exceed his standards, let's say Kevin Durant next year on the Rockets averages 29, 7, and 5. That's better than he did on the Suns, and the Rockets are a top 3 seed. That does not now mean that Kevin Durant played better than Jokic because he played above his standard he set, and Jokic has played below it. Luka has set such a high standard in the 24 season, 34, 9, and 9, that his 28, 8, and 8 is being taxed to a degree that we're saying he played like the 10th best player in the league. I don't agree with that. I think Luka had a down year. I agree. I think his rim pressure stuff, the defense stuff, I think that is a valid reason to maybe not even have him in the top 5. I think that's valid. To have him on the fringe of the top 10 is insane to me when I see who's at 5 and 6. That's crazy. There's no way you're going to convince me that Luka Doncic played worse than LeBron James this year. You're not going to convince me of that. I disagree with you, real talk. We disagree. You're not going to convince me of that.
But you bringing up Luka again. You bringing up Luka 28, 8, and 8 again. I watch Luka Doncic. He's my favorite player in the league right now. However, the facts of the matter is that those numbers are very misleading. That 28, 8, and 8, a lot of that came in the first half. That 28, 8, and 8 came with an even worse defensive player than he was last year. That 28, 8, and 8 came with he had great 3-point variance shooting this year and was worse from the mid-range, worse from the floater area. He was a worse scorer in my opinion.
Get to the hoop.
I said it goes beyond the box score.
That
was me. Real talk. I said it in my whole soliloquy. I said it in my soliloquy. I only use the box score numbers to illustrate the point. I said the game goes beyond the box score. I said that in my you telling me the 28, 8, and 8 is misleading is acting as if I tried to lead with the 28, 8, and 8. My point is about away from the box score. Luka's level, I agree with all the things he regressed in, but Luka factually was still one of, if not the best playmaker in the sport this year. Luka was still one of, if not the best passer in the sport this year. Luka was still one of, if not the best pick and roll player in the league this year. All of that stuff still happened this year. That's a top 10. Luka was still one of the most impactful offensive players with all of the flaws, the rim pressure, the mid-range, all of that stuff. He was still one of the most impactful offensive players in the league this year. You can look at the offenses when he's on and off the floor. You can see it. When Luka is off the floor, offenses struggle. When LeBron was on the floor without Luka, the offense struggled. You can see it this year. That's what I'm saying. It's not about the 28, 8, and 8. I said that in my point. I said it's beyond the box score. I said that to illustrate a point because I can't just go through everything. You need an illustration.
So can't
Luka this year did all of those things. That's what I'm saying.
Wait, chill. So again, if you want to consider Luka one of the premier offensive players in the league, yes, absolutely. But it still comes with a threshold. You want to say that the offense was worse when Luka Doncic was off the court and LeBron was on, fairs. Now, if we want to get into that whole shindig, I mean, you could say, hell, the defense was so much worse when Jackson Hayes was off the floor for the same period of stretch when Luka Doncic was on the Lakers. Cool, I guess, whatever that means. My point is, watching Luka Doncic this year, he was nowhere near the same. And I guess we're saying the same thing, but yes, to me, that drops you in this year player list, especially when I add on the fact that you didn't play. How many games you played? Like 50 games?
50.
And then what was your, if we want to talk about the levels, when did Luka peak to you this year on the court? When was
March, maybe March.
Well, December probably. So
yeah, if you want to say you got pre-trade, probably that part of the season. But on the Lakers, it was probably March. March was probably his best month, if I had to guess. Off the top of my head, I can't remember everything, but I'd say March.
Real talk. You
And then he was good in the playoffs.
We dead ass watch every Dallas game in my stream. So again, y'all are just.
No, I believe you watch Luka. I just think you're doing the thing I'm saying.
Luka was not as impactful of a player that I'm used to watching Luka.
I don't know what the hell I'm talking about.
But you think Luka was the MVP last year, right?
And Luka ends up.
And you think Luka played like the best player in the league last season.
Yeah.
So I think this is what you're doing, and it might be subconscious. I think you're comparing Luka to himself instead of comparing him to the rest of the list. And I'm trying to say, if we're doing a list of who played the best this season, we have to ignore the past. We can't be like, well, Luka did this last year. His rim pressure is worse than it was last year. This is worse than it was last year. Because then you're comparing Luka to his former self and not to the contemporaries on the list. Is what Luka did this year, if everyone in the league was a rookie, so there's no past tape. Anthony Davis is a rookie, LeBron is a rookie, Jokic is a rookie, Shea is a rookie, blah, blah, blah. I'm making the claim that the way Luka played this season is not only undoubtedly a top 10 player, but is closer to 5 than he is to 10. That's the claim I'm making. If you have no prior evidence of what Luka was, you have no prior indications of this is what Luka used to be and this is what he is now. You don't have that indication. This is your first year watching basketball. Was Luka a top 10 player in the league this year? And was he closer to 5 than 10? If he wasn't, why wasn't he? Without bringing up the ways in which he has regressed individually, bring up just the reasons other guys played better than him. That's what I'm trying to get to the bottom of.
Okay, and so my counter to that would be, I remember when, because everybody's caught up on Anthony Davis and some of these other, I remember there was a solid stretch of games where AD was getting talked about like a top 3 player in the association for a minute. Wemby was had the same thing. Even LeBron for a good portion of the season he should be first NBA before he got hurt. The way he was playing, that game he had put together in New York, the 33 11-11 game. He was playing phenomenal basketball, and then he got hurt. The reason why I asked you what was Luka's high this year is because, again, I've watched Luka Doncic. If the 3 ball was not falling, Luka was having a bad scoring game. Period, point blank. The games where Luka could hit a 3, he somewhat looked like Luka. Good mishap, actually. He somewhat looked like Luka. Luka also was compiling a lot of those numbers in first halves of games. Because in the second half, he would go down, his offensive production would go down, him as a scorer would be even worse, and then he was already a horrible defender last year. He was bad. He was out of shape. Luka Doncic was out there out of shape. I'm not going to ignore that because, oh my God, I mean, the number, no, I watched LeBron, I watched Luka play, bro. Luka was not great last year. And I do think it's a conversation when you bring up like LeBron, when Luka got to the team, LeBron was the better overall basketball player on that team. You could say that Luka is a better. You disagree.
Yeah,
I get that. I get that. You disagree. But Luka was the better offensive player.
That's your argument, Mars.
Luka was the better offensive player. Yes,
that's your stance.
But LeBron.
So James has dropped. So the level of James, what he was 5-6 years ago, has dropped. So because it's dropped, Luka, who has improved, Luka is now better than him. What you just told me
that's not what I'm doing.
That's exactly what you're doing.
You just applied some nonsense to me. I've never said.
Mars,
I've never said I hold LeBron in lower regard because he's not what he used to be. I've never done. In fact, I've pushed back against you for doing that for years. You just did that with James Harden and Tyrese Maxey. I remember. I've pushed back against that stuff for years.
Not too long ago, you said to me, Luka, him dropping these players that we specifically have right now in the top 10. I still don't think that they're better than him. Some of them, not all of them. Some of them.
I said that. Yes, that's what I said.
So with LeBron James dropping, even him dropping to where he is, Luka now playing better, which is the same logic. When you drop Luka as a top 10 player, as a top 5 player, and his production drops, when he drops, and these top 10 players play better, they can't play at Luka's level. Meanwhile, James, when he drops, Luka can play at James's level.
I must be stupid because I don't understand what you're saying.
I am kind of rephrase it.
Once again, this is what Mars is telling me. Mars is telling me that Luka, when his production goes down, when his production goes down, even when his production goes down, he's still better than.
Yes, I'm saying Luka dropping from where he was. Is still playing better than some other people who are playing better than they were.
Still better.
Yes.
When James, as he's gotten older, has dropped. But Luka is passing him now. So
Luka is better than LeBron. Yeah.
Okay, so why can't that same logic be legit with these guys in the top?
Because 10 I'm saying Luka's playing better than them. That's what I'm saying.
But they're not though. That's why
that's why we're disagreeing. Chill. Welcome to the conversation. That's why we're disagreeing. I'm saying Luka's playing better than them. You're saying he's not. That's the disagreement.
Yeah, we have it then.
That's not. Yeah, that's the disagreement. I think Luka's playing better than them. When I say them, I'm mainly talking about Anthony Davis and LeBron. I just want to make that clear. Those are the two that I'm harping on. I think we can have the Kevin Durant conversation. We can have the Anthony Edwards conversation. I think Anthony Davis and LeBron are too high. I'm willing to let LeBron go because of the major games played difference. I don't think Luka played 20 games better than LeBron. Does that make sense? Because LeBron played 70, Luka played 50. I don't think Luka played so much better than LeBron that it makes up a 20-game gap. So I'm fine saying I think LeBron should be above Luka. I'm fine with that. Anthony Davis, on the other hand, I'm not letting that go. You can't convince me that Anthony Davis played better than Luka this year. You can't convince me of that. If I want to go off the point of his individual regression, I can make the point about his defense. If I want to talk about just individual performance, I think Luka clearly played better. But that's all I have to say. Go ahead, Ron. I'm sorry.
I just want to ask, is there anybody up here besides Mars that believes Luka played better than LeBron this year? Swiper? Okay. So 2 out of the 4. Is there anybody up here that believes Luka played better than Anthony Davis besides Mars?
Wait, what? Luka
Do you believe that Luka played better than AD this year?
Sure.
Good job, Nico.
Same tier.
All right. That's where we at. Yo, we got a lot of super chats.
Luka gonna be better than all these fools come next year. Let's not get it
agree
twisted.
I'm pretty sure that will happen.
I actually got him as the league MVP next year.
In Morris,
a healthy in-shape Luka,
I've had him as the MVP for the last 5 years.
I got him winning the league MVP next year.
But we'll be right at some point. Sure.
Healthy and in-shape Luka Doncic, I think is going to be better.
Dinner bet for Florida.
Yeah, and I want to make, and when Luka does inevitably climb back up this list, I'm not going to be here saying I told you so, because that wouldn't disprove anything.
The Heights $120 dinner. Luka doesn't even finish top 2 in MVP next year.
Deal.
He not gonna be better than AD this year, but he might be better than Bron.
You think Luka's ever been better than AD?
I don't think so, Morris. I just think AD is really good. I just hold AD.
I think AD.
I'm sticking
really good too. I'm just not as high on the AD I saw this year.
I'm sick of this shit.
All right.
Man, I'm tired of it. I'm tired of being talked about. Like I don't know what the hell I'm talking about.
All right, y'all. Well, this is the top 10 list that we have so far. Jokic at 1, SGA at 2, Giannis at 3, Tatum at 4, Anthony Davis, controversial, but hey, he's at 5. LeBron, controversial, but hey, he's at 6. Kevin Durant at 7, Wemby at 8, Anthony Edwards at 9, and Luka rounds out the top 10. You guys see at the top of this, it says top 100 players in the 24-25 season. We have 90 more to go, y'all. The next episode, which will probably be Friday, we'll do 11 through 25. So y'all be sure to mark your calendars and be here on time because, well, we got progress to make. All right, y'all. Arch, the chat MVP, sent through $100 super chat, and he said, "This is horrible. L. Luka slander."
I don't think it's slander. I just think it's a disagreement.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest about the.
You can't disagree
player
on
that
Luka.
I adore,
Why
unlike some
it's not
people.
slander? He's awesome. I think he's the best scorer in the game. I'm on record saying that. Mars and I had a disagreement about it, but I still think he's the best scorer in the game. That's not slander. It's just a disagreement. This is the emotional shit that you dudes go. If you don't think that he's the best player in the game, if you don't think he's the best this in the game, then you're slandering him. No, that's not the way this works.
All right. Arch sent through another $100 super chat and said, "We overrate the hell out of AD every time. Luka better than Bron also."
I think a lot of people underrate AD. That's fine.
I think in general, AD is underrated. I'm really high on AD historically. I'm not high on the AD I saw this season. That's it.
All right, y'all. Speaking of Arch and his $100 super chats, the chat MVP, let me shout out all the Hall of Famers. We got Teddy Hart, Trevi, Vale. Shout out my dog, Vale. Kingster.
I'm out, yo.
All right, chill.
Merry Christmas.
Shout out to Cheese, the membership king. Shout out to Arch, the chat MVP. Shout out to Joe Breezy, Minor, Rob Deere, Worldwide Mace Television, and last but certainly not least, Multi Kenny. Chat, you guys are extremely nasty. Y'all know what y'all did to Chill today. Y'all ought to be ashamed of yourself. Y'all need y'all ass whooped with one of them thick-ass cow leather belts. But who's going to do it? Hey, who's going to do it? All right, y'all. The next super chat that we got is from Prince Going Up. Prince said, "Why have I not heard Anthony Edwards' name in any of these convos, gang? Y'all ass tweaking. Y'all underrate Ant. Sometimes it's ridiculous on this panel.
Something ridiculous on this panel.
Where
I had
did
Ant first team.
end up 9?
Yeah, he
It
ended up
was
9.
9. I don't think that's crazy.
I think
he,
9
no,
is
he
reasonable.
sent through this super chat around the time where Kevin Durant came in, so around 7. It could have been anywhere from 6 to 9, in my opinion.
6 would have been
Probably so.
a bit optimistic, but
Anywhere from 6. He could have been over Bron, and I wouldn't have. I might have pushed
actually
back, but
looking at, I think the top 4 was secure. I know Swipe had Wemby at 4, but I think the top 4 was secure. The order can change, but those are the 4. 5 through 10, I do think it could be malleable. So you know what? Yeah, I could even convince myself at 5.
Yeah,
kind of, maybe.
Could you see Donovan Mitchell at 5?
Hell no.
All right, just making sure. Next up, Football Breakdown said Shea outplayed Joker head-to-head. More points, more assists, less turnovers, higher true shooting. En route to a chip, averaging 30+. Scoring title and finals MVP. Swipe a Lion. 9 shots in game 7.
Yeah, piece by piece.
Shout out to Caruso, man. Shout out to Caruso.
Did Jokic quit because he only shot the ball 9 times in his game 7?
No, I think that they completely loaded their defense around their only healthy option. I think Murray had a horrible game. He wasn't doing anything. Gordon obviously was hurt. MPJ. And by the way, Shaq also had another game in the game 7 where he shot 9 times. So like it's not like unfamiliar to pack up hang on a big.
But we weren't referencing Shaq. We were referencing.
I know. I'm talking to the chat to expose. I think the hilarity. I'm exposing the hilarity and how stuff goes, and I think the narrative and the reason why people are saying I brought up the quit thing. Kobe is self-admitted with his teammate that he quit in a game 7. So that's why I brought that up.
So you only care because Jokic didn't say it out loud.
Only care? I think you can watch the game. He didn't quit in that game at all. I think he was for sure trying. I think the situation was daunting.
For sure, 9 shots. Game 7 is absolute.
Yeah, but I think anybody that takes away that he wasn't trying is dumb. Personally, I think if you watch the game, you have 3 healthy players, and they literally just said they're just not getting the basketball.
3 healthy players, that probably should mean you should shoot the ball a little bit more.
Well, or you can just on defense just load up and then just not guard the non-healthy players. I mean, that's literally what happened. So
I've seen tier 1 scores shoot over double teams. Hell, tier 3 scores, but
I've seen tier 1 showers also take 12 shots in a closeout game before.
You're right. I guess.
So what is this? What does that mean?
Nothing. I'm just yapping. Maybe I need to be in contention for Yapper of the Year.
Could
The baller shot caller 1999 said, I just feel bad for Luka because he had a well-built team in Dallas. Now he has to now he's back to square one in LA.
DeAndre Ayton saying all the right things.
Good Lord. I'm not gonna go on DeAndre Ayton because y'all had y'all's DeAndre Ayton segment already. Oh, mind you, just by the way, he's not up here today. Hey, Jordan. Hey, stop all your yapping about my team. Okay, buddy?
You know you
switch to the Lakers every chance you get. We don't care. We don't care, buddy.
Next time Jordan shows up, he's gonna start the show. Hey, I heard what Real Talk said about me. It's gonna be a 30-minute segment because of you.
Well, Mars, Real Talk and Jordan are both gonna be here on Friday, so maybe I'll give them, this little tight screen.
I'll
give them
that's fine. I may have lost my voice after today because I was shouting way too much. I apologize, chat. So Friday could be my day off.
You wasn't shouting, you was cooking. You got to be ashamed of yourself too,
I won biggest crash out for a reason. I'm just living up to the awards.
All right, Grandpa Town. Speaking of your crash out, sent through a super chat and said Giannis is being underrated at this point. I know for sure that another player with Giannis, his stats would have won MVP since 2021. Voter fatigue is real.
If they played in a league where Jokic was putting up Jokic stats simultaneously, maybe not.
Yeah, what year because Giannis hasn't finished top 2 since 20. So when would he have to finish above at least Embiid?
Embiid came second in 21. I forgot about that.
Yeah, Embiid was second. Steph was third in 21, and then in 22, Embiid was 2, and then number 3 was
22. Giannis was third.
Yeah, Giannis was third in 22. Yeah, so like even then,
he was third. 24, he was 4th, and then this year he was third.
Yeah, I mean I think that's more of an indicative of where he's been every year.
It's no. Why? I don't know why you do that dumb shit too.
Yeah,
you take the MVP voting so literal.
But Donovan Mitchell came fifth.
No, that's what we're talking about. By the way, no, I think that's what we're talking about. I think it's indicative that SGA,
Embiid, the first team All NBA shit with chill, but you do it with MVP voting.
No,
I'm just saying seventh last year.
No, hold on. Okay.
Where you rank as a
because
player.
I think SGA. No, he brought up MVP stuff. There's no way for you to win MVP if you're running into Embiid, SGA, and Jokic every single year. That's
maybe
what
he's saying he disagrees with Giannis coming fourth.
I'm trying to figure out what year he would finish higher. That's what I'm asking.
Like the whole point. You saying that he came.
What year would he have finished higher? Is I'm asking a question for the audience. Which year should he have finished higher?
He could have been higher this year, last. It's not like he hasn't been playing to these levels.
To be fair,
we're not going to act like narrative isn't part of the MVP.
This season. I don't think he was finishing higher, personally, but
Bro,
I think
we had an all-time great rim pressure guy shoot like 45% on pull-up middies.
No, he wasn't finishing higher than Jokic or SGA this year. It just wasn't.
Yeah, because of the narrative, not because
the narrative, or they just played better basketball than him.
So Giannis wasn't playing good enough to be in the to be higher in MVP voting.
Higher than SGA or Jokic? No.
It has to be relative to the competition. It's like Giannis in 2005 playing the way he played this year would probably win the MVP. Shout out to Steve Nash. But he's going up against the Jokic triple-double season and Shea doing what he did this year. So maybe the best he could have done this year was third. But that's not an indictment on Giannis.
At all.
Like, if Giannis did what he did this year in 2016, the best he was going to come in second. No matter what he did, the best he was going to come in second. Because there just happened to be 2016 Steph Curry running around at the same time. So where you finish an MVP is going to be directly correlated to what else is in the league at the time. It's like you can have a great season and play low.
I'm sorry. But also part of SGA's narrative this year was the fact that they were one of the best teams in the league. That was and then Jokic obviously is statistical output and profile, whatever. But a lot of XGA's argument came with them winning a lot of games. And I promise you, if the Bucks had won 55 plus games, it would have been a lot closer in MVP voting, I believe, than you think, because Giannis is always playing at an MVP level. He's always playing at an MVP level. So to act like the team being better wouldn't shift his narrative in an MVP voting discussion when we all know that MVP voters take into account winning, I think is disingenuous.
I don't think he would have finished higher than 2 even with 55 wins. Is what I'm saying.
Fellas, we gotta move on.
But you just said he could reach 2.
Real talk.
I don't
we
think
gotta
he would
get back
reach
to
2.
these super chats.
Okay.
KB knows ball said, "What are the panel's favorite chillisms?" What's the favorite thing that Chill says that you guys like? I kick it off. Man, you guys kill me with this bullshit. Said that about 10 times today.
Yeah, definitely one.
I don't know.
Ho.
Yeah, that one. Stop right there. Stop right there. That's another one.
Whoa. You guys blow my mind with this shit.
Yeah.
Ox, Mars.
I think he's good in transition. I don't know a player he's described that isn't good in transition.
Yeah, I want to find a bad transition player and then like ask Chill about him and see if he says he's a good transition player.
There's too many to pick one.
Chat, spam your favorite chillisms. Oh, give me the kid Morris.
Yeah,
legendary.
I said give me the kid.
That one's legendary. But all right, y'all. The next super chat is from 2 cents. Chiming in with his 2 cents. Said Mars don't like the USA. He's biased and despises us, and it's okay. Hashtag just listen.
I think I'm indifferent to the US, but maybe I do despise you.
Damn. Mars hates America.
Yeah.
Plugs for days said, I don't think y'all give SGA enough credit for his defense and playmaking. Y'all see the Canadian dollars. He gets a lot more hockey assists than regular assists, in my opinion.
Good thing this ain't hockey.
I don't know how much more credit his defense can get.
I don't think you can watch the playoffs and give him even more credit than what he already gets.
Yeah, I don't agree.
The baller shot caller 1999 said Luka wasn't at his level this year. He started off hurt and then he never got back to his level this season.
I agree. Luka wasn't at his level. I agree.
D-Town 1590 said Mars is clearly saying Luka gets penalized for not playing to his standard despite it still being better than others.
And it's not Luka's not the only guy that happens to. It's happened to LeBron. It's happened to Kevin Durant. It's happened to Steph Curry. It's happened to James Harden. Like it happens. I think Luka's done a bit of disservice being at 10.
I think we also got to understand that, Chill come from a different time than us. You know what I'm saying? Chill come from a time where you get penalized for not playing up to your standards. You know what I'm saying? We're a time, it's just different time. You know what I'm saying? I feel it. I don't agree. I don't agree. I agree, but I don't agree as far as this goes, like making a list. Like I do think if you're this good and you're playing like this, I'm gonna say something about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, you need to do better, right? And that's fine. But I really just think it's just that simple. You know what I'm saying? It's really just as simple as that. Like chill. Like for instance, with the players, if I've been better than you for 3 seasons and you be better than me for a season and a half, I'm still a better player than you. I completely disagree with that, but I understand why Chill looks at it that way. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's just, that's just how it is. That's how it was back in the day. Where if you're not doing your job to your standard, you're going to get penalized more than guys that aren't. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I like your King's Diamond, by the way.
That's new. I know some people think like
that's not new.
When we like disagree passionately.
Yeah, I've never seen that before. Look at you finally supporting the Kings. Have any of y'all seen that behind us?
Hey, yo, real talk.
What's up?
Hey, Summer League Lakers FC, we up.
We didn't even get a chance to talk about that game last night. I was a solid little game, but we still don't have time to talk about it. So.
Yeah, Dalton.
Man, shout out Darius Bates.
Dalton, finally.
Man, I'm telling you, that's the biggest mistake we ever made as a franchise, not drafting him.
Oh, you're a Dalton guy.
Big time.
Nonchalant nigga sent through a super chat and said, saying his stat line isn't a positive statement, is just a fun fact. That's like saying the sky is blue is a positive statement about the sky.
That made me laugh when he sent it.
I don't know what
Shout
that's
out
referencing.
nonchalant nigga.
When they were talking about how they hate on Giannis, and then Chill was
Chill brought
like,
up
"We don't hate on
he
Giannis."
say
But I
he's
said he
30,
averages 30, 12, and
12,
6, and he's saying, "Well, that's not you praising Giannis. That's you just saying what he averages."
Oh,
So
yeah.
I found that quite funny.
A Hall of Famer that goes by the name of Teddy Hart sent through a super chat and said Netflix's Starting Five, starring SGA, is going to be so fire this summer.
Holly, SJ, who? Ant? Who's in this one?
KD.
Kevin Durant,
KD.
right?
And
Yeah, it's gonna be dirty.
who
Jalen
was the
Brown?
fifth?
Is it not Jalen Brown?
Yeah, Jalen Brown. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be dirty.
Finals MVP.
That is gonna be a great
And
And
then it's
that's
gonna
starring.
end.
That's not starring SGA. That's starring Hallie, by the way. But go ahead, Sweat.
Well, Holly will probably have the biggest moments.
Are they
can
still?
imagine.
Did they record it up till when Kevin Durant got traded, or did it stop after the finals?
That's a good
They
question,
probably
don't know.
recorded it up.
No,
to
he
the
got
trade.
he got traded the day of Game 7, right?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
So that
So
happened.
So it was.
Oh,
Yeah,
hey, that's about to be
Mm-hmm.
fire. I can't wait for that.
All these recent Netflix documentaries, like about basketball, all have been like involving Jokic leaving the court in defeat. Just wanted to throw that out there.
Damn.
Even
So wait,
even
the
the
first,
Gil, even the Gil one, even the Gil and Javaris Curran.
There was
Not that one, but you know the one about the Olympics. We beat them in the obviously right. The last year starting five, Ant beats them in the right, and so this one we'll be saying.
I don't think Ant didn't play well that game. Ant didn't beat them.
No, but it's not about that.
Ant's team progressed, right?
Ant was on the
Ant
team.
team won, and Jokic left in defeat. Yeah.
Well, to be
We'll
fair,
be-
the
we'll be
the
seeing
Olympics
Jokic
one,
lead
the
in
Olympics
defeat.
one was a special. I remember because the Olympics one was dirty because who these random y'all get random Telegram messages from these bots, like it's just randomly showing up. The Olympics one was iconic for me. I thought that was like you get the big three, and then you get like when they set up for the Serbia thing, it was like this like premium on like, oh, here's the best player in the world, 3-time MVP, and it was a whole thing. And then you see Steph Curry making the jumpers. I mean, it was special television. That was special television.
All right, y'all. Byru sent through a super chat and said, "Is saying something about Kobe now disrespectful? Saying he quit on his team is not hate, man."
I agree, but it's just
not,
some players, man. Like I'm not.
I don't know if
bro.
someone quits,
bro.
So I
It's not.
Well, his teammates said that
his teammates
boycotted.
on him. Yeah. Only Kobe knows.
Yeah, they said he not basically boycotted. He protested.
I just know Kobe played like trash in that game, so I'm fine with saying that. I'm just not gonna say he quit if I don't know he quit.
But also the
Archer-
reason why it's him like hate is because what topic of discussion of this about Kobe are we on in the off season already? We already had the T-Mac can win his championship. And now we're on the like who cares?
Why is that
like,
disrespect?
Huh?
T-Mac brought that up.
Yeah,
But
that was not disrespectful.
I'm saying can Kobe just why are we talking about Kobe all the time?
Why? What's wrong? Why
Kobe's
can't
not
we
even
talk about
playing.
Kobe or the Lakers? Why
Kobe's
are you the
not
judge
even
of that?
playing.
Why are
not
you the
playing.
line that determines we
But
can
we're
talk about
on
Kobe?
we're on a
right now,
second
to
Kobe
be fair.
topic. It's fine. And like it's cool.
What?
It's
It's not even a topic yet. We haven't even had a topic
It
discussion
is.
about
It was all over Twitter yesterday. That's why you brought it up. What are you talking about?
So because it's a discussion in the basketball community, we should have discussions about what's happening in the basketball community.
But he
Who
said,
cares?
why is
We
the
already
discussion in the
knew.
basketball
We already
community
knew.
always about Kobe? That's what he said.
Always about
That's what I'm
Kobe. I
saying.
think most conversations are not about Kobe. Kobe's also a very popular player of all time. You're going to talk about Kobe. Who you want to talk about? Bob Cousy? Who's allowed to be talked about more than others? LeBron gets talked about all the time. Like who determines who
LeBron's
talks
still
about more?
playing, though.
I don't understand that. Like you're a very popular
Like,
player. You're going to
LeBron's
get talked about.
playing.
Certain players are
Well, he
slandered
not
more
playing
than
right now.
others also as well. Like,
I haven't seen not one day centered around in Joel Embiid this summer. Not one.
what do you want us to say?
Something. He's still active. He's playing.
I think
we
one of
talk
the
about
best
the
four
active
scorers in the league.
players.
I said that earlier today.
So
You wanna say
he's a
playoff dropper?
Off season is
Go ahead,
always
go
talk
ahead,
about
go ahead,
retired players
go ahead.
time, but go ahead, bro.
No.
Artur Vieira said SJ is part of the reason they won so many. Real talk. Talking about if I had wheels, I could have been a car. That's heat. It was between Jokic and SGA all along.
If you have wheels, you'd be a nigga with wheels.
I just want to let you know,
You'd be no car.
you don't need wheels to be a car. If you feel like a car, go ahead and identify as a car.
Well, technically, if you a car is a mobile system. So if you had like hydraulics that were allowing you to fly or float in the air, you would still be a vehicle and or a car. You wouldn't necessarily need wheels. We're about 50 years away from having flying cars.
Don't
like,
let
going to the street.
wheels limit what you.
50
believe you
years.
are.
How many years do you think we got flying cars?
They not
consistently?
gonna let y'all fools drive around in flying cars. You know how dangerous that
Ox,
is?
you
know how
sound like an
dumb these
18
people are here,
in
Swiper, man?
1870. There are people that said the same thing as you. I think 50 years from now there will
Swiper,
be
this is
vehicles
way
in the air.
And we
This
have
is way
flying
different.
cars.
You
They
know-
cool
you know how-
planes.
you
What
know
are
how-
we talking about?
You can't let
All right,
these
well,
little
people gonna have
dummies ride
individual
around in
planes then.
Hellcat and
Yeah,
Hellcat
we have
Mini
flying
planes.
cars. They
cars.
cool planes.
You
Yeah.
said a Hellcat?
You know,
Hey,
you know
Mar-
how
hey,
many,
Mars,
you know how
Mars.
many people gonna die in the first year alone?
Hey, real
Like, you
talk, real
can't
talk.
let- Imagine, because look, Swiper, I'm the type when the gas light come on, I'm like, okay, I still got 25 miles. I'm gonna ride 20 more miles. You can't do that in the sky. You know what I'm saying? Like, niggas are gonna die, bro. You can't let these
It's happening, Ox, whether you like it or not. It's
No,
gonna
it's
happen.
definitely happening. It's definitely happening. I'm not saying that Ox ain't right,
Y'all
but
grew up watching too
hey,
much.
Swiper,
You
Swiper,
can't do
I
that.
think 20 to 30 years. I don't even think 50 years. 20 to 30 years.
Flying cars, like a million people in flying
have
cars.
They have
No,
a
they do
million
have
people. I
them.
don't know about a million people, but they have them right now. It's just a
So
matter
just for
of
the elite, then that's where
You
we're
gonna
headed.
have- You're gonna have to take an IQ test to get behind that wheel. You're
Good.
gonna have to-
You might have to do that.
Good. And guess
but-
what? That means I'll have a
them-
Bentley.
them
That means
cars
I'll
gonna be
have a
flying.
Bentley flying around. I'll be picking up Real Talk in Houston. Real Talk, come on.
Y'all know the
Come on. It's going to serve you,
I'm
Real
not
Talk.
getting nobody flying car. I'm
Sniper,
good.
Sniper, you know how
much
many people are
aircraft.
gonna try to fly these cars to Hawaii and overseas? There's gonna be so many dead people because people are idiots. You
Well,
can't
hey,
I'm gonna keep it real. The majority of people are idiots. You can't give them flying cars.
Hey, man, Arch has a $100 super chat. And
Most
Arch,
most people shouldn't be driving regular cars.
I'm willing to bet Arch.
That's a fact.
Arch said $100 super chat flying cars is helicopters. I'm not going to lie to you. Embiid, Tobias, I said that. Bam Adebayo. I'm throwing Kevin Durant in there. Arch also might be Kevin Durant. I truly believe he might be that tapped into the show. It might be Kevin Durant. It's one of those four.
Be you.
It
Hey,
could be.
Arch. As a matter of fact, why ain't we seen you on Hall of Fame Fridays, Arch? Huh?
Oh,
Kevin, why didn't we see you on the miraculous Monday that you were supposed to pull up? Huh, Kevin? I'm starting to see some similarities. Also, too, hey, Ox, you know how much play I'm finna get in my flying car?
Ron, they're not gonna let you. You can barely drive a regular car.
Yeah. All right, well, I'm gonna have a flying
No, he-
chauffeur.
To be
I'm gonna
fair,
be in the
y'all,
backseat
we
getting-
did drive together in Indy, and I will say I took over the driving after one point.
Right, but you know how many collisions and fender benders and just car crashes?
That's
I've
why
been in
I was
because of
driving.
him?
That's exactly
Like,
why I was driving. Real talk. I have my hand on the 9 and the 3, hat forward.
You know what? Since you want to do this, the next time you in my car, we for sure. Hey, it's for sure gonna be something. Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
The fact
Swiper,
that
you
didn't-
drive
the
the
fact that
speed
you didn't
limit,
even
huh?
say that takes you
No.
out of
In
the
Atlanta,
consensus
no,
of
sir.
flying car.
No, sir. You couldn't live here. 85, boy. Let's get it.
There's probably
All right,
3
y'all.
people-
Detail 1590 said, by Chill's logic, Wemby was on track to have a better season than AD before the injury.
No, he wasn't.
Actually,
If
kinda
I
was.
never would have
he just
checked how
played
many
better than
games Anthony Davis played,
You would have thought.
that would have just slid under the radar. That was crazy. I'm sorry.
Nah, but Mars, what killed me though, because like I was feeling where Chill was coming from. The only part that killed me was when he said he was on track to play until he got hurt. I was like, that's hilarious. That's hilarious.
Come on.
But other than
But
that,
al- also,
we
too,
was
though,
from them.
it would have been different if we would have played like 70 games.
One more game
Then
than
you
Luca.
could-
Like,
If
come
we would have
on.
played 70 games, it's like 70 straight games and not missed anything. Okay, you could say, all right, this dude was on track to play
Facts,
every single game.
facts.
Yeah, right. But I think we knew what he was saying though. It was just the way like it was work. You know,
I thought it was nasty.
That's what I be thinking. I would be like, look, man.
Nah, I'm sorry.
No,
You-
no,
I'm
Mars,
sorry.
no,
You
Mars.
can't say
I'm
that.
having
I'm
to talk
sorry.
with you,
Now-
Mars. I'm having to talk.
You
Respect
cannot
your
say-
point.
You can't say both.
Respect
He was
your
on track to play
elders,
every
young
game.
fella.
He was on track to play 9% of the games until he
Respect
got
your
hurt.
elders.
That's a crazy statement. And then
That was.
say he's above Luca because of availability when he played one more game. You can't say both of those things. I'm sorry. That's ridiculous.
Nah, but real talk. The thing about it is, regardless of what was said today, these two, Mars and Swiper, will know exactly what Chill is talking about. But if
I didn't know what he was
misrep-
talking about with that Anthony Davis thing.
Okay, not that one. I'm not talking about today, Mars. But you and Swiper,
I
if
can agree with
Chill makes one mistake in his wording
Yup.
and you know what he's talking about, you are going to be on his head, and you know it.
Yeah.
And Swiper,
Man,
don't even
hold on.
respond.
Who are you?
I'm not gonna
Who
push
are
back
you?
against that statement.
Who are you and who are Real Talk? Real Talk over here doing his head now with his big old noggin. This is the problem. Y'all trying to predict what I say before I say every day. You included. You included, good sir.
Relax, brother. I'm not telling you what you can and cannot do. I'm just calling out what you do. That's all.
I don't care what you're saying. You are one of the biggest proprietors of anti-swiper news on this network.
Oh, you're not talking about me.
You, sir. You and especially not you a little, but especially that one over here. Big Meech over here. Big Meech over here. Big Pun. Big Word.
As a matter of fact, in the chat will agree with me on this. The chat will agree with me on this. As far as everybody on the panel, like the other panelists, not players.
You're the nicest, yeah.
I'm talking about panelists. I am the least biased, the least confrontational, and the most supportive.
I'm gonna see you guys tomorrow, man. I'm talking
about towards the panelists. I'm not talking about towards players. Towards the panelists, I am the least biased, least confrontational, and most supportive amongst other panelists.
No,
maybe John D.
I did not stand for that campaign.
Besides Diesel, it's definitely me, bro. Like
No.
I support all of y'all. I support y'all. I support y'all channels outside of PC. I watch y'all content. I say positive things about you guys. You know what I'm saying? I'm least biased to y'all. I'm biased to certain players, but to y'all, I'm supportive. I'm not.
What about this guy? Huh?
You know what I'm saying? Who Adam West?
Yeah, you don't start beef a lot. That's
he
true.
Be starting shit with me.
You don't start beef a lot. Now Chris Rock from New Jack City over here, he starts stuff all the time. Buns B down here starts it with everybody all the time.
So look,
I'll see y'all later, bro.
We gotta get back to the super chat.
That was funny.
Yeah, that was insane.
I'm tired of Mr. Potato Head. Always got something to say to some goddamn body, man. Look like he get up and just attach that damn mustache on before he come up here.
Yo, that's heat.
Oh man, y'all know I'm the most loving of my fellow panelists than anybody. I show love to all of y'all.
All right, y'all. Back to the super chats. Boko Haram Rivers said, "Imagine Joker with Al Kuzma and Osama bin Lopez, Darvin Netanyaham, drugs addict Portis, and Torian prisoner. By the way, Grandpa Town and Real Talk are greater than Chilltown."
Wow.
Shout out Osama bin Lopez.
Do y'all understand the soliloquies we would get from Swiper if Jokic was out there playing with Kyle Kuzma and Ryan Rollins and Kevin Porter Jr.? Come on, bro. I'm not gonna sit up here and be gaslit, bro. Come on, man.
Shout out to my dog KPJ.
You know how many dentist appointments I have?
Free Night said, Mars, why does everyone act like what happened to Luka in 24-25 is the new Luka?
That doesn't matter. It happened. Like, we're not saying that's what Luka's gonna be 25-26, but
we haven't seen 25-26 too.
That's a fact. But I'm saying though, we saw 24-25 and he was out of shape, he was hurt, he didn't perform like Luka would perform, and it's okay. There's nothing wrong with pointing that out. That doesn't make you a Luka hater for telling the truth.
D-Town 1590 sent through a super chat of his top 10. He said at 1 SGA, 2 Jokic, 3 Wemby, 4 KD, 5 Luka, 6 Bronny, 7 Michael Beasley, 8 Tatum
pre-Achilles,
9 Tatum post-Achilles, and 10 LeBron.
That's great. So before he got hurt, he was 8 in the I just moved him down. That's fire.
Shout out D-Town 1590. He also became a YouTube member. Salute to that, brother. All right. Next up, we have Rod. Said, did Brunson die? LeBron not top 10. And what the F do y'all think AD is? He had a mid defensive year and was mid at best on offense.
Mid at best on offense is crazy, bro. I don't know.
Mid on defense was crazy too.
Well, they're doing the same thing that Mars said Chill was doing about Luka. Just because he wasn't as great as he usually is on defense, he was still great on defense.
Schnazzy became a YouTube member. Shout out to Schnazzy. Who's Your Daddy became a YouTube member as well. Free Knight sent through another super chat and said, chill. Why does Adam Silver hate dynasties even though the NBA was built off the back of dynasties / superstars? I think this mindset is hurting the NBA. Yeah, I think dynasties are. I think it's just a different era. I like the polarity. The dynasties was cool while it lasted. I want to see how this go. I want to see how teams are built off having one top 10 player, and then you don't really got nobody else in that realm. What are you gonna do with other superstars around you? Can you floor lift? Can you ceiling raise? Or can you more so floor raise? I like that. I love the polarity where it's 10 different teams where you don't know which team's gonna come out, as opposed to it being the Golden State Warriors and the Cleveland Cavaliers, and we know they're gonna make the finals.
People are asking like they're putting polarity question mark. I'm not gonna lie. That word rolled off your tongue so easily. I assumed it was. You said it like it's a word. Is it? I don't even know. Is it a word?
Parody.
Or is it parody? Is it parody?
I don't know.
It don't even.
Yeah. My thing is it don't really matter to me as far as like, we ain't winning. We not winning the championship, so I don't really care who wins the championship. You know what I'm saying? It's just kind of like I just want to see good basketball.
All right. Also, if AD is the threshold of mid offensively, then 90%, like 90 to 93% of the league is mid or lower. I'm sorry, bro. I don't understand it. AD's the threshold of being mid offensively. Then my God, the league is just full of mid.
Well, I mean, if AD is mid, then that means like 80% of the league is garbage.
Garbage, yeah.
Also, chat, polarity means the polar opposite. So if dynasties was a thing, now having one superstar is the opposite of having a dynasty. That's what polarity means. Two complete opposites. Thank you.
Howie, nigga.
Thank you, chat.
This Howie to death.
QP became a YouTube member. Shout out to QP. OBG Kenobi sent through a members chat and said, Grilltown getting fried today.
Mars and Swiper need to be locked up. They're psychopaths. They're psychopaths. Both of them, especially when they're together. Did y'all see how Mars caught his second win and reactivated when it was time to attack Chill? He was over there like this.
It was crazy. Crazy.
And as soon as it was time to get on Chill line, he just drunk 3 Red Bulls. I was just like, damn, Mars.
Hey, I'm not gonna lie though. Chill got fucked up today. Chill was in that last hour. Chill was getting roughed.
The chat don't make it no better either.
Not at all.
Hey, chat, man, y'all gotta relax on bro.
That's what I'm saying. He was getting beat up here by 2 different people at once. I'm talking about, look, he had a one-on-one fade with Mars. Mars tipped him. He turned around, had a one-on-one fade with Swiper. Swiper tipped him. Whole time, chat throwing rocks at him, running up, kicking him. And then he turned around after all of that. And then had a 1-on-2 and got jumped by them.
Man, but that's the thing, man. Like I said earlier, Chill old school. He'd rather get lumped up than just go home. Just go home. Yeah, he like, nah, y'all all gotta whoop me. And I respect it.
All right, y'all. Last but not least, 2 cents sent through his last 2 cents and said, if they, Garland and Mobley, were that good, why didn't they make first team all pro? Argue with the NBA, not Chill.
It's only 5 spots, brother.
I believe Donovan Mitchell, like out of all of them, if somebody was going to get the higher all NBA team, it was going to be Donovan Mitchell because he's just the best player on that team. Mm-hmm. I don't agree that Evan Mobley or Darius Garland is better than Donovan Mitchell. He is their star.
Darius Garland is not better than Donovan Mitchell. Evan Mobley got action, but it's either one. It's on any given day,
Yeah. But all right, y'all. Appreciate everybody for tapping in. Make sure you like the video, subscribe, become a member. Real talk is being real. Catch you on Friday.
Yes, sir.
Press box coming soon. Oh, my bad, Ox. It's been real, dog.
All right, brother.
I'll see you soon.